coaxed. A blush rose on Zhao's mother's face, smooth-tongued. On the other side, Lin Yi was in the interrogation room, where a stunningly beautiful female law enforcement officer was interrogating him. Name, Lin Yi. Gender, Lin Yi did not answer. Gender, the female officer emphasized. Can't you see? Lin Yi chuckled, looking at the beautiful female law enforcement officer in front of him. I'll say it again, gender, the female officer shouted, emphasizing her tone. Lin Yi stared calmly out the window. Male. Place of origin. I don't know, Lin Yi answered honestly. Don't know? You don't even know where you were born. The female law enforcement officer glared angrily at Lin Yi. I don't know. You've asked me so many times. I told you I came down from the mountain, but you didn't believe me. You keep asking about my place of origin. I've never heard of that. Lin Yi stared unyieldingly into the female law enforcement officer's eyes. The female law enforcement officer tried to calm herself down and then asked, Lin Yi, why did you assault the security guard at Witch's Foot Bath? Lin Yi's lips curled up slightly as he confidently said, They wanted to attack me, but I saw through their intentions. Strike first, isn't that obvious? Hearing Lin Yi's words, the female law enforcement officer completely dispelled the idea that Lin Yi had been wronged. The other party is demanding that you pay 100,000 yuan in medical expenses, emotional distress damages, lost wages, and nutrition expenses. They will not agree to a settlement if you do not pay this amount. 10,000, why don't they just rob it? Lin Yi roared in fury. A person with a clear conscience has nothing to fear. Lin Yi is an upright man. Those security guards look down on him and try to cheat him after losing the fight. He will never give in. Besides, a mere 100,000 won't scare him. Chapter 29, Lin Yi is out. Zhao Zilong, why did you attack the Su family? The familiar questioning voice echoed in the room as the call connected. Su Yingsu, Qin Kexin. I was careless and forgot to block Qin Kexin's phone number as well. Crazy? Zhao Zilong cursed, hung up immediately, added the number to his blacklist, and set up automatic blocking of unknown calls. On the other end, after hearing the phone beep and hang up, Su Yingsu stubbornly continued to dial, only to be told, the number you dialed is not in service. Damn it! Su Yingsu angrily smashed Qin Kexin's phone to pieces. Yingsu, Qin Kexin opened her mouth, but in the end, she didn't say anything. Su Yingsu is her best friend. Now that Yingsu's beauty products and the Su family are facing a huge crisis, she can understand that Yingsu couldn't control her emotions for a moment. It's just a phone worth a few thousand yuan, so it's okay if it's broken. Realizing what had happened, Su Yingsu quickly apologized. I'm sorry, Kexin, I was angry just now and lost control. I'll make you a replacement phone later. It's all right, Yingsu, it's just a cell phone, it's nothing. The most important thing now is to resolve the Su family matter. Qin Kexin shook her head. The room fell silent the moment the Su family was mentioned. Yesterday, Changsheng Group launched a crackdown on Su's real estate without warning. Overnight, all of Su's projects were suspended and rectified, and partners unilaterally terminated their cooperation. In just one night, the market value of Su's real estate evaporated by 2/5. If this is not resolved quickly, the once thriving Su's real estate will collapse within 3 days. I'm going to find Zhao Zilong. Su Yingsu's sudden voice broke the silence of the room. As soon as she finished speaking, Su Yingsu, having made up her mind, quickly left Qin Kexin's room. Seeing this, Qin Kexin hurriedly followed. Young master, Lin Yi has been released from the Enforcement Bureau. A message came from the person responsible for monitoring Lin Yi. After reading the information, Zhao Zilong opened his notebook, which was filled with a series of major events that occurred after Lin Yi left the West Railway Station of Shanghai in the original story. When he unexpectedly encounters the third female lead, Su Yingsu in danger, saves her as a hero, displays his amazing medical skills and gains her favor. Times 2. He happened to rescue an unconscious old man, the previous head of the Wu family, on the road, thus becoming acquainted with the Wu family. Times 3. He went to the Yi family to handle the marriage certificate matter, and at the same time rescued the previous head of the Yi family. He gained the appreciation of the old master Yi and became Yi Zijing's personal bodyguard. The first thing Lin Yi did was interfere, preventing him from successfully rescuing Su Yingsu and gaining her favor. The second thing is that, due to the butterfly effect, Lin Yi didn't take the road where Old Man Wu fell. As a result, Old Man Wu didn't receive timely medical attention and was eventually taken away by an ambulance. The specific details are unknown. The third thing is that Lin Yi took the initiative to visit. As long as the Yi family still exists, Lin Yi will definitely go. The Yi family, Zhao Zilong gently tapped the table. His informant in the Yi family reported that 3 groups of doctors had entered the Yi family home since last night. As expected, it must have been that old man from the Yi family who had the accident. Needless to say, it must have been due to some kind of unseen influence of fate. Not sending them to the hospital after an accident. This level of stupidity is truly outrageous. Damn liars, you wasted one of my favors. I hope you never find me again, Lin Yi said angrily. If I don't avenge this, I, Lin Yi, swear I'm not worthy of being called human. Lin Yi glanced at the Law Enforcement Bureau, took a deep breath, and strode away into the distance. Now that the marriage certificate is gone, I wonder if the Yi family will even acknowledge the marriage, Lin Yi thought to himself. Lin Yi knew that losing the marriage certificate meant that his marriage relationship with the Yi family had become uncertain. If the Yi family insists on not acknowledging the marriage, Lin Yi will have no way to do anything about it. Before his death, his master gave him only 10 marriage certificates, told him that he had found 10 fiancées for him, and then breathed his last. After asking around, Lin Yi arrived at the gate of the Yi residence. The Yi family is truly impressive. Those 2 stone lions must be worth a lot of money, and the main gate is bigger than my house. My master is really something. He should have told me about this marriage sooner. He's so old. He should be enjoying life more instead of staying on the mountain penniless. However, if Miss Yi is not good-looking, I will not agree to this marriage. Hey, you beggar, this is the Yi family home, not a place for you to beg. Stay away, a member of the Yi family at the door scolded. I'm not a beggar. My name is Lin Yi, and I'm fiancé of Miss Yi Zijing from the Yi family, Lin Yi explained politely. Fiancé? I've never heard of my young lady having a fiancé. The Yi family members stared wide-eyed, asking incredulously. Lin Yi's lips curled up slightly. This is a marriage agreement made between your Yi family's patriarch and my master. It's normal that you don't know about it. The Yi family members at the door showed anger on their faces. Kid, my old master is unconscious right now. Are you here to cause trouble? Men, throw him out of here. A group of bodyguards in uniform filed out of the Yi family's gate. Their steps were steady and powerful, and their eyes were unusually cold and fierce, as if they were ready to engage in a fierce battle at any moment. The lead bodyguard was exceptionally tall and imposing, with well-developed muscles, and his fierce eyes were fixed coldly on Lin Yi. The other bodyguards spread out, forming a circle around Lin Yi. Lin Yi gave a bitter smile. He didn't know that the old patriarch Yi was unconscious, but the only way to prove his words was to defeat these people and wake up the old patriarch Yi. Let me in, I can save Patriarch Yi, Lin Yi said firmly. The leading bodyguard sneered. Kid, don't think I don't know what tricks you're up to. With me here, you won't step foot in the Yi family today. With that, he took a sudden step forward, trying to force Lin Yi to retreat with his imposing aura. Lin Yi took a deep breath, a hint of mockery in his eyes. From beginning to end, he hadn't taken these bodyguards seriously. I'll say it again, I can revive Elder Yi, let me in. The bodyguard's expression changed. He realized he was actually feeling a sense of fear emanating from the beggar. Kid, you've got yourself into trouble. One of the bodyguards roared, raising his fist and charging towards Lin Yi. Lin Yi dodged the bodyguard's attack with a quick sidestep, then struck him in the abdomen with a punch, instantly rendering him unable to move. Seeing this, the other bodyguards rushed forward, attempting to surround and attack Lin Yi. Lin Yi was agile, and the bodyguards couldn't even touch his clothes. In the time it takes to drink a cup of tea, all the bodyguards were lying on the ground, clutching their stomachs and groaning in pain. Out of respect for the Yi family patriarch, Lin Yi held back. Otherwise, these bodyguards would have either broken arms or legs, and wouldn't have had the chance to writhe on the ground in agony, clutching their stomachs. You stay away. The Yi family member at the door kept backing away. Lin Yi glanced at the man casually and stepped directly into the Yi family compound. Lin Yi had not forgotten about the matter of the old patriarch Yi. The only way to prove the fact that he had a marriage agreement with the Yi family was to wake up the old patriarch Yi. Chapter 30, I can save old master Yi. Who are you? Why are you trespassing into my Yi family? The Yi family patriarch looked at Lin Yi warily, his voice icy. The fight had already been reported to him, and given the seriousness of the situation, as the head of the Yi family, he had no choice but to come out and deal with it. Behind the Yi family patriarch, the rest of the group followed suit. My name is Lin Yi, and I can revive old master Yi. Lin Yi looked at the Yi family head with neither arrogance nor servility, showing no fear in his eyes. Lin Yi's voice wasn't loud. but it carried an undeniable confidence and determination. The head of the Yi family frowned and looked the young man up and down. He was wearing a yellowish short-sleeved shirt covered in stains and a pair of shorts, and was carrying a tattered burlap sack. He didn't look like a normal person at all. "Young man, this isn't the place for you to cause trouble. If you need money, I can have someone get you some." The Yi family head thought for a moment and decided to give some money to settle things. It's best not to provoke a martial artist with mental problems. "Brother, this guy is causing trouble at the Yi family's place. Why are you giving him money? If word gets out, people will think our Yi family has no one to back it up and only knows how to pay to settle things. Who will respect our Yi family in the future?" A middle-aged man stood up angrily and shouted. "That's right, brother. This beggar has even broken into our house. If we don't teach him a lesson, what will people think of the Yi family? Patriarch, this person has offended the dignity of the Yi family and should be severely punished as a warning to others," suggested a Yi family martial artist. He had only been with the Yi family for a short time and had not yet made any contributions to the family. Just then, someone caused trouble, which was his chance to prove himself. The Yi family head waved his hand, signaling the martial arts master to step down. "Patriarch Yi, since you are the head of the Yi family, you must know that the Yi family made a marriage agreement 20 years ago." Linya had no choice but to mention the marriage agreement. Upon hearing about the marriage agreement, the head of the Yi family was visibly taken aback, clearly indicating that he was aware of the matter. The younger generation of the Yi family began to discuss among themselves. "There's another engagement in the family. How come I didn't know there was another engagement in the family?" Their words were filled with shock and curiosity. They were quite surprised by this sudden engagement. "When did the Yi family arrange the marriage? Who are the Yi family members who arranged the marriage? What is the groom's family background? What does she look like? What is her education? What is her character? What is her career?" The younger generation of the Yi family chatted freely about their thoughts, and no one thought that their fiancé would be this beggar in front of them. "Marriage contract? What marriage contract? My Yi family has never been engaged to anyone," the Yi family head said firmly. The Yi family head had heard some things about the engagement from his father. About 20 years ago, a traveling physician saved his father's life. To repay the life-saving grace, his father proposed to get engaged to the physician's apprentice. The person Yi family arranged the marriage with was Yi Zijin, the daughter of the Yi family head. More than 20 years have passed, and the Yi family head thought that the divine doctor had long forgotten about the matter. Unexpectedly, this beggar in his early 20s brought up the matter of the marriage agreement. The Yi family head knew that what the other party said was true, but looking at the person dressed like a beggar, the Yi family head decisively chose to deny it. "Patriarch Yi, do you dare swear to heaven that the Yi family has never arranged a marriage?" Linya said angrily. Linya had thought that the Yi family might not want to acknowledge the marriage agreement, or might be vague about it, but he never expected that the Yi family head would deny the existence of the marriage agreement so decisively. Faced with Linya's questioning, the Yi family head sneered and said disdainfully, "Why should I swear to heaven?" His tone was full of arrogance, completely disregarding Linya. Hearing the Yi family head's reply, Linya was furious. This marriage was arranged by his master and Old Master Yi, and even if it were to be cancelled, Old Master Yi's consent was required. Linya suppressed his anger and looked at the Yi family head with neither servility nor arrogance. "Family head Yi, do you dare to confront Old Master Yi face to face?" He was waiting for the Yi family head's answer. No matter how the Yi family head answered, he could control the situation. If the head of the Yi family disagrees, then he must have something to hide. If the head of the Yi family agrees, then he will wake up the Old Master Yi and let the Old Master Yi confront the head of the Yi family face to face. The Yi family head's lie was thus exposed without any further investigation. Clap, 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 tilde. A handsome man led several people in. "Wonderful, truly wonderful. I never imagined the Yi family would fall to such a state, with even an unknown beggar able to swagger around in their home." Following the sound, everyone looked and saw a tall man with an exceptionally handsome face come into view. Zhao Zilong, the sole heir of the Zhao family, the most devoted lover, and #1 simp in Shanghai, and the founder of Changsheng Group. "Zhao Zilong, what are you doing here?" Patriarch Yi glared angrily at Zhao Zilong. The Yi family has no grudge against Zhao Zilong. Yesterday, Changsheng Group and several subsidiaries under Zhao's control suddenly launched an attack on the Yi family. The Yi family head absolutely does not believe that Zhao Zilong was involved. Those industries were the foundation of the Yi family, but they were destroyed overnight. The Yi family suffered a severe blow and its assets shrank by a full 30%. Grandpa Yi was so angry that he collapsed, barely breathing and barely holding on to his last breath. Patriarch Yi, I have learned that old Master Yi has fallen ill. As a junior, it is my duty to come and visit him. It's all because of you, otherwise my grandfather wouldn't have been so angry. A pleasant voice came from behind. Following the sound, everyone looked and saw a porcelain doll-like little girl slowly walking out of the crowd. She wore a light blue dress, the hem of which fluttered gently in the wind, like a blooming blue lotus. Her skin was as white as snow and as smooth as silk, as if you could squeeze water out of it. Her big eyes were slightly red. She must have cried for a long time last night, which made her look pitiful. She walked lightly to the front of the crowd, staring fiercely at Zhao Zilong as if she wanted to devour him alive. Zhao Zilong smiled dismissively. Miss Yi, the business world is like a battlefield. The competition is fierce, and winning or losing is inevitable. Old Master Yi suffered a serious illness in his youth, and now, due to his advanced age and declining health, he has fallen ill. What does this have to do with me? I can't let the blame for old Master Yi's problems fall on me just because I happen to be competing with the Yi family. You, Yi Zijin trembled with anger. Zijin, that's enough. This matter has little to do with young Master Zhao. Take him inside to see the old man, the Yi family head said in a deep voice. While Zhao Zilong was partly to blame for old Master Yi's illness, the main reason was the lingering effects of his serious illness years ago. Even without Zhao Zilong, he would have been upset by other things. As the saying goes, one cannot hit a smiling face, so the Yi family had no reason to refuse Zhao Zilong's visit. Yes, Dad, Yi Zijing replied reluctantly. Yi Zijing replied perfunctorily, Young Master Zhao, please. The crowd made way for Zhao Zilong, who followed Yi Zijin into the backyard. Just as Lin Yu was about to follow, the martial arts master from the Yi family blocked his way, saying, What are you doing following them? Lin Yu looked somewhat displeased, but he didn't get angry. He said in a deep voice, I can save old Master Yi. These people kept trying to stop him, and if it weren't for old Master Yi, he would have been beaten down by them long ago. Get him out of here. The head of the Yi family left those words and headed straight for old Master Yi's room in the backyard. Did you hear that? Our patriarch doesn't welcome you. Get out of here now. The group started arguing with Lin Yi. Lin Yi clenched his fists, as if he had triggered some kind of passive ability and stood still, choosing to endure. Chapter 30, How about we make a bet? Sir, your Chinese system is useless and unscientific. Please step aside and let me do it, a foreign doctor shouted. What do you know? You're just a foreigner who only knows how to look at instruments. Traditional Chinese medicine has a history of thousands of years and a long tradition. How could someone like you who only knows how to look at instruments understand it? The young man following Elder Li immediately retorted. The elderly man standing in front of Mr. Yi was named Li Kungxiao, a renowned master of traditional Chinese medicine and vice president of the Shanghai Association of Traditional Chinese Medicine. He was extremely skilled in medicine and had cured many difficult and complicated diseases. Changqing, how dare you be so rude? The old man roared. Okay, teacher. Hearing the teacher's words, Su Changqing quickly shut his mouth. Old Li removed the needles from old Master Yi's body one by one, frowning and shaking his head repeatedly, while sighing from time to time. Old Li, what happened to my father? Seeing this, old Master Yi's fifth son felt uneasy and quickly stepped forward to ask. Old Li slowly turned around, a hint of helplessness in his eyes. He sighed softly, shook his head, and said, I'm afraid. Old Master Yi's health. Upon hearing this, the entire room fell into complete silence. The other members of the Yi family also bowed their heads in grief, their faces as pale as paper, their eyes filled with sorrow. I knew your Dragon Kingdom's medical skills were too backward. Our great Eagle Federation has the world's most advanced medicine, and we will not give up on any patient. The blonde-haired foreign doctor immediately stepped forward. Mr. Yi's illness still depends on the Great Eagle Federation. Jin Ruiz laughed as he walked past old Li, giving him a provocative look. Su Changqing frowned, his eyes filled with anger, but before he could speak, Li Kungxiao reached out and pressed down hard on his shoulder, saying softly, Changqing, have you forgotten what I said to you when you first joined the sect? Su Changqing was slightly taken aback, and the scene of when he first stepped into the sect flashed through his mind. At that moment, old Li looked at him kindly and asked, Changqing, why did you study medicine? To become an excellent doctor and to save more patients. Old Li nodded in satisfaction and continued, Changqing, what is a doctor in your eyes? Su Changqing hesitated for a moment before replying, Medicine is an angel that saves lives, a warrior that bravely faces disease, and a defender of life who reveres it. After listening to Su Chanking's long speech, Old Li nodded and shook his head at the same time, saying, "A doctor is also an ordinary person who has learned medicine. His task is to use what he has learned to save lives. Chanking, remember this. For doctors, saving lives is their sacred duty, but at the same time, doctors are just ordinary people with a little more skill than the average person. Medical skills are not ranked by order or quality. As long as they can save lives and restore the patient's health, that is good medical skill. What is sacred is never the profession, but humanity." Recalling Li Lao's teachings, Su Chanking's heart gradually calmed down. Studying medicine is not about competing with others, nor is it about saving face by treating patients you can't. It's about using your knowledge to save lives. But doctors are human after all, and they will eventually run out of strength, which is nothing to be ashamed of. "Master, I'm sorry." Su Chanking lowered his head in remorse. Old Li patted Su Chanking on the back of the head kindly without saying a word. His lack of ability was his problem, so he didn't choose to argue with Jin Ruzi. Jin Ruzi was a bad person, so he didn't give him a friendly look. Modern medicine is very powerful, a fact that Professor Li also acknowledges. However, it's hard to say whether those who study modern medicine are truly skilled. Whether traditional Chinese medicine is effective or not, Old Li knows in his heart. But by the same token, it's all a matter of who is learning it, and there's no need to argue with a fool who's just using external devices to think. What's the use of bragging if you can't learn properly? If we conclude that the entire medical field is ineffective simply because one person failed to save a life, then there is no such thing as medicine in this world. "Young Master Zhao, this is my grandfather's room," Yi Zijing said perfunctorily. Zhao Zilong didn't pay attention to Yi Zijing's attitude. Following Yi Zijing's direction, he looked into the room. Almost everyone was standing at the door, watching the room nervously. Zhao Zilong scanned the crowd and spotted Li Kengxiao in the middle of it. "Old Li." Zhao Zilong walked up to Old Li with a warm smile and greeted him politely. "Young Master Zhao, I never expected to see you here." A hint of surprise flashed in Old Li's eyes. However, considering that Zhao Zilong had come to visit Grandpa Yi, Old Li was not so surprised. "Mr. Li, I don't know about Mr. Yi's condition." Old Li shook his head and sighed. "With my abilities, I cannot save Patriarch Yi." His words were tactful, but everyone understood that Old Master Yi was beyond saving. Zhao Zilong nodded, his face expressionless. "By the way, young Master Zhao, this is my last disciple, Su Chanking." Old Li introduced Su Chanking with a smile, hoping to make him familiar to Zhao Zilong. After saying that, Elder Li turned to his disciple and said, "Chanking, this is young Master Zhao of the Zhao family, the owner of Changsheng Group." Zhao Zilong smiled politely. "So you are Elder Li's disciple. Not bad, a handsome young man." "Thank you, young Master Zhao." Su Chanking quickly expressed his gratitude. Zhao Zilong nodded slightly, and then chatted with Elder Li about some knowledge on health preservation and nourishing yang, passing the time. Half an hour later, Kinris came out with his disciples, looking somewhat depressed. "Mr. Kinris, my father's health." The Yi family head hurriedly stepped forward to inquire. "Patriarch Yi, Elder Yi's physical functions have deteriorated too severely. Please accept my condolences," Jin Ruiz said helplessly, stating the diagnosis. Upon hearing Jin Ruiz's words, the Yi family's last hope was completely shattered. Suddenly, an arrogant voice broke the silence, who said Old Master Yi is beyond saving. Everyone turned around at the same time, and a beggar with an arrogant look walked in. His upper body was covered in stains and yellowed short-sleeved shirts, and his lower body was covered in knee-length shorts. He was carrying a tattered burlap sack in his hand. "Holy moly, Patriarch Yi, how could you let a beggar in? This is irresponsible of the patient," Jin Ruzi shouted. Yi Yang, the head of the Yi family, also showed displeasure on his face and cursed inwardly. "What a useless piece of trash. What kind of masters of internal strength are they? They were asked to stop someone, and they actually sent someone to the backyard. They're two useless idiots. Kid, this is the Yi family home, not a place for you to cause trouble. If you know what's good for you, get lost, or I won't be so polite," warned an elder of the Yi family. "Someone come quick, someone throw this beggar out. Seventh uncle, why are you wasting your breath on this guy? Break his legs and throw him out to feed the dogs. This country bumpkin is obviously no good. Seventh brother, I think we should kick him out." Linya stared intently at Yi Yang. "Patriarch Yi." "This," Yi Yang, the head of the Yi family, pondered for a few seconds, then, recalling the old miracle doctor from years ago, finally said, "Why don't you give it a try?" "Big brother," Yi Zijing's second uncle looked at Yi Yang in disbelief. "How could you let a beggar treat father's illness?" "Brother, are you crazy? This is a beggar, not a doctor. Don't be foolish." Uncle Yi Zijin stared intently at Yi Yang. "Dad, you?" Yi Zijing looked at Yi Yang in disbelief. Yi Zijing never imagined that her father would believe a beggar and let him treat her grandfather. "Enough. Who is the head of the Yi family, you or me?" The Yi family head commanded authoritatively. "Brother, even if you are the head of the Yi family, I will never agree to let a beggar treat father's illness. Patriarch Yi, this boy's origins are unknown. He cannot be trusted." Elder Li also chimed in with advice. "Mr. Yi, even the Great Eagle Federation can't cure old Master Yi's illness. This person is definitely a fraud." Jin Ruzi also stepped forward to advise. "Big brother, patriarch," members of the Yi family stood up in protest. Seeing this, Yi Yang wavered again. Observing Yi Yang's change, Linya quickly shouted, "How about we make a bet?" Chapter 32, Do You Have a Medical License? Seeing everyone's stunned expression, Linya's lips curled into a slight smile as he continued. "If I can revive old Master Yi, then all of you will apologize to me. If I cannot cure old Master Yi, then I will be at your mercy." Linya spoke with considerable confidence. Everyone present was very surprised to hear Linya's words. Jin Ruzi looked at Linya with disdain. "What a big mouth you have. If you really have the ability to cure Mr. Yi's illness, then I, Jin Ruzi, will get out of here." Hearing Jin Ruzi's words, Linya's mouth twisted even more. "Okay." Linya's lips curled up wildly, as if the worship of everyone was right in front of him. As long as he cures old Master Yi, his reputation as a divine doctor will spread throughout the upper echelons of Shanghai. Those important figures will surely come to him for treatment. At that time, Lin Yu will surely rise above others and become a guest of honor among the important figures of the Dragon Kingdom. "Wait," Zhao Zilong immediately interrupted the spellcasting. Lin Yu stopped his crooked mouth and looked in the direction of the sound. A very handsome young man appeared in Lin Yu's eyes. For some reason, Lin Yu felt a strong aversion to this person. "What do you mean? Are you trying to stop me from saving old Master Yi?" Lin Yu stared coldly at Zhao Zilong. Zhao Zilong smiled calmly. "It's nothing, I just have a question. Do you have a medical license?" Lin Yu was suddenly stunned. A medical license? What was that? He had never heard of it before. "No, I don't have any of these so-called qualifications. I've never even heard of them," Lin Yu replied frankly. Upon hearing this, everyone gasped in shock. They didn't even know this person had a medical license. How could he cure illnesses? "You don't have a medical license, so what are you doing causing trouble?" Su Changqing angrily rebuked. "I can cure old Master Yi. I don't need any of those weird certifications," Lin Yu explained confidently. Zhao Zilong showed no surprise and then asked, "So, which prestigious medical university did you graduate from?" "What kind of bullshit university is this? I've lived in the mountains since I was a child and I've never been to school." Lin Yu's expression was somewhat displeased, but he still answered the question honestly. "What? Never even gone to school? What kind of extraordinary person is this? Everyone knows that China implemented 9-year compulsory education a long time ago. He never even went to school. He's truly a fugitive from the 9-year compulsory education system." Upon learning of this, everyone's perception of Lin Yi immediately plummeted. Never been to school, don't know about medical licenses. Even scammers wouldn't be this outrageous. If it weren't for young Master Zhao's sudden question, they would still be in the dark. "Have you finished asking your questions yet? Don't delay my rescue." Lin Yi's expression was extremely displeased. This strange person suddenly asked some irrelevant questions. I really have no idea what they're trying to do. Zhao Zilong shook his head and continued to ask, "Then who is your master?" "My master doesn't want the world to know his name," Lin Yi replied firmly. Everyone was shocked again. He had never been to school, didn't know about medical licenses, and had no apprenticeship. This was even worse than a counterfeit product. Letting someone like that treat a patient, they must be out of their mind. "You don't know about medical licenses, you've never been to school, and you don't have an apprenticeship. How can you treat others?" Zhao Zilong, feigning righteous indignation, angrily rebuked Lin Yi. "I have the ability, and Patriarchy has agreed to let me treat old Master Yi. Get out of the way." All eyes were on Yi Yang, the head of the Yi family, as if to say, "Are you sure you are saving old Master Yi or harming him?" Zhao Zilong took a deep breath and turned to look at Yi Yang, the head of the Yi family. "Head of the Yi family, you let such a substandard product treat old Master Yi's illness. I have a lot of reason to suspect that old Master Yi's coma was your doing." Upon hearing this, everyone looked at Yi Yang in astonishment. When old Master Yi fell ill, a beggar named Lin Yi came to his door and insisted on treating him. Yi Yang agreed, and the connection between the two events was chilling. "Yi Yang, give me an explanation. Brother, is father's illness really because of you?" "Dad," Yi Zijing looked at Yi Yang with immense heartache. I don't know. I didn't know he had never been to school. I didn't know he didn't have a medical license. I really didn't know he was a fraud," Yi Yang quickly explained. However, no one in the Yi family was willing to believe Yi Yang's explanation. At this moment, Yi Huangsu, the second son of old Master Yi, stepped forward. He looked at his elder brother with tears streaming down his face, and his tone was full of disappointment. "Elder brother, father has already entrusted the Yi family to you to manage, so why are you still doing this? The Yi family is all yours now. Why did you poison your father?" Yi Huangsu stared at Yi Yang with bloodshot eyes. "Second brother, I really didn't know. I didn't frame father. Believe me, I really didn't do such a heinous thing." Yi Yang tearfully explained his innocence. Yi Yang never expected that Lin Yi had never been to school, didn't even have a medical license, and was unwilling to reveal his master's name. Yi Yang inwardly groaned. He only knew that he had been married in the past, but he didn't know the name of the miracle doctor. Lin Yi wouldn't confirm it either, which was practically pushing him into a fire pit. "So that's why you were so confident you're a fraud." Jin Ruzi looked at Lin Yi with sarcasm. "Throw him out. Break this scumbag's legs. Get out of the Yi family. Get out of the Yi family." The Yi family members roared in righteous indignation. At this moment, Lin Yi had already been sentenced to death in their hearts, and the Yi family wished they could beat him to death with sticks. Lin Yi clenched his fists in anger. Looking at the people around him who were criticizing him, Lin Yi felt as frustrated as if he had eaten shit, as if he was about to lose something. "No, I can't just sit here and wait to die. The only way to prove my innocence is to wake old Master Yi up." Lin Yi suddenly realized the key to the problem. As long as old Master Yi is revived, the insults from these people and the schemes framed by THAT Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, spoiled brat, will be easily resolved. Thinking of this, Lin Yi pushed off with his feet, wanting to rush into old Master Yi's room and forcefully treat his illness. Suddenly, a figure flashed in front of Lin Yi and kicked him with all his might. Without any leverage, Lin Yi was sent flying backward, crashing into two walls of the Yi family before finally stopping. "Cough, cough." Lin Yi clutched his chest. His eyes filled with murderous intent as he glared at Zhao Zilong, who was blocking old Master Yi's door. "Peak of the transcendent realm? How is that possible?" Everyone stared at Zhao Zilong in disbelief. A martial artist at the Transcendent Realm was one of the best among martial artists. Who would have thought that the young master of the Zhao family would actually be a peak Transcendent Realm expert? Just then, Lin Yi felt a strong sense of crisis. Startled, he quickly did a somersault and narrowly avoided the sneak attacks coming from both sides from behind. Bang! Two black-haired old men appeared where Lin Yi had been standing. "The younger generation is truly formidable," one of the elders remarked, adding a few words of commentary. Two peak-stage Transcendent Realm experts? Everyone was shocked. Unexpectedly, young Master Zhao is so cautious. With his peak Transformation Realm cultivation, he even brought two peak Transformation Realm martial artists as bodyguards. "Damn it," Lin Yi cursed angrily, although he was not afraid of the two peak-stage martial artists. With them around, he had no chance to save old Master Yi today. "So be it. If the Yi family treats me this way, then I might as well leave them," Lin Yi thought to himself. "Stop talking nonsense, grab your weapons," another old man said. The old man, who had been talking a lot at first, nodded and pulled a Desert Eagle from his pocket. The other old man was not to be outdone, and immediately threw out a gleaming Tang-style horizontal sword. Seeing that the two old men lacked martial ethics, Lin Yi made a decisive decision and turned to run away. Ding, Lin Yi, the chosen one of destiny, is hated by everyone, causing his mental state to collapse. 1,000 points of Lin Yi's destiny value are deducted, and the host gains 10,000 villain points. Ding, Lin Yi, the chosen one, has been condemned by everyone. His reputation has plummeted, and he is hated by all. 2,000 of Lin Yi's luck points have been deducted, and the host has gained 20,000 villain points. Ding, the fact that Lin Yi, the chosen one, is illiterate has been revealed by the host, causing everyone's first impression of him to plummet and resulting in the loss of many allies. Lin Yi's luck value is reduced by 3,000, and the host gains 30,000 villain value. Ding, Lin Yi, the chosen one, has become the public enemy of the Yi family. Without the Yi family's early support, he can hardly use his skills. 500 points of luck value are deducted from Lin Yi, and the host gains 5,000 villain points. Ding, Lin Yi, the chosen one of destiny, has been tricked by the host, causing him to fall out with the female lead, Yi Zijing, and their relationship to be severed. 500 points of Lin Yi's destiny value have been deducted, and the host has gained 5,000 villain points. Ding, Lin Yi, the chosen one of destiny, was tricked by the host, losing the chance to save Grandpa Yi. His attempt to show off failed, and he lost multiple opportunities. 1,000 points of Lin Yi's luck value are deducted, and the host gains 10,000 villain points. A series of system announcements revealed that Zhao Zilong had gained a total of 80,000 villain points. Chapter 33, Dynamic Plot Prediction. Young Master Zhao's martial arts are unparalleled, and he is a promising young man. He has already reached the transcendent realm at such a young age. I am truly impressed. Old Li stepped forward with a smile to flatter him. Zhao Zilong smiled slightly and said modestly, "Elder Li, you flatter me. I just have some talent and have practiced self-defense skills diligently." Old Li smiled. At less than 30 years old and at the peak of the transformation realm, his talent was so strong that probably few people in the entire Dragon Kingdom could compare to him. "Mr. Zhao, is this Chinese Kung Fu? It's amazing." The blonde foreign doctor, Jin Ruzi, looked at Zhao Zilong with admiration. Since childhood, Jin Ruzi has been a great admirer of the legendary Kung Fu of the Dragon Kingdom. In order to see the real Kung Fu of the Dragon Kingdom, Jin Ruzi traveled thousands of miles to live in the Dragon Kingdom. It's a pity that the martial arts masters in China never paid any attention to Jin Ruzi, the blonde-haired guy. Similarly, Zhao Zilong also gave a perfunctory reply. Despite his impressive appearance, Jin Ruiz is just an ordinary doctor from the Great Eagle Federation. His medical skills are only slightly above average, and he has no access to the real big families in the Dragon Kingdom. Young Master Zhao, thank you so much for seeing through the villain's scheme. Otherwise, my Yi family would have been deceived by that villain. Yi Zijin's second uncle also quickly stepped forward to express his gratitude. "It's all right, I was just asking casually. I didn't expect that beggar to be a liar. That's also thanks to your discerning eye, young Master Zhao, for spotting the clues on the villain, recognizing his identity, and preventing disaster." Zhao Zilong waved his hand. "It was nothing, Mr. Yi, you don't need to take it to heart." After thanking the Yi family, Zhao Zilong took his leave. Looking at the extra 80,000 villain points in his hand, Zhao Zilong couldn't help but smile. Reopen the system store. Proficient level combat pack, 20,000 villain points, including abundant combat experience and skills. With it, you can instantly become a top-tier, unparalleled expert. Dynamic plot prediction, 30,000 villain value. This ability allows you to predict key events for the Chosen One, enabling you to more accurately sabotage their opportunities. It's a great value. With this, you won't have to worry about the Chosen One gaining new opportunities. Peak Grandmaster level, 200,000 villain points. Skills include plucking flowers with flying leaves and injuring people with a single breath. Grandmaster Peak Cultivation, 300,000 villain points. Qi materializes and solidifies, transforming the immortal into the miraculous. The Unbeatable Technique, 150,000 villain points. An innate level cultivation method that can condense battle Qi, making one stronger with each battle. A common cultivation method born for battle. Toilet paper, 1 villain value, ordinary toilet paper, nothing special. Seeing this, Zhao Zilong was speechless. He wouldn't buy toilet paper that expensive. Zhao Zilong took a deep breath and said in a deep voice, "System, purchase the proficient level combat pack and dynamic story prediction." Ding, 50,000 villain values deducted from the host. Familiar level combat gift pack and dynamic story prediction successfully redeemed. In an instant, a vast amount of memories appeared out of nowhere in Zhao Zilong's mind, instantly forming his combat intuition, danger perception, and instinctive muscle memory. Feeling the power within him becoming clearer, Zhao Zilong felt that he was now terrifyingly strong. "Young master, what's wrong?" The martial artist beside him suddenly sensed a fluctuation in Zhao Zilong's true energy. "It's nothing," Zhao Zilong replied casually, then continued browsing the gadgets in the system's shop. Grandmaster Tranquilizer Gun, 1,500 villain points. Can cause a Grandmaster-level martial artist to lose consciousness within 3 seconds, provided the shot hits. An essential 6th-tier weapon for home, travel, and scheming. Grandmaster-level Tranquilizer Gun, this is good. It can take down a Grandmaster instantly. If combined with the system space, it can be suddenly taken out and pressed against the face during a fight, making it virtually impossible to defend against. To be on the safe side, Zhao Zilong asked, "System, after purchasing the Grandmaster-level tranquilizer gun, it's stored in the system space, right?" Ding, host, yes. As long as the stored items do not violate the system space storage rules, the system space can store your items indefinitely. Chen Zhou's emotionless reply, "Okay, system. Purchase 2 vials of Grandmaster-level anesthetic. Beep, 3,000 villain points deducted from the host. Master-level tranquilizer gun successfully exchanged and stored in system space." Seeing the number of items in his system space increase from 0 to 2, Zhao Zilong's confidence surged. With these 2 master-level anesthetics, he was no longer afraid of Lin Yi, even in a one-on-one fight. After strengthening himself, Zhao Zilong didn't forget Lin Yi. System, turn on dynamic plot prediction. From the moment Lin Yi left Shanghai West Railway Station, his storyline was completely disrupted. Of all the previously listed plot points, the only one that remains unchanged is his encounter with the female lead. Zhao Zilong couldn't ascertain the other plot points. Even with 24-hour surveillance, some minor events and opportunities would be difficult to disrupt. If this happens repeatedly, Lin Yi will likely realize that someone is secretly monitoring him, making it much more difficult to sabotage his opportunities or offer him assistance. Now that dynamic plot prediction is available, this potential problem can be easily solved. A message appeared in Zhao Zilong's mind. This evening, a depressed Lin Yi will happen to run into the 4th female lead, Wen Yuxi, being harassed by thugs in a small alley in the old city of the West. He will then save her as a hero and successfully win the favor of the commoner school beauty and be invited to stay at her home temporarily. After watching the plot, Zhao Zilong exclaimed, "Wow, he truly is the chosen one." He just suffered a setback with the 1st female lead, Yi Zijing, and immediately encountered the 4th female lead, Wen Yuxi. In the original story, Wen Yuxi is the female lead who appears a month later. She has a gentle personality, is somewhat insecure and timid, has a gambling father and a seriously ill mother. Different locations, different thugs, the same hero saving the damsel in distress, but no one expected Wen Yuxi to appear earlier than planned. Zhao Zilong was not surprised. Given Lin Yi's current situation, the only way for him to rise against the odds was to rely on Wen Yuxi's seriously ill mother. Wen Yuxi, Zhao Zilong murmured to himself. He had no grudge against Wen Yuxi, and the two had no interaction whatsoever, so he wouldn't do anything to the mother and daughter. The charity aid plan is almost ready, so I'll go there myself. Zhao Zilong dialed Secretary Liu's number and asked, "Secretary Liu, how's the charity aid preparation going?" "Boss, the Relief Foundation has been arranged and is expected to officially begin operations next Monday." Secretary Liu assumed Zhao Zilong was asking about the progress of the relief work, so he truthfully reported the current progress of the relief plan. "Next Monday is too slow. Time is life. We will start some relief and assistance tomorrow to help those families with seriously ill patients who are in particularly difficult circumstances." "Yes, boss," Secretary Liu replied loudly. Zhao Zilong nodded, then instructed, "Secretary Liu, send me Wen Yuxi's file. I plan to visit her at her home today." "Understood, boss." A few minutes later, a file was sent to Zhao Zilong's phone. Zhao Zilong opened the document, glanced at Wen Yuxi's family situation, and said in a deep voice, "Go to the print shop." Chapter 34, The Shen Family's Little. "Wen Yuxi, your counselor wants to see you in the principal's office." The class monitor walked up to Wen Yuxi and whispered to her that the counselor wanted to see her. Wen Yuxi looked up at the class monitor with some confusion. "Class monitor, do you know why Teacher Wang asked me to go to the principal's office?" The class monitor shook his head. "I don't know either. Maybe it's something important. You should go over there right away, and I'll ask for leave for you." Wen Yuxi nodded, stood up, put her textbook and pen into her school bag, and walked out of the classroom. As Wen Yuxi walked, she pondered what could possibly require her to go to the principal's office. Could it be? Wen Yuxi considered a terrifying possibility. Arriving at the principal's office, Wen Yuxi took a deep breath, trying to remain calm, and gently knocked on the door. A deep voice came from the principal's office, "Come in." Wen Yuxi pushed open the door and walked into the principal's office. The counselor was also there, and there was a handsome man she didn't recognize next to the principal. When the counselor saw Wen Yuxi come in, she smiled and gestured for her to sit down. Wen Yuxi sat nervously in the chair, her hands on her knees, quietly waiting for the principal to speak. "Wen Yuxi, this is Mr. Zhao Zilong, the owner of Changsheng Group." Changsheng Group has just established a charity and relief program specifically to help students from impoverished families with seriously ill members. Mr. Zhao would like to learn more about your family's specific situation. The principal briefly explained why Wen Yuxi had been called over. The Love and Relief Program. Upon hearing this program, Wen Yuxi was so excited she almost stood up. Thank you, Principal. Wen Yuxi quickly thanked the principal. Wen, you should thank Mr. Zhao. It was actually Mr. Zhao who came to the school to see me about this, the principal explained with a smile. Wen Yuxi looked at the handsome man beside her who didn't look much older than her. When she learned that he was the boss of a large company, she couldn't help but feel a little nervous. Thank you, Mr. Zhao. Zhao Zilong smiled kindly and said, Young lady, don't be nervous. I came here today to learn about the living conditions of some families in difficulty. The counselor gently patted Wen Yuxi on the back, indicating that she didn't need to be nervous. Wen Yuxi, relax and tell Mr. Zhao about your family situation. With encouragement from her counselor, Wen Yuxi's tension eased considerably. She took a deep breath, thought carefully, and then recounted her family situation. Wen Yuxi's father was a gambling addict who abandoned his wife and daughter 10 years ago. Her mother, Wen Kun, had no education and raised Wen Yuxi by doing odd jobs. A year ago, her mother, Wen Kun, suddenly fell into a coma while at work and was taken to the hospital where she was diagnosed with mid-stage cancer. Wen Yuxi's family lost its only source of income. Wen Yuxi's mother, Wen Kun, endured the pain with painkillers to support her daughter's education until she fell ill 6 months ago. It was only when Wen Yuxi took her mother to the hospital that she learned her mother had cancer. After listening to Wen Yuxi's story, Zhao Zilong said he needed to visit Wen Yuxi's family. Wen Yuxi understood that her mother's treatment would require a lot of money, so she agreed to Zhao Zilong's request. Zhao Zilong pulled the principal along, and Wen Yuxi's counselor also expressed her desire to go with them. Thus, the four of them left Shanghai Normal University and went to the hospital where Wen Yuxi's mother was. After visiting Wen Yuxi's mother, the group arrived at Wen Yuxi's residence in the old town in the evening. After the visit, Zhao Zilong also took out several forms for Wen Yuxi to fill out and explained to her that the Love and Relief Fund directly pays all medical expenses for the recipients, but the hospital must be designated by the Love and Relief Fund. The counselor and principal were shocked when they learned about the scale of the aid program. They had never heard of such a level of assistance before, where all treatment costs were paid for the patient. Zhao Zilong explained that as society develops, there are always things that someone has to try, and the Love and Relief Foundation is trying out new forms of charitable care. Upon learning of Zhao Zilong's idea, the principal and counselor held him in high esteem. Upon learning that her mother would soon receive free treatment from the Love and Relief Foundation, Wen Yuxi was so grateful that she wanted to kneel down and thank Zhao Zilong. However, Zhao Zilong was a master of the transcendent realm, and with quick eyes and hands, he stopped Wen Yuxi from doing so. After Wen Yuxi calmed down, the three of them took her out for a meal, and finally the counselor and principal took Wen Yuxi back to her school dormitory. Ding, the host has cut off Lin Ye's opportunity, causing him to miss his chance to rise to power. 2,000 of Lin Ye's luck points have been deducted, and the host has gained 20,000 villain points. Hearing the system's cold announcement, Zhao Zilong laughed. Good. I've gained another 20,000 villain points. That's awesome. Sizzle. The driver slammed on the brakes, and the two peak stage Transcendent Realm elders immediately jumped out, exchanging glances with the martial artist who had intercepted Zhao Zilong. The other party politely cupped his hands in greeting and called out loudly, Young Master Zhao, my young lady invites you in. Zhao Zilong stepped out of the carriage and, upon seeing the attire of the Shen family, immediately understood who the visitor was. Shen Yefei, the little devil of the Shen family, is the mastermind behind the witch's foot bath business and Lin Ye's fifth female lead. In the original story, she was a witch who wreaked havoc on Lin Ye's harem, giving him a lot of headaches. Zhao Zilong glanced casually at the early-stage dark force martial artist opposite him, instructed the two bodyguards from the Zhao family who were at the Transcendent Realm to stay where they were, and then followed the man into the woods not far away. Young Master Zhao, it's been a long time, a bewitching voice echoed from above. Zhao Zilong looked up, and Shen Yefei leaned against a huge tree 3 meters high with a light laugh. What is it? Speak. Zhao Zilong looked coldly at Shen Yefei. Shen Yefei jumped in front of Zhao Zilong. Young Master Zhao, you really have a bad memory. A few days ago, Mr. Zhao's men brought in a beggar from who knows where who injured several of my security guards. The beggar was eventually bilaid out. I wonder how young Master Zhao intends to repay this debt, Shen Yefei asked with a light laugh, looking into Zhao Zilong's eyes. Zhao Zilong smiled, but his eyes instantly turned cold. What if I don't return it? In the original storyline, the Shen family underwent a change and fell directly under Lin Yi's command, and Shen Yefei became the new head of the Shen family. Under Shen Yefei's leadership, the Shen family has had a significant impact on the Zhao family's business. In my memory, Shen Yefei was responsible for at least 30% of the Zhao family's downfall. Compared to Su Yingsu, Zhao Zilong hated Shen Yefei even more. Shen Yefei stared at Zhao Zilong without backing down. Zhao Zilong, don't think that just because you're the young master of the Zhao family, you can use me as a pawn. Zhao Zilong grabbed Shen Yefei by the snow-white neck and slammed her heavily against a tree trunk. Shen Yefei, do you really think I wouldn't dare kill you? Zhao Zilong's cold eyes were filled with murderous intent. Cough, cough. Shen Yefei struggled wildly, the feeling of suffocation constantly assaulting her brain. Zhao Zilong's hand gripped Shen Yefei's neck tightly like an iron clamp, and Shen Yefei's strength was far inferior to Zhao Zilong's. Shen Yefei tried to pry Zhao Zilong's fingers open, but to no avail. Her vision began to blur, and in a daze, she seemed to see herself as a child. Chapter 35, Where is your marriage certificate? HMPH. Zhao Zilong snorted coldly, forcefully tossing Shen Yefei aside like trash. He showed absolutely no mercy or pity for her. Cough, cough. Shen Yefei lay on the ground, breathing in the long-awaited air. Having just experienced this, Shen Yefei felt for the first time how close she was to death, and how much she longed for life. Zhao Zilong eventually managed to control his impulse and calm himself down. Zhao Zilong understood that killing Shen Yefei now would not be a wise move. Even if he were to kill her, he could not leave any evidence, so that the Shen family could have an excuse to attack the Zhao family. Even though the Zhao family was not afraid of the Shen family's attempt to teach them a lesson, Zhao Zilong still did not want the interests of the Zhao family to be damaged meaninglessly. As the sole heir of the main branch of the Zhao family, Zhao Zilong is responsible for the entire Zhao clan and cannot act impulsively. Shen Yefei took deep breaths of fresh air, her eyes filled with apprehension as she looked at Zhao Zilong in the distance. In her eyes, Zhao Zilong was simply a madman. She only came to give Zhao Zilong a hard time and demand an explanation. But she didn't expect Zhao Zilong to actually take action and even to kill him. Zhao Zilong gave Shen Yefei, who was still lying on the ground, a cold glance, then turned and left without saying a word. This left Shen Yefei even more confused, completely unable to guess Zhao Zilong's thoughts, or the terrifying killing intent he had just displayed. From childhood to adulthood, she had never had any conflict with Zhao Zilong, and she couldn't understand why Zhao Zilong suddenly had such a strong desire to kill her. 5 minutes later, Shen Yefei, having recovered, slowly got up. Looking at the dark, deserted woods around her, she cursed inwardly. What on earth happened to this madman? He hit me so hard it hurts like hell. Just you wait, Zhao Zilong, Shen Yefei will not let this matter rest. A glint of malice flashed in Shen Yefei's eyes. Just then, a middle-aged man ran over. Upon closer inspection, it turned out that this man was the same martial artist in the early stage of Dark Force who had led the way for Zhao Zilong earlier. "Young miss, are you all right?" the man asked cautiously. "It's all right, let's go," Shen Yefei replied calmly, revealing no emotion whatsoever. Shen Yefei was covered in mud from head to toe, her fair neck was red, and there were several bruises under her black dress. Her internal organs were aching, but Miss Shen was just putting on a brave face. Even without using her full strength, the peak of the transcendent realm is not something that Shen Yefei, a mere low-level Ming Jin martial artist, can easily resist. The man leading the way didn't dare to say anything more. He knew Shen Monu's temper very well. If the young lady said it was nothing, then it was nothing. Back on the highway, Zhao Zilong's car was nowhere to be seen. Miss Shen got into her car, feeling depressed. Soon, the car of Shen the Witch and her group disappeared into the night. The next morning, Zhao Zilong got out of bed contentedly. "System, did Lin Yi have any opportunities or chance encounters today?" "Ding, host, Lin Yi will be going to the home of the second female lead, Zhang Yuexin, this morning to propose marriage." Zhang Yuexin is the granddaughter of Zhang Zhizhen, the president of the Shanghai Traditional Chinese Medicine Association. The Zhang family is a well-known medical family in China and the last of the 5 major families in Shanghai. After having breakfast, Zhao Zilong said goodbye to his grandfather and then drove away from the Zhao family manor. Upon seeing Zhao Zilong, Zhang Zhizhen was somewhat surprised. Zhao Zilong, I didn't expect you to come and see me. Old Zhang, what are you saying? Can't I come and see you if there's nothing wrong with me? Old Zhang looked serious, deliberately feigning a wary expression. You little rascal, you won't do anything without a reason. Tell me honestly, what do you want from me? Zhao Zilong chuckled awkwardly and gave the excuse he had prepared beforehand. Elder Zhang, I just wanted to ask if you have any medicine that can instantly render a Grandmaster-level martial artist incapacitated or unconscious. Zhang Zhizhen glared at Zhao Zilong with annoyance. You really think too highly of me, Zhao Kid. I studied medicine, not poisons. How could I possibly know such potent poisons? Old Zhang, I was just asking casually. If you don't have it, then forget it, Zhao Zilong quickly explained. Just then, there was a knocking sound at the door. Zilong, sit here for a while, I'll go see who's outside. Old Zhang, let me accompany you, Zhao Zilong said, standing up. Old Zhang glanced at Zhao Zilong, nodded, and said nothing more. Soon, the two arrived at the door, opened it, and a beggar-like man stood outside, wearing a yellowish short-sleeved shirt covered in stains, a pair of shorts, and carrying a tattered burlap sack. Although Mr. Zhang lives in an ordinary villa in an ordinary area of Shanghai, the security is quite good. Old Zhang was somewhat surprised to find a beggar had slipped in here. Upon seeing Zhao Zilong, Linya's previously smiling face instantly darkened and his brows furrowed. What are you doing here? The spoiled brat in front of him was the same guy who ruined his plans at the Yi family. Linya never imagined that this guy would actually appear at the Zhang family. Linya's fist-sized mind was in complete chaos, utterly bewildered. Nephew Zilong, do you know him? Old Zhang asked in confusion. Old Zhang, I've only met this person once. This person is actually a conman. Yesterday, he was swindling people at the Yi family's house when I caught him. He then tried to attack someone, but I chased him away. Hearing the other party distorting the truth, Linya shouted angrily. You're lying. You were the one who stopped me from treating Grandpa Yi. I never intended to hurt anyone. Zhao Zilong sneered. HMPH, you're someone who didn't even finish elementary school. You don't even know the basic fact that doctors need to take a medical licensing exam, yet you claim you can treat other people's illnesses. Who would believe that? I told you I know medicine. I learned it from my master on the mountain. It's clearly your short-sightedness that prevented you from believing me, Lin Yi explained earnestly, contrary to his usual behavior. Then tell me your master's name, so I can investigate whether such a person actually exists. My master told me not to reveal his name to anyone, Lin Yi replied earnestly. You've never been to school, you don't have a medical license, and you don't even have a master. What else could you be but a fraud? I told you I'm not a liar, Lin Yi clenched his fists in anger. Yes, even scammers will say they're not scammers. Zhao Zilong smiled as he looked at Lin Yi. Lin Yi was so angry he almost vomited blood, but he didn't know how to refute it. Faced with the stranger's question, Lin Yi was speechless for a moment and could not refute it. Realizing that he was no match for the other man in eloquence, Lin Yi decided to stop arguing with the stranger. So Lin Yi took a deep breath and said calmly, Elder Zhang, I am Lin Yi. 20 years ago, my master was engaged to you. I've come here to fulfill this marriage and grant my master's last wish. After saying this, Lin Yi quietly looked at old Zhang. You said the same thing at the Yi family before, Zhao Zilong quickly interjected. Then Zhao Zilong continued, Since there's a marriage agreement, where's your marriage certificate? Show it to me. Upon hearing Zhao Zilong's words, old Zhang immediately swallowed his words, which were about to invite Lin Yi in. Old Zhang had always thought that the old man's apprentice was only engaged to his granddaughter. But now Zhao Zilong was saying that the old bastard's apprentice had other engagements. There are other marriage agreements. What do they take his granddaughter for? What do they take him for? What do they take the Zhang family for? Upon learning the truth, old Zhang was furious. Since this old bastard doesn't take him seriously, doesn't take the Zhang family seriously, and doesn't take his own granddaughter seriously, then let's just disown this marriage agreement. Zhang Zhizhen suppressed his anger and said in an unhappy tone, Boy, since you say you are engaged to my granddaughter, then show me the marriage certificate so I can see if it's true. Lin Yi had a bad feeling, but he still braced himself and said frankly, Old Zhang, I failed to keep a close watch on things, and the marriage certificate was stolen by a cunning thief when we got off at the train station. Stealed, at least come up with a plausible excuse. You're even going to say you stole a marriage certificate. These days, liars really have no scruples. Zhao Zilong seized the opportunity to mock him. Zhang Zhizhen frowned and looked coldly at Lin Yi. Since you don't have a marriage certificate, then leave. Linyi swallowed hard, inwardly groaning. His marriage certificate was stolen. What could he do? He didn't want it to happen either. Who knew someone would steal someone else's marriage certificate? Old Zhang, I'm not lying. The marriage certificate really was stolen by a thief. I'm not deceiving you, please believe me. Linyi still tried to struggle. You brat, get out of here right now. My Zhang family has never been engaged to anyone. If you cause trouble here again, I'll call the police. Zhang Zhizhen roared angrily. Since that old bastard dared to bully him, he naturally wouldn't give that old bastard and his apprentice any face. Didn't they have multiple marriage certificates? Then go find someone else. The Zhang family won't serve them. Even if he could produce a marriage certificate, he wouldn't recognize it. Seeing Zhang Lao's hostile attitude, Linyi knew that there was no chance of success. Linyi glared at Zhao Zilong resentfully, then turned and slunk away from old Zhang's residence. Chapter 36. Linyi is sent to a mental hospital. Ding, the host has prevented the marriage of the chosen one, Linyi, thus ruining his chance to rise to power. 3,000 of Linyi's luck points have been deducted, and the host has gained 30,000 villain points. Ding, the host has revealed that Linyi, the chosen one of destiny, has more than one marriage certificate. This has led Zhang Zhizhen, the president of the Shanghai Traditional Chinese Medicine Association, to see Linyi's true character, sever ties with Linyi's sect, and prevent Linyi from joining the Shanghai Traditional Chinese Medicine Association. Linyi's luck value is deducted by 2,000, and the host gains 20,000 villain points. While driving, Zhao Zilong suddenly heard that 50,000 villain points had been credited to his account. 50,000 villain points, nice. I currently have a total of 97,000 villain points. If I accumulate a little more, I can exchange them for Grandmaster-level cultivation. Suddenly, boom! With a loud bang, Zhao Zilong's sports car was slammed shut by a tremendous force. Zhao Zilong got out of the car, and Linyi stood not far in front of him with a gloomy expression. You've slandered me time and time again. Do you really think I, Linyi, have no temper? Linyi glared angrily at Zhao Zilong. Zhao Zilong looked at Linyi arrogantly. Linyi, you dare to stop my car. You've got some nerve. Enough talk, let's see who's the best. Linyi roared, immediately leaping towards Zhao Zilong. After leaving the Zhang family, Linyi became angrier and angrier. He wouldn't feel at ease unless he gave this damn bastard a good beating. As Linyi's fist, as big as a sandbag, drew closer, Zhao Zilong gently dodged to the left, easily avoiding Linyi's punch. Linyi, is that all you've got? You're too slow. Zhao Zilong's irritating voice rang out. Linyi remained silent, his eyes fixed on Zhao Zilong. The other party's reaction speed was very fast, but he had only used 80% of his strength just now. The other party was at the peak of the transformation realm, so it was normal for him to be dodged. But now, he will have to give it his all. Knowing that Linyi hadn't used his full strength in his earlier probing, Zhao Zilong continued his arrogant provocation. Linyi, did you not eat? Your speed is so slow, and your punches are weak and powerless, like a little girl. As Zhao Zilong spoke, he sneered at Linyi. Hearing Zhao Zilong's words, Linyi felt a surge of anger, but he didn't show it. He simply replied calmly, Is that so? Then you'll regret it. With that, Linyi pulled a packet of silver needles from his crotch and swiftly inserted them into several acupoints on his body. As the silver needles danced, Linyi's aura expanded rapidly, quickly reaching the peak of the transformation realm, on par with Zhao Zilong. Seeing the change in Linyi's aura, Zhao Zilong's smile remained unchanged. The acupuncture technique was one of Linyi's trump cards. I didn't expect Linyi to use it now. It seems he's really desperate. Ha! Linyi roared. With a powerful push of his legs, 2 deep footprints appeared on the asphalt road. Linyi, like a bullet, sped towards Zhao Zilong. Zhao Zilong remained calm and composed, relying on his subconscious combat experience, skills, and sense of danger to deal with Linyi's rapid attacks with measured advances and retreats, countering each move as it came. Linyi can fight beyond his level, but the proficient-level combat gift pack given by the Destiny Villain system comes from top geniuses from countless cultivation and fantasy worlds. These individuals who can enter the system's database are all outstanding figures of their respective eras. It can be said that fighting Zhao Zilong is no less challenging than playing a game of skill with those invincible geniuses in cultivation worlds and fantasy novels. Aside from lacking any martial arts techniques, Zhao Zilong's fighting style was a complete replica of the combat prowess of those geniuses. Every attack he launched hit Linyi's weak points precisely. As the fight went on, Linyi was surprised to find that his fighting skills were actually inferior to those of this spoiled brat. Every single one of his attacks was neutralized by this guy, making him a truly troublesome opponent. Damn, it looks like I have to get serious, Linye thought to himself. The profound Yang technique. Linye silently activated the innate cultivation technique taught to him by his master. He originally wanted to fight this spoiled young master to vent his bad mood from the past few days. But he didn't expect that the young master's fighting skills were superior to his own, and he got angrier and angrier as the fight went on. Linye was speechless. Sensing the surge in Linye's aura, Zhao Zilong understood that Linye was truly enraged. The profound Yang skill was Linye's greatest trump card. With this skill, Linye not only learned various skills, but also reached the pinnacle of cultivation. This shows how terrifying this technique is. However, this cultivation method is not without its flaws. Once a practitioner of the mysterious Yang technique reaches the peak of the transformation realm, they must engage in dual cultivation with a woman born in a yin year, yin month, yin day, and yin hour with a pure yin body. Otherwise, the day they break through to the Grandmaster level will be the day their body explodes. Taking the initiative, Zhao Zilong pushed off with both legs and charged towards Linye. Just as he was about to reach Linye, Zhao Zilong took out the Grandmaster tranquilizer gun from the system's space and fired a cool sniper shot. Clatter! The Grandmaster-level tranquilizer gun struck Linye in the chest, and the powerful aura of the tranquilizer law instantly entered every cell of Linye's body. Linye had barely uttered the word you. When his mind went blank, his eyelids closed, and he fell asleep instantly. Zhao Zilong slowly walked up to Linye. You little punk, you think you can fight me? You fell for my trap, you idiot. Young master has taken care of the enemy. The driver looked at his young master in disbelief. What are you standing there for? Give me a knife, Zhao Zilong snapped. The driver quickly found a fruit knife, walked shakily to Zhao Zilong's side, and whispered a reminder. Young master, please don't do anything foolish, don't leave any evidence. Zhao Zilong nodded. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. After saying that, Zhao Zilong slowly squatted down, and with a few quick slashes, severed Linye's tendons in his hands and feet at a speed that was difficult to see with the naked eye. After glancing at Linye's dantian, Zhao Zilong gently stabbed it a few times with his knife, but did not completely destroy it, in order to prevent some old man from suddenly appearing to help him. Suddenly a clear voice rang out. Hey, you in front, what are you doing? Stop right now or I'll call the police. Zhao Zilong turned around and saw a young woman he didn't recognize. She must have just happened to be passing by. Look at my car. Zhao Zilong calmly pointed to his sports car, the front of which was dented with a large dent. The woman looked in the direction Zhao Zilong pointed and saw a mangled car front, as if it had been hit by something heavy. But the surrounding area was flat, and the trees and streetlights along the roadside were intact. The woman couldn't understand how the car had turned into this. Zhao Zilong kicked the unconscious Linye and explained to the woman in a refined and gentle manner. This person was the one who damaged my car. I was worried that he might hurt us, so I used a tranquilizer gun to knock him out. We were checking whether he was a normal person when you arrived. The woman glanced at the tranquilizer gun-like object in the man's hand, then at the mangled sports car in the distance, and began to believe his story more. After explaining, Zhao Zilong immediately instructed his driver, Xiao Wang, to call the mental hospital. Xiao Wang, call the strange doctor mental hospital and tell them there's an abnormal mental patient here. Okay, boss. Driver Xiao Wang understood immediately. I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. I'll take you home later, the woman said apologetically. We need to wait for the mental hospital's vehicle. Could you wait with us? Zhao Zilong asked in an elegant and easygoing manner. The woman nodded, her pretty face slightly flushed. At the same time, an elderly master who was passing by a kilometer away was suddenly stopped by his granddaughter behind him. Grandpa, where are you going? The little girl asked hesitantly. The old man lovingly picked up his granddaughter, looking at her tenderly in his arms. Good girl, Grandpa won't go anywhere. Grandpa, let's go home. Ying is hungry. All right, my dear granddaughter, Grandpa will take Ying home now. The old master chuckled and carried his granddaughter back home. As for the sudden thought of heading forward that had just popped into my head, it had already vanished into thin air. Chapter 37, The surgery was a success. Young Master Zhao, rest assured, I will handle this matter perfectly, the eccentric doctor assured him with a fawning expression. Zhao Zilong nodded in satisfaction and made a generous promise. As long as this matter is handled well, I can give you an additional investment of 100 million. Upon hearing about the 100 million yuan, Dr. Strange's eyes lit up. Thank you, young Master Zhao. Don't worry, young Master Zhao. I will definitely complete the task you assigned me. Okay, go ahead and remember not to leave anything out. Zhao Zilong nodded in satisfaction. Yes, young Master Zhao. The eccentric doctor solemnly patted his chest in assurance. After hanging up the phone, Dr. Strange walked out of his office, changed into a very professional outfit, and went to a clean hospital room. Doctor, you've arrived. The patient has woken up. A nurse immediately came forward to report the situation upon seeing the strange doctor. Dr. Strange nodded slightly, his eyes deep and mysterious, as if they could see through all illusions. Take me there, I want to see the patient. The nurse moved 2 steps to the side, making way for the strange doctor to enter Lin Yi's ward. The doctor calmly walked up to Lin Yi, looking at him with a serious expression. Young man, your injury is very serious, and surgery must begin as soon as possible. After saying that, the eccentric doctor took out a rather thick agreement and explained in a friendly manner, Young man, this is the surgical risk disclosure form. I see that you can't move your limbs right now, so you just need to put your fingerprint on it. The eccentric doctor paused, then sighed. As for the surgery fee, you can pay it after you recover. After listening to the doctor, who was called Doctor, Lin Yi felt endless gratitude towards him. No one knew his injuries better than him. His tendons in his hands and feet had been severed, his dantian was almost completely destroyed, and he couldn't use any true qi, making it impossible for him to heal himself. If he waits for the Xuan Yang true qi to repair his dantian, the life force at the severed tendons in his hands and feet will have long since died. At that time, no matter how skilled he is in medicine, he will not be able to restore his hands and feet to their original state. In his current situation, he is unable to treat himself, and in order to avoid leaving any sequelae, he has no choice but to entrust the injuries to the professional doctor in front of him. Young man, since you agree to assume the risks yourself, let's sign it. The eccentric doctor didn't waste any time and directly grabbed Lin Yi's thumb, pressing his fingerprints on the last page of the surgical agreement, making 3 copies. Nurse, please have someone take this young man to the operating room. I'll go and prepare, and I'll perform the surgery myself. Understood, doctor, the nurse replied seriously. A short while later, several doctors in white coats rushed over and quickly took Lin Yi to the operating table. Then a young anesthesiologist walked in, holding a prepared anesthetic needle. He smiled and nodded to Lin Yi, indicating that everything would go smoothly. Looking at the needle in the anesthesiologist's hand, Lin Yi suddenly felt uneasy, as if something bad was about to happen. However, Lin Yi didn't think much of it, assuming it was his first time performing surgery and he was just nervous. Come on, Lin Yi silently thought to himself. Without the protection of true qi, the anesthesiologist's anesthetic needle easily pierced Lin Yi's body. If the effect is not good, increase the dosage. As the anesthetic gradually took effect, Lin Yi felt his body grow heavier and his consciousness begin to blur. Doctor, we can begin, the assistant reported. Dr. Strange nodded, took out a butcher knife, wiped it on Lin Yi's clothes, grabbed something that looked like a loach and decisively slashed it. Separate humans from chickens. Go and bring Big Yellow in. The doctor, while performing his actions, calmly ordered his assistant to bring in Big Yellow, the hospital's gatekeeper. Understood, doctor, the assistant replied. He quickly left the operating room and headed towards the entrance of the strange Doctor Mental Hospital. Soon the assistant brought Dawang to the operating room. Doctor, Dawang is here. The doctor had already finished the surgery and was leisurely drinking tea. He pointed to the pressure cooker next to him and said, Take it aside and boil it to sterilize it. The assistant nodded, put on gloves, and carefully used tongs to transfer the chicks that the doctor had separated into the pressure cooker. Lin Yi didn't know how much time had passed before he vaguely regained some consciousness. Hiss! As soon as he woke up, excruciating pain relentlessly assaulted Lin Yi's nerves. The intense pain instantly brought Lin Yi back to his senses. Young man, you're finally awake. The surgery was a success. From now on, you'll be an unlovable girl. The eccentric doctor smiled at Lin Yi. But in Lin Yi's eyes, his smile was more terrifying than Satan from hell. Upon hearing the doctor's words, Lin Yi realized that he had been tricked. What kind people, what hospital, what treatment? It's all a lie, all fake. Ah! Lin Yi roared furiously, his eyes filled with murderous intent as he stared at the doctor in front of him. Hiss! Lin Yi trembled involuntarily from the pain. Upon closer inspection, it turned out that there were 2 steel needles sticking out from the left and right sides of Lin Yi's waist. As soon as Lin Yi moved, the wound would immediately be torn open, and intense pain would constantly wash over Lin Yi's consciousness. Young man, I advise you to calm down and reflect on this, the eccentric doctor said with a smile, trying to comfort Lin Yi. Aeolia, damn it, I will kill you, Lin Yi roared furiously. Lin Yi, at this moment, can only bark helplessly. His limbs were paralyzed, his dantian was on the verge of collapse, and 2 cold steel needles stood on his waist. Even his second brother, who had been with him for 21 years, died because of his carelessness. Kid, offending our young lady will make you wish you were dead. That's the least of your worries. The eccentric doctor glanced mockingly at Lin Yi, uttered this cryptic remark, and then left. Bang, the operating room door slammed shut. Aha, I will kill you, I will kill you. I will make you wish you were dead. Lin Yi's furious voice echoed in the dark operating room. Ding, Lin Yi, the chosen one of destiny, carelessly lost his second brother, causing his mental breakdown and emotional collapse. 10,000 of Lin Yi's destiny points are deducted, and the host gains 100,000 villain points. Ding, the host has schemed against Lin Yi, the chosen one of destiny, causing him to suffer inhuman torture, leading to a mental breakdown and extreme anger. 3,000 of Lin Yi's destiny points have been deducted, and the host has gained 30,000 villain points. Ding, the host severed the tendons in Lin Yi's hands and feet and pierced his dantian, leaving him unable to resist. Lin Yi became a guinea pig on the chopping block, suffering an inhuman meal, his mind and spirit shattered. 6,000 of Lin Yi's luck points were deducted, and the host gained 60,000 villain points. Ding, the host's design of the chosen one has taken effect, causing him to harbor a terrifying murderous intent towards the female lead, Shen Yefei. His luck has been damaged, deducting 2,000 of Lin Yi's luck points. The host has gained 20,000 villain points. Hearing the system announcements, Zhao Zilong was overjoyed. Including the 100,000 villain points he gained from the previous ambush on Lin Yi, he now had a total of 310,000 rebellion points, while Lin Yi's luck points dropped to 29,000. This is truly something to celebrate. Using someone else to do the dirty work, I hope Lin Yi really will kill Shen Yefei. Hehe tilde. Chapter 38, Killing the Doctor Ghost. System, I want to exchange for the peak Grandmaster cultivation level. Zhao Zilong laughed loudly. Ding, 300,000 villain points deducted from the host's value. Grandmaster level peak martial arts points deducted. Exchange successful. As the villain value was deducted, a powerful aura instantly surged from Zhao Zilong's body. Grandmaster peak. Feeling the unparalleled power within him, Zhao Zilong felt great. The power of a Grandmaster at the peak, the ceiling of individual martial arts in this world. With this power, he can do whatever he wants in the martial arts world. For example, killing Lin Yi's master is something he'll always do. However, Zhao Zilong did not go mad after gaining power. As the heir of the Zhao family, Zhao Zilong was very clear about his own position. While a Grandmaster at their peak is powerful, their lifespan is only a little over 200 years. They won't act recklessly just because of their strong cultivation. Doing so would be pointless, and would only ruin the family traditions that the Zhao family has passed down for thousands of years, which is not in line with his principles. After calming down, Zhao Zilong immediately asked, System, can you check the location of Master Lin Yi? Beep host 2,000 villain points, including real-time location. Zhao Zilong had anticipated this. 2,000 villain points were a bit pricey, but he didn't refuse. Investigate. Ding, 2,000 villain points successfully deducted. The location coordinates of the Dr. Ghost have been locked. The host can view them at any time. A virtual map appeared in Zhao Zilong's mind, marked with a small red dot. The red dot had the 2 large characters, Medical Ghost, written by he ran on it. Lin Yi's master, a slovenly old man who secretly orchestrates Lin Yi's life, is a pseudo-grandmaster and not worth worrying about. The Northwest, Lin Yi's original location. Zhao Zilong paused, then sighed. It really is remote. However, I still have to go there. While Lin Yi is temporarily unable to leave, I need to clean up this potential problem. Having made his decision, Zhao Zilong took out his phone and quickly dialed Uncle Fu's number. Uncle Fu, arrange a plane to the Northwest immediately. I have an urgent matter to attend to. Upon hearing Zhao Zilong's order, Uncle Fu on the other end of the phone did not hesitate at all and immediately replied, Yes, young master. After hanging up the phone, Uncle Fu didn't dare to delay for a moment, and immediately began to prepare for his trip to the Northwest. At this moment, Uncle Fu received the coordinates of Zhao Zilong's destination. With the specific location, Uncle Fu quickly arranged for a helicopter to pick him up at the airport. In the blink of an eye, Zhao Zilong's helicopter arrived at Lin Yi's hometown. Linya's master, the Dr. Ghost, sensed something was wrong and quickly hid in a cave. "Old man, no need to hide anymore. I know you're still alive." Zhao Zilong arrived outside the cave where the Dr. Ghost was hiding. The Dr. Ghost did not answer, and could only try to conceal his aura to avoid being found by the other party. "Damn it, I even fooled that brat Lin Yi. How could anyone else find me and know I'm still alive?" The Dr. Ghost was so nervous he barely dared to breathe. More than 30 years ago, the Dr. Ghost traveled all over the country with his medical skills and arrived in Yanjing. However, he acted too arrogantly and was seriously injured by a grandmaster from a powerful family. His foundation was damaged, and he left Yanjing in a sorry state. Seeing that the other party did not come out, Zhao Zilong went directly into the cave. Soon, Zhao Zilong's gaze locked onto a corner, and he slammed his palm out, unleashing a powerful burst of energy like a raging torrent. The qi condensed into a fierce tiger, bared its fangs, and let out a deafening roar, charging fiercely towards the place where the Dr. Ghost was hiding with boundless power. The doctor's expression changed drastically. Feeling the terrifying pressure, the doctor knew he had nowhere to escape. He hurriedly gathered all his internal energy and used all his strength to resist Zhao Zilong's casual attack. Cough, cough, the Dr. Ghost spat out a mouthful of blood. Peak Grandmaster. The healer finally realized the true strength of the newcomer. More than 30 years ago, the young and arrogant Dr. Ghost, who had just entered the Grandmaster realm, believed that he could establish a foundation in Yanjing. As a result, he offended a powerful family in Yanjing. The family sent out a powerful expert at the late stage of the Grandmaster realm. After a fight, the healer, whose combat strength was originally ordinary, was no match for this mysterious old man at the late stage of the Grandmaster realm. He was seriously injured and his foundation was damaged. In the end, he was defeated and left Yanjing in a sorry state, wandering around. Upon learning that the other party was a Grandmaster at the peak, the healer Ghost felt fear. "May I ask what business you have with me, Senior? If it is within my power, I will certainly serve you faithfully." The healer tried his best to keep his voice calm. Zhao Zilong calmly looked at the Ghost Doctor. "Ghost Doctor, I am very interested in your Ghost Doctor lineage's Ghost Gate Medical Canon. If you hand over the Ghost Gate Medical Canon, I might consider sparing your life. The Ghost Gate Medical Manual is a closely guarded secret of my Ghost Doctor lineage. Your request is far too unreasonable." The Ghost Doctor glared angrily at Zhao Zilong. The Ghost Gate Medical Canon is the foundation upon which his Ghost Doctor lineage stands and survives. If it were taken away by someone else, how could he face his ancestors in the afterlife? Want to steal the Ghost Gate Medical Manual? Dream on. Snap, snap, snap. Zhao Zilong grabbed the healer and slapped him several times on the buttocks, yelling, "Will you talk or not? Will you talk or not? You're not going to talk, are you?" Slap, 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 then a few more big slaps. Then Zhao Zilong punched the healer's dantian directly, and with a crack, the healer's lifelong cultivation of ghostly true energy dissipated instantly. Bang, bang, banged. The doctor's head made intimate contact with the rocks in the cave once again. I'll talk." The Dr. Ghost hurriedly begged for mercy. Zhao Zilong stopped what he was doing and dragged the doctor out of the cave. "Why didn't you just confess sooner? You're so old, why do you have to make yourself suffer?" The doctor was on the verge of tears. Where did this Grandmaster come from? He had no martial ethics whatsoever. He started to torture people without even speaking. How could anyone do this? "Master, Grandmaster, I didn't mean to betray our sect. I just couldn't bear it anymore. Tell me where the original copy of the Ghost Gate Medical Canon is. Be honest and don't try any tricks. I'll have someone verify its authenticity." It's below the outhouse of the thatched hut on the mountaintop," the Ghost Doctor said helplessly, revealing the whereabouts of the Ghost Gate Medical Manual. No sooner had he finished speaking than Zhao Zilong struck him with a palm, sending the doctor to his death. Before dying, the doctor's eyes widened. Didn't he say he was considering sparing his life? How was he going to proceed? Wasn't he afraid that what he just said was a lie? Several questions flashed through the doctor's mind, but he could no longer think. The power of a Grandmaster at his peak was simply too strong. With just one palm strike, his heart meridian was shattered. His internal organs were also shattered. His entire chest cavity caved in, his ribs were comminuted and broken, and his brain was also shattered by the force of the energy. Zhao Zilong smiled calmly. The interrogation just now was just to play around with the Dr. Ghost. He never considered letting the Dr. Ghost go, nor did he want to get the Ghost Gate Medical Manual from the Dr. Ghost. Given their deep-seated hatred, Zhao Zilong dared not believe the ghost doctor's nonsense. Underneath a latrine, there are most likely traps or deadly poisons. As for the Ghost Gate medical canon, if there really was an original copy, who would put something from our ancestors under a latrine? The lineage of the ghost doctor has been passed down for thousands of years, during which countless heroes and powerful figures have tried to seize its inheritance. But has anyone succeeded? No, no one has obtained the Ghost Gate medical canon in thousands of years. Zhao Zilong does not consider himself better than these people. If even these outstanding individuals could not obtain it, it would be strange if he could get it simply by beating them up. The medical classic of ghosts, haha. It would be best to get it, but I won't force it if I don't get Zhao Zilong. Having eliminated the hidden threat of the medical ghost, Zhao Zilong had achieved his goal. Chapter 39, The Heaven-Defying Su Yingsu. On the private jet, Zhao Zilong swirled the expensive red wine in his hand, his thoughts drifting to the system's online store. Real-time holographic positioning. 1,000 villain value, capable of real-time monitoring of the designated target's daily life, providing a 360-degree, no blind spot, close-up view, and real-time reception of the designated target's sound waves. Upon noticing this feature, Zhao Zilong's face twitched involuntarily. Damn, I lost 1,000. Real-time holographic positioning. Isn't this the same function that located Master Lin Yi before? System, isn't real-time holographic positioning only worth 1,000 villain points? Why did it cost me 2,000 villain points when I asked about Master Lin Yi's location? Ding, host, real-time holographic positioning requires knowing the target's name, and the target must be one the host has personally seen. Otherwise, additional villain value is needed for locking. Chen Zhou quickly offered an explanation. Zhao Zilong remained skeptical of the system's explanation. He had never met Lin Yi's master, but wasn't it a bit outrageous that 1,000 villain points would be used to search for an ordinary person? Chen Zhou did not explain further. In fact, the prices of some items had been balanced by Chen Zhou. The selling price that Zhao Zilong saw was actually what Chen Zhou wanted him, Zhao Zilong, to see. Zhao Zilong continued browsing the system's marketplace. Low-level invisibility talisman, 3,000 villain points, low-grade talisman, allows the user to become invisible for half an hour. Note: clothing and other items cannot be made invisible. Intermediate invisibility talisman, 10,000 villain points, a mid-grade talisman that allows the user to become invisible for 6 hours while carrying an initially held inanimate object. Note: living objects cannot become invisible with the user, but clothing, the weapon held at the start, etc. can. Advanced invisibility talisman, 50,000 villain points, high-quality talisman, allows the user to remain invisible for 3 days while carrying any spiritual item. Friendly reminder, can also make other people invisible. Special key, 3,000 villain points, capable of opening all locks including combination locks. Miracle spray, 6,000 villain points, can randomly change the form of items and creatures it sprays, lasting for 3 hours. Unbeknownst to him, the plane slowly came to a stop at Shanghai International Airport, and Zhao Zilong reluctantly exited the system mall. As expected of a system-run store, it has all sorts of random, flashy, and bizarre items, props, and skills. Unfortunately, his villain value was limited, and Zhao Zilong ultimately resisted the urge to buy. As soon as he got off the plane, Uncle Fu greeted him with a kind smile. "Young master, you're back." Zhao Zilong nodded and said, "Uncle Fu, let's go straight back to the Zhao family manor." "Yes, young master," Uncle Fu replied with a smile. The next morning, the first thing Zhao Zilong did upon waking was to use the dynamic plot prediction tool to check Lin Yi's recent plot events. Nothing within the last 2 days. Then, Zhao Zilong activated the real-time holographic positioning function that he had exchanged for with 1,000 villains the night before, and carefully checked Lin Yi's location, discovering that Lin Yi was still at the strange Doctor Mental Hospital. Lin Yi hasn't run away yet, probably because his Danshan hasn't recovered. Everything was as usual. After finishing breakfast, Zhao Zilong drove to the company. As the sole heir of the Zhao family, Zhao Zilong is extremely busy. He used to be a sycophant, working overtime until late at night every day. Although he is no longer a sycophant, he still needs to deal with Lin Yi and cannot relax for a moment. While Lin Yi was recuperating on the operating table at the strange Doctor Mental Hospital for the past 2 days, Zhao Zilong planned to catch up on the backlog of work. As soon as she got out of the car, Su Yingsu, looking haggard, shouted as she walked over quickly, "Zhao Zilong, why are you avoiding me?" Su Yingsu wasn't wearing makeup, and her originally beautiful face was somewhat pale. There were faint dark circles under her eyes, making it clear that she hadn't slept well for the past few days. Su Yingsu stared intently at Zhao Zilong, whose face was flushed, tears welling in her eyes, her voice choked with emotion. "Zhao Zilong, why have you been avoiding me these past 2 days?" Zhao Zilong looked at Su Yingsu indifferently, without a ripple in his heart, as if the person in front of him was a stranger. His tone was flat. "Miss Su, please don't flatter yourself. There is no connection between us, so why would you say that I am avoiding you?" Upon hearing these words, Su Yingsu felt a sudden pang of pain in her heart, as if she had lost something precious, and an indescribable sadness welled up inside her. Su Yingsu stared wide-eyed at Zhao Zilong in disbelief, her voice trembling slightly as she looked at him with heartache. "Zhao Zilong, why did you do this? Is our friendship worth nothing to you? Why did you destroy my dreams, destroy the Su family?" Su Yingsu practically screamed at the end. Su Yingsu's eyes were filled with pain and disappointment. She couldn't understand why the person who had been so good to her had become so cold and heartless. Su Yingsu couldn't understand. She hadn't done anything wrong, so why was Zhao Zilong suddenly treating her like this? Weren't they supposed to be friends? Why did he have to destroy her dream and the Su family's decades-old foundation? "Security!" Zhao Zilong quickly called for security. Zhao Zilong wasn't afraid that Su Yingsu would go crazy, but rather that he might lose his temper and slap her to death. The security guards, who had been watching the show, suddenly became serious and rushed over to restrain Su Yingsu. "Let me go, let me go, let me go!" Su Yingsu struggled frantically. The two security guards didn't budge. They were both Special Forces soldiers, and Su Yingsu's resistance was no different from tickling them. Unable to resist, Su Yingsu's struggles gradually ceased. Her disheveled hair fluttered in the wind as if she had been subjected to some kind of treatment. "Zhao Zilong, why are you treating me like this? Why did you do this to me? Why did you destroy my dream?" Zhao Zilong sneered. "Su Yingsu, who do you think you are? With your Su family's paltry fortune, why do you think others should give way to you? What makes you think your garbage cosmetics, with no brand recognition whatsoever, can enter the high-end market and occupy the best store in Changsheng department store? With your meager profits, is it enough to cover the rent? Give me back the dream you destroyed. You don't even deserve it. I merely terminated the cooperation, and your lousy company fell apart. Think about whose fault this is. As for the Su family, we're all in the real estate industry. What gives you the right to demand that others not compete fairly? Don't you even look at what your Su family is up to? Cutting corners, violently demolishing buildings, defaulting on wages. Did I do those things? But you can't target the Su family like this. Do you know that because of you, the Su family is almost bankrupt?" Su Yingsu looked at Zhao Zilong with a wronged expression, as if it were Zhao Zilong's fault for targeting the Su family. Zhao Zilong chuckled speechlessly, walked up to Su Yingsu, leaned down and threatened, "Su Yingsu, I never owe you anything. Consider the things I gave you before as feeding the dogs. I blame myself for being blind. As for you, get as far away from me as possible. If you bother me again, I wouldn't mind making sure you spend the rest of your life in a mental hospital." There's no point in saying more about Su Yingsu's unconventional way of thinking. As for the Su family, don't think he doesn't know how much they've stolen using his name over the years. His reputation isn't something you can just borrow so easily. Chapter 40, you have a system too, right? A crisp knock came from the door of the CEO's office. "Please come in," Zhao Zilong said without even looking up from his desk. Squeak Tilda, Secretary Liu, opened the door, walked to Zhao Zilong's side with a strange expression, and whispered, "Boss, there is a woman downstairs looking for you. She said your mother sent her to see you." Just then Zhao Zilong's cell phone, which was on the table, rang. He opened it and saw, "Damn it. Damn it, just what I feared has come true." Zhao Zilong answered the phone, and before he could even speak, his mother's voice came through. "Zilong, the marriage that your maternal grandfather arranged for you has been settled. The girl's name is Chu Kishwang, and she is the granddaughter of your maternal grandfather's friend. She happens to be traveling in Shanghai right now. Take some time to meet her, and I'll give you her contact information right away." After saying that, Zhao's mother hung up the phone immediately, and with a ding, a new message popped up on her phone. "What is this? A blind date? So fast?" Zhao Zilong stared blankly at his phone, pondering. "Chu Kishwang, I've never heard of this name before. This character doesn't appear in Linya's storyline. Very well, let's meet first and then talk," Zhao Zilong decided in his heart. "Secretary Liu," Zhao Zilong began to speak, but then suddenly realized that it was not appropriate to have Secretary Liu go down to greet him. He should go himself. "Never mind, I'll go down myself." As he spoke, Zhao Zilong stood up and quickly straightened his clothes to make sure he looked neat and presentable. Stepping out of the CEO's office, I took the private elevator and quickly arrived at the first floor. A pretty girl was leisurely lying on a massage chair in the lobby on the first floor, playing on her phone. Upon seeing Zhao Zilong, the girl quickly stood up, extended her slender white fingers and introduced herself with a smile. "Hello, I am Chu Kishwang, your blind date." The widow of Chu Ci possessed a beauty that rivaled that of many heroines with extraordinary luck, and her temperament gave off an ethereal and otherworldly aura. She wore an ancient amber pendant around her snow-white neck, clearly not an ordinary item. Zhao Zilong was taken aback, then quickly reached out and grasped her hand tightly, smiling as he said, "Hello, I am Zhao Zilong. Miss Chu, how about we go for a walk in the nearby park?" Chu Ci smiled and shook her head. "No need. I just came to see who you are. You can continue with your work. I won't bother you." Her main purpose in coming today was to verify Zhao Zilong's background. Chu Ci's widow is a leading figure in the computer industry in the Dragon Kingdom. She knows Zhao Zilong better than anyone else. The intelligence she gathered indicated that Zhao Zilong was just an ordinary person a week ago, but suddenly revealed his peak cultivation level on the day of the Yi family incident. Yesterday, he went to a remote mountain in the west for some unknown reason. Just as they shook hands, Chu Kishwang was surprised to find that Zhao Zilong was also a grandmaster at the peak of his level. Zhao Zilong is a very unusual person, and he is clearly hiding some secret. Chu Kishwang suspects that Zhao Zilong may also be a system-bound person. In particular, Zhao Zilong's targeting of a guy named Lin made Chu Kishwang even more certain that Zhao Zilong was also a system owner. If this judgment is correct, then her system can be saved. Although her system was terrible, it was a companion that had grown up with her, and no matter how difficult it was, she had to give it a try. Chu Kishwang knew this approach was dangerous, but she had no choice. She had tried every method available, but she simply couldn't infuse that weak system with energy. Without energy, her system will perish. This is an indisputable fact. In order to save the super genius system, Chu Kishwang chose to take a risk and come to Shanghai to meet Zhao Zilong. Zhao Zilong was somewhat surprised, feeling that Chu Kishwang was acting strangely, as if she had ulterior motives. The problem is, he doesn't have anything that Chu Kishwang would covet. His grandfather's friends are all important figures in the Dragon Kingdom, and they don't lack anything. The behavior of the widow and the Chu Ci is suspicious, highly suspicious. Chen Zhou glanced at Zhao Zilong and thought to himself, this kid is quite alert. Chu Kishwang is indeed plotting something. A special mission came uninvited. Bringing back the wild system is a special mission assigned by the Time and Space Administration. The mission reward is very generous, a full 200 origin points, which is even more generous than the reward for the main mission. The higher-ups are really rich and powerful, giving so much for taking back free labor. Nice. Switching to this unknown system requires 10 origin points, which is quite an expense, but it's worth it compared to the rewards. I could devise a plan to recoup some of my losses from this cheap host. Back upstairs, Zhao Zilong absent-mindedly looked at the documents. The suspicion that Chu Kishwang was definitely involved lingering in his mind. But what exactly is it? It can't be a system, can it? If she had a system too, then it wouldn't make sense for her to come looking for me. Zhao Zilong understood the principle that kings should not meet. If the other party had a system, then the two systems would certainly not easily clash. Unless one side is strong and the other is weak. If one side is strong and the other is weak, the weaker side will definitely not dare to approach the stronger side. Otherwise, it will be a crushing defeat. Zhao Zilong shook his head, completely dispelling his speculation that Chu Ci was bound to the system. If it's not a system, then why did Chu Ci's widow come all the way to Shanghai to find him? Given his previous reputation as a simp, surely Chu Kishwang wouldn't be so desperate as to be indiscriminate in her pursuit of anyone. Zhao Zilong racked his brains, but still couldn't figure out why Chu Ci's widow had taken the initiative to come to him. Meanwhile, Chu Ci, the widow, was nervously observing Zhao Zilong's subtle facial expressions. I hope this guy doesn't realize I'm acting strange. Come to think of it, I acted so strangely just now. If I were in their shoes, I would also suspect that the other party had ulterior motives. However, he doesn't seem to know that I have a system. Is it that he doesn't have a system, or that his system hasn't told him I have one? If Zhao Zilong didn't have a system, then his sudden increase in cultivation level wouldn't make sense. If Zhao Zilong did have a system, then why didn't his system tell him that it also had a system? Could it be that Zhao Zilong possessed another body? No, Zhao Zilong couldn't have possessed someone else's body. If he had, he wouldn't have come to work in person. If it were truly an old monster possessing someone's body, Zhao Zilong would never target a complete stranger he had never met before. Even if they were adversaries, he would have slapped the other person to death long ago. What should I do? Suddenly, Chu Kishwang had a flash of insight. She needed Zhao Zilong's help not to scheme against him. Why was she playing guessing games? This makes absolutely no sense. Realizing the crux of the matter, Chu Kishwang gently rose, walked quietly to Zhao Zilong's side, and whispered, "Zhao Zilong, you have a system too, right?" Zhao Zilong jumped up with a whoosh, his head passing right through the ceiling and getting stuck there. Tilda, Chu Kishwang couldn't help but laugh. Chapter 41, Alternative Cultivators. Giggle. A crisp laugh echoed through the office. Zhao Zilong's face was grim. Have you laughed enough? However, he was met with the same cheerful laughter, like a joyful lark that refused to stop. Giggle, giggle. Chu Kishwang laughed so hard she was doubled over, unable to stop. Zhao Zilong shook his head helplessly, the black lines on his forehead becoming more and more obvious. Zhao Zilong sat there quietly, and as time passed, Chu Kishwang's laughter gradually subsided. She slowly raised her head, her eyes still sparkling with a bright smile. Zhao Zilong took a deep breath, trying his best to remain calm. Chu Kishwang, what is your purpose in coming to see me? Chu Kishwang took a deep breath, composed herself, and said sincerely, "When I was 6 years old, I was bound to a super genius system. But when I was 16, the system's energy was exhausted and it fell into a deep sleep. Over the years, I have been searching for ways to awaken the super genius system, but unfortunately, I have not succeeded. The reason I found you is simple. I wanted to try and see if I could use your system to wake up my own." "How can you be so sure I have a system?" Zhao Zilong looked calmly at Chu Ci's widow. Chu Kishwang smiled slightly and explained, "Anyone who is interested in investigating your behavior lately can easily find something strange about it." Zhao Zilong nodded slightly. He understood what Chu Kishwang was saying, but it was unavoidable. The only way was to keep making himself stronger so that some people would back down. Chu Kishwang seemed to see through his thoughts and continued, "However, the system will impose a law mechanism called System Cognitive Impairment on the bound user. This mechanism will subtly influence the judgment of the judge and protect the safety of the system owner. But you don't need to worry. Only the system owner in this world is immune to this law barrier. If you're unlucky enough to encounter another system, then you can only take it one step at a time." Chu Kishwang smiled calmly. She came to find Zhao Zilong with the worst-case scenario in mind, having already prepared a backup plan. Even if the negotiations failed, Zhao Zilong wouldn't be able to touch her. The only thing she couldn't guarantee was the safety of the super genius system. However, given that the super genius system is already like that, it can't be much worse, so why not take a gamble? Upon hearing this, Zhao Zilong was startled. He hadn't expected that the binding system had such intricacies. "System, is what she said true?" Zhao Zilong asked the Destiny Villain system. "Host, yes. System, why didn't you tell me sooner?" "You didn't ask, /Japanese letter /." Zhao Zilong, What is her strength? A half-step foundation establishment cultivator, an unconventional cultivator. An unorthodox cultivator? Zhao Zilong was shocked. What's so surprising about that? If you lack spiritual energy, you can choose other paths. Chu Ci, the widow, cultivates the power of mountains, rivers, lakes, and seas, which is permitted in this world. Upon hearing the system's explanation, Zhao Zilong instantly became excited. "Then can I cultivate too?" "Yes, but considering the luck of the chosen one, your villain points can only be exchanged for cultivation techniques. You'll need to cultivate them yourself." Chen Zhou did not refuse. He had plenty of cultivation techniques in his database, including Heavenly Dragon Heart Method, Burning Technique, Devouring Heaven Demon Art, Great Transformation Freedom Method, 36 Heavenly Gang Techniques, and so on. However, this knowledge should not be easily passed on. Otherwise, if problems arise, you will be held accountable. I'll have to cultivate it myself." Upon hearing that he needed to cultivate it himself, Zhao Zilong's confidence immediately plummeted. He knew his own talent. He had tried martial arts when he was young, but his talent was only average, so he gave up. "If you want to, go accumulate villain points. If not, then forget it." Yes, I want it," Zhao Zilong quickly agreed. "By the way, system, could you repair Chu Ci's widow's system?" "Yes, but you need 390,000 villain points. It's up to you. This system doesn't require it." Chen Zhou suddenly felt playful. and wanted to see what Zhao Zilong would choose. This, Zhao Zilong hesitated. His 390,000 villain points were almost all he had. This amount of money was the key to his exchange for an alternative cultivation technique. If he used it to save Chu Ci's widow's system, he wouldn't be able to exchange for the technique. To save or not to save, this is a very difficult decision. Chu Ci's widowhood has nothing to do with me, so I might as well just refuse. Zhao Zilong sighed inwardly, deciding to ignore Chu Ci's widowhood. Just as Zhao Zilong was about to refuse, Chu Kishwang spoke first. Zhao Zilong, I know my request is a bit unreasonable. I promise that if you agree to help me, I will share everything I obtain with you, including my cultivation technique, the land and mountains. This, hearing Chu Ci's widow's assurance, Zhao Zilong's resolve wavered again. The land and mountains, is this the cultivation method practiced by the widow in the Chu Ci? Should I agree or not? 390,000 villain points can be exchanged for an alternative cultivation method, and helping Chu Ci's widow will also grant you an alternative cultivation method. All right, in the end, Zhao Zilong decided to help Chu Kishwang save the super genius system. Thank you, Chu Kishwang said excitedly. Zhao Zilong waved his hand and looked at Chu Kishwang with a serious expression. However, you still need to promise me one thing. Upon hearing this, Chu Kishwang felt a pang of doubt, but she still answered earnestly. As long as it doesn't violate my principles or the greater good of the nation, I can agree to anything you ask for. Chu Kishwang never made promises lightly, so she emphasized this point. I want you to be my girlfriend, Zhao Zilong stated confidently. He's just an ordinary person now, and he won't endlessly fawn over Chu Ci's widow just because she's beautiful. Chu Kishwang was taken aback. Okay, but we need to build up our relationship first. What do you say, boyfriend? She came under the pretext of a blind date, and Chu Kishwang didn't seem to mind the request. She knew Zhao Zilong's past very well. Apart from his foolish attempt to woo that woman named Su Yingsu a few years ago, Zhao Zilong perfectly met her criteria for a partner. All right, Zhao Zilong had no objection to Chu Ci's request. When two people meet for the first time, their feelings definitely need to be nurtured. Zhao Zilong was also very confident in himself. With his charm, it was not difficult for him to spark a romance with Chu Ci's widow. After establishing a preliminary relationship, Zhao Zilong immediately asked the main villain of Destiny, System, can I tell Chu Kishwang about my mission? Ding, okay. Chen Zhou did not object. Chu Ci's widow knew of his existence and belonged to the same camp, so revealing some information was not a problem. After receiving a reply from the Destiny villain system, Zhao Zilong briefly told Chu Kishwang about his situation. Upon learning that Zhao Zilong was bound to a system called the Destiny Villain System, Chu Kishwang's expression was somewhat puzzled. Villain, chosen one? Then what category does she belong to? Using cheats. Chapter 42, how about we go and kill Linya right now? Chu Kishwang frowned and pondered for a long time before slowly sorting out the cause and effect of the whole matter. Zhao Zilong, in other words, you are the villain, and that person named Lin Yi is the so-called Chosen One. Your system mission is to destroy the Chosen One's opportunity and seize the destiny. Zhao Zilong nodded, yes. The Sichuan opera face, changing performance by Chu Ci's widow, was quite adorable. And what about me? Chu Kishwang raised her head, her gaze fixed intently on Zhao Zilong. And what about me? What role do I play in this? Chu Kishwang was deeply interested in the story Zhao Zilong was telling. Zhao Zilong smiled, a sly glint in his eyes. You, of course you're my subordinate. Zhao Zilong deliberately made up a story to see how Chu Kishwang would react. Chu Ci's widow crossed her arms and looked calmly at Zhao Zilong, as if to say, I'm giving you another chance to reorganize. Zhao Zilong immediately admitted defeat and quickly explained, no, you're not in the entire story. After hearing Zhao Zilong's explanation, Chu Kishwang's angry expression slowly disappeared, turning into a faint disappointment. But thinking about it, it makes sense. Even in the later stages of the story, she could easily kill a brainless idiot like Lin Yi. Luck. At most, it would only ensure that Lin Yi, doesn't die. Why don't we go and kill Lin Yi right now? Chu Kishwang suddenly suggested. Zhao Zilong quickly pressed down on Chu Kishwang. Kishwang, it's not time yet. If the luck of the Chosen One doesn't drop below 1/10 of the total luck, forcibly killing him will result in a loss of villain value, leading to insufficient villain value in the end. I see, Chu Kishwang said helplessly. These restrictions were truly awful. So how many villain points do we still need? We're still short 290,000 villain points, and Linye has 29,000 luck points left, which is exactly the 290,000 villain points, Zhao Zilong patiently explained. To revive the super genius system, a total of 390,000 villain points are needed. Zhao Zilong has 104,000 villain points, and Linye has 29,000 luck points left, which is 290,000 villain points. Not a single one can be less. If it weren't for the sake of luck, she would have loved to go over there right now and slap Linye to death, killing anyone who gets in her way. Hearing her boyfriend's patient explanation, Chu Kishwang gradually calmed down. Zilong, what are your plans for the future? Meanwhile, Dr. Strange brought Rhubarb to the operating table once again. What are you trying to do now? Linye screamed in terror. During these 2.5 days, Linye experienced a terrifying ordeal, all of which was inextricably linked to the man in front of him called Dr. Strange. This person filled Linye with both fear and hatred. Linye was filled with fear and hatred towards the strange doctor, who cruelly murdered his second brother and a kidney. Whenever Linye recalls these scenes, a deep sense of fear wells up in his heart. Along with this came Linye's intense and boundless hatred for the eccentric doctor, a hatred so intense he wished he could tear him to pieces. Linye vowed that he would avenge his second brother and make Dr. Strange pay the price. Linye, I won't do anything to you today. I just came here specifically to tell you the truth, so you can die knowing the truth. The eccentric doctor's sinister eyes stared at Linye. Linye, of all people to offend, you had to offend our young lady and injure one of her people. Coming to our young lady's territory to cause trouble, you have no sense of right or wrong. Oh, right, remember the injection I gave you yesterday morning. I'm telling you now, that needle had the blood of an HIV patient on it. Enjoy your time from now on, hehe tilde. After saying that, the eccentric doctor laughed and left the operating room, locking the door behind him and making a quick getaway. This is so exciting. It's incredibly exciting. Treating a martial artist at the transcendent realm like this is something he never even dared to dream of before. If Zhao Shao hadn't told him that Linye would recover his cultivation in 2.5 days, he would have wanted to play with Linye for a few more days. However, 2.5 days was enough. Witnessing the powerful vitality of a martial artist at the transcendent realm firsthand made this life worthwhile. At the same time, Linye gritted his teeth, pulled out the steel needle from his left waist, and angrily smashed the special glass door of the operating room. Hiss! I used too much force, and the wound on my kidney reopened. Huff huff, Linye gasped in pain, panting heavily. His face was as white as paper, and he was covered in cold sweat. You witch-foot bath heiress, Linye will make you pay for this in blood. Linye swore through gritted teeth. Linye struggled to raise his only hand, which he could barely move, and used his Xuan Yang Tru Qi to temporarily seal the bleeding wound to prevent excessive blood loss. Then Linye continued to lie on the operating table and began to heal his injuries by circulating his internal energy. After 2.5 days of hard work, his Danshan had already recovered completely, and there were even faint signs of a breakthrough. No destruction, no construction. Misfortune turned into blessing, but unfortunately, Linye couldn't be happy at all. Using someone else to do your dirty work? A slight smile appeared on Chu Siai's lips. Aren't you afraid? Zhao Zilong looked at Chu Siai's widow with suspicion. This is nothing. The stuff I've seen before was way more exciting than this, Chu Kishwang replied casually, as if nothing had happened. She is the pinnacle of human computer science, at least in the public eye. The internet holds no secrets from her. Over the years, she has seen it all in her search for a way to revive the system. Linye's experiences over the past few days are utterly insignificant to Chu Siai's widowhood. Zhao Zilong chuckled awkwardly and blurted out, Then you haven't been spying on me, have you? Chu Kishwang rolled her eyes at Zhao Zilong speechlessly and said frankly, I didn't see it. Zhao Zilong was utterly shocked. You mean you read it? Chu Siai nodded seriously. The artificial intelligence I secretly set up before detected your abnormality, so I investigated you. Chu Kishwang paused, then added, including what happened a few days ago when you went to a hotel. I won't hold this against you, but you better behave yourself from now on and stop fooling around outside. If I want to investigate you, I can't hide it from you. Zhao Zilong wiped the sweat from his forehead and thought to himself, luckily, this woman only found out this much. Oh, and there's also the matter of someone wetting the bed when they were 8 years old. Chu Kishwang smiled teasingly at Zhao Zilong. Chu Kishwang, I'll fight you to the death. Zhao Zilong lunged at Chu Kishwang in a fit of rage. What are you doing? Chu Kishwang immediately resisted. 30 seconds later, Chu Kishwang pinned Zhao Zilong down. So what if I saw a little bit of your little secret? I won't tell anyone. I'll make it up to you later. After saying that, Chu Ci released Zhao Zilong and began to tidy her hair, which Zhao Zilong had messed up. The two joked around, but neither of them actually fought. They simply compared strength, and Zhao Zilong suffered a crushing defeat. Chen Zhou shook his head. This host is really incompetent. It seems like he's in for a tough time from now on. However, because the two broke the computer during their playful fight, Lin Yu was temporarily out of sight, and his situation was automatically transferred to the artificial intelligence monitoring system created by Chu Qishuang. Chu Ci, you just wait. One day, I'll make you kneel down and beg for mercy in front of me. Really, I'll wait and see. Maybe someone won't be able to get it up then. Chu Qishuang looked at Zhao Zilong provocatively. Chapter 43, Using a Borrowed Knife to Kill. Shen Yefei. Lin Yu put down the newspaper in his hand, his face contorted with rage, his eyes blazing with murderous intent. Enraged, Lin Yu slammed his palm down, and with a loud crack, the entire desk shattered into pieces. Lin Yu stood there with a gloomy expression. He had scouted the area beforehand and found that there was no one on this floor. It was late at night, and no one would wander around on this floor. Lin Yu searched through his belongings, but found nothing of use. Little did he know that his actions were under the constant surveillance of the artificial intelligence scholar. Under the cover of night, Lin Yu secretly escaped from the strange doctor mental hospital, hijacked a car, and sped away. The following afternoon, Lin Yu successfully sneaked into Shen Yefei's villa using the address information he found in the dean's office. Beep beep, the AI scholar immediately issued a warning the moment Shen Yefei returned to the villa. Upon receiving the notification, Zhao Zilong immediately activated real-time holographic positioning, instantly switching his view to Lin Yu's third-person perspective. Lin Yu sat on Shen Yefei's bed with his eyes closed, as if waiting for Shen Yefei's return. About 3 minutes later, the door lock made a crisp sound. The door opened. Suddenly, a dark shadow struck Shen Yefei's lower abdomen like a ghost. The intense pain caused Shen Yefei to curl up on the ground, and she couldn't help but squeeze out a few crystal tears from the corners of her eyes. Lin Yu, enraged, kicked Shen Yefei hard, sending her sprawling to the stairwell. The loud noise quickly alerted Shen Yefei's bodyguards, who rushed over, their faces showing shock. A guy with a few tattered rags hanging from his body was standing at the door of the young lady's room, while their young lady, Shen Yefei, was curled up in pain at their feet, looking extremely disheveled. Who goes there? The leading martial artist looked at Lin Yu with a stern expression. Lin Yu stood quietly at the doorway, radiating a chilling killing intent that made everyone feel an inexplicable pressure. The leading martial artist was none other than the man who had guided Zhao Zilong a few days ago, a man at the early stage of internal strength. The man picked up Shen Yefei from the ground and found that she was seriously injured, with blood seeping from her private parts. He roared angrily, "How dare he assassinate our young lady? All of you get him, kill him." Upon receiving the order, the bodyguards behind him rushed out from the stairs, their faces filled with murderous intent as they charged towards Lin Yu. "Young miss, hold on. I'll take you to the hospital right away," the man with hidden strength shouted anxiously. Bang, bang, smack. In just a few exchanges, Lin Yu knocked all the martial arts bodyguards to the ground, where they lay in agony, their cries of pain echoing across the scene. Seeing how powerful the other party was, the man with hidden strength immediately picked up Shen Yefei and ran out the door. The man with hidden strength choked with emotion. "A Transcendent Realm martial artist? This guy is a Transcendent Realm martial artist. We must ask our family for help." Cold sweat poured down his body, and he dared not slacken his pace in the slightest. If he can't rescue the young lady, the Shen family will never let him off the hook. The man with internal energy was running very fast, but Lin Yu was even faster. In just a few dozen seconds, Lin Yu, having dealt with the bodyguard, blocked the man's path. The man with hidden strength immediately stopped, barely managing to hold Miss Shen on his body with one hand, while quickly taking out a specially made sand sculpture eagle from his waist with the other. Bang, bang, bangs. Shock-piercing rounds rained down on Lin Yu, emptying his magazine. Lin Yu dodged repeatedly, but 2 shock-piercing bullets still hit his thighs. The powerful shock-piercing force penetrated Lin Yu's protective true chi, leaving 2 deep wounds on his thighs. How is this possible? The man with internal energy stared at Lin Yu in horror. This is a specially made weapon designed to deal with martial artists. It can shatter an elephant's entire head with a single shot and easily create a large hole in an ordinary tank. Unexpectedly, it only left 2 thumb-sized wounds on the opponent. Put me down. Shen Yefei's weakened voice came from behind. The man with hidden strength obeyed the order and put Shen Yefei down. He steeled himself and stood in front of Shen Yefei, a resolute glint in his eyes. "Miss, I'll hold him off. You run." Shen Yefei forced a bitter smile onto her pale, A4-sized face. The intense pain in her lower abdomen left her without the strength to even stand up, let alone run away. Shen Yefei slowly shook her head, her eyes fixed fiercely on Lin Yi. "I know the person you want to kill is me. He is innocent. Let him go." "Young miss, you." The man with the hidden strength turned his head in shock. Bang! Lin Yi's punch pierced through the chest of the man with hidden strength, and the powerful true energy instantly shattered the man's heart meridian. "He's dead." "Enough with the nonsense," Lin Yi said expressionlessly, casually tossing the man with hidden strength aside. He slowly walked up to Shen Yefei, lifted her delicate, pale chin, and said, "Miss Shen, you didn't expect this, did you? Lin Yi is back." With that, Lin Yi grabbed Shen Yefei's hair and slowly walked towards her room, leaving a trail of blood on the floor. Soon after, a blood-curdling scream echoed from the room, lingering for a long time before fading away. A day later, the Shen family was furious and issued a threatening statement. "Whoever can capture or kill Lin Yi will receive 1 billion Dragon Kingdom coins and become a guest elder of the Shen family. Anyone who provides useful clues can go to the Shen family to receive between 100,000 and 10 million Dragon Kingdom coins, depending on the value of the information." This news caused an uproar throughout Shanghai, shook the martial arts world of China, and even attracted martial artists from overseas who flocked to China to seek rewards from the Shen family. The mayor of Shanghai was shocked by the Shen family's madness and urgently dispatched a division to quell the situation, issuing the highest arrest warrant. The entire Shanghai Law Enforcement Bureau and Counter-Terrorism Bureau were mobilized. Ding, the host interfered, causing the Chosen One, Lin Yi, to brutally murder the chosen heroine, Shen Yefei. This made Lin Yi a mortal enemy of the Shen family, and he is wanted by the Dragon Kingdom, losing any chance of a comeback. 10,000 of Lin Yi's luck points are deducted, and the host gains 100,000 villain points. Ding, the Chosen One has become a wanted criminal in the Dragon Kingdom, hated by everyone, completely losing any chance to turn things around. His relationships with all the female leads are broken. 7,000 of Lin Yi's luck points have been deducted, and the host has gained 70,000 villain points. Zhao Zilong's plan to use someone else to kill him succeeded, and Lin Yi instantly became a rat in the street, hated by everyone. "Zilong, how much luck value does Lin Yi have left?" Chu Kishwang asked seriously. Zhao Zilong honestly replied, "There are still 12,000 left. We haven't reached the kill threshold yet, so it's not the right time." Chu Ci nodded. There were still 12,000 luck points left. It seemed like it was time to give Lin Yi a boost. Chu Kishwang opened her newly purchased laptop, her slender fingers dancing across the keyboard at an incredible speed, quickly pinpointing Lin Yi's approximate location. Lin Yi hid in an abandoned factory in a remote part of the old city of Shanghai. It turned out that after taking revenge on Shen Yefei, Lin Yi, having calmed down, immediately used his disguise skills to change his appearance and hid in an abandoned factory in the west of the old city. The factory had been abandoned for decades, with no one living nearby and all the surveillance cameras broken. Chu Kishwang used big data comparison to hack into multiple systems and satellite systems before she was able to locate Lin Yi's hiding place. However, the factory was very large, and the monitoring system inside had long been removed, so Chu Kishwang could not pinpoint Lin Yi's exact location. After discussing it with Zhao Zilong, Chu Kishwang anonymously sent Lin Yi's location information to the Shen family. After the Shen family checked and confirmed that it was correct, they transferred 20 million to the account designated by Chu Kishwang. Chapter 44. The Shen family suffers heavy losses. Upon learning of Lin Yi's location, the Shen family decisively dispatched 3 Grandmaster-level martial artists and 16 Transcendent-level martial artists, who angrily rushed to Lin Yi's hiding place. As soon as the Shen family took action, the Shanghai authorities, who had been closely monitoring their movements, received the news. Inside the mayor's office, a secretary rushed in. "Mayor, the Shen family has made their move." Upon hearing this, the mayor of Shanghai excitedly stood up from his chair. So they're finally starting to take action. Next, the mayor of Shanghai gave his secretary an order. "Immediately notify the surveillance personnel to keep a close eye on the Shen family's every move. If there is any unusual activity, they must report to me immediately." The secretary nodded and replied, "Received." Then she turned and left the office to carry out her mission. As the mayor of Shanghai watched his secretary's departing figure, he secretly pondered the Shen family's next move. He knew that the Shen family's actions would inevitably trigger a series of chain reactions, and he had to make overall arrangements to ensure the safety of life and property of every citizen of Shanghai. They can turn a blind eye to things in the martial arts world, but they absolutely cannot allow ordinary people to be affected. That's their bottom line. About half an hour later, the secretary walked in quickly again. Mayor, the Shen family members have headed towards the outskirts of the old city. The outskirts of the old city. The mayor of Shanghai tapped the table and analyzed. It's that abandoned factory on the west side of the old city, right? There's no one there, let them cause trouble. Mayor's insight is brilliant, the secretary praised respectfully. The mayor of Shanghai nodded. Notify the martial arts management department and have them keep an eye on things from a distance with their weapons, so those guys don't cause any big trouble. The secretary quickly replied, "Yes, Mayor." After saying that, the secretary hurried out of the mayor's office. Meanwhile, the Shen family's group arrived near the abandoned factory. Remember, that little bastard Lin Yi is at the Transcendent Realm. Transcendent Realm martial artists should form groups of 3 and not get separated, lest they be picked off one by one of the Shen family grandmasters solemnly commanded. Everyone nodded in agreement. They knew that the enemy they were facing this time was not an ordinary martial artist, but a master at the Transcendent Realm. They did not know the specific level of the master, so they had to deal with it with caution. The Shen family master took out a factory map and divided the search areas for the 5 teams of martial arts masters at the Transcendent Realm, emphasizing the details of the mission. Once the Transcendent Realm martial artist team entered the factory, the 3 grandmasters each formed a team and chose a direction to advance. In the factory, Lin Yi seized every available moment to consolidate his cultivation. He still had another enemy, Zhao Zilong, the sole heir of the #1 family in Shanghai. Zhao Zilong is at the peak of the Transcendent Realm, one of the smaller realms above him, and he also possesses a mysterious hidden weapon capable of instantly rendering Transcendent Realm martial artists unconscious, making him extremely dangerous. The news that he killed the eldest daughter of the Shen family yesterday has been exposed, and Zhao Zilong will definitely be on high alert. However, he doesn't plan to take action anytime soon, and it won't affect him even if Zhao Zilong brings a Grandmaster-level bodyguard. When his cultivation reaches the peak of the Transcendent Realm, that will be the time for revenge. By then, Zhao Zilong will have lowered his guard, and he can use his secret technique to kill him in one blow and avenge his great grudge. The only problem now is the Shen family's pursuit, but he chose a deserted and extremely secluded place. Even if the Shen family racked their brains, they would never have imagined that he would hide in such a place. Suddenly, Lin Yi heard a loud crash. It was the trap he had carefully set. Lin Yi realized that someone had arrived. "I told you to be careful, but you didn't listen. Now you've gotten hit," a martial artist in the early stages of the transformation realm complained. They couldn't even dodge such a huge steel plate. They must have no brains at all. "All right, Gangzi, say less. Let's work together to get Sanzi out first," said Shen Kun, another martial artist at the Transcendent Realm with a buzz cut, trying to smooth things over. Yes, Gangzi, Kun too is right. Get me out of here first. This steel plate is pressing down on me so much I can hardly breathe." Shen Gang snorted coldly and stopped complaining. Together with Shen Kun, they lifted the more than 1-ton steel plate that was pressing down on Shen San. Feeling the pressure on his body ease, Shen San quickly climbed out. A loud bang rang out. The steel plate fell heavily back to the ground, scattering dust everywhere. "I'm exhausted. This steel plate must weigh at least a ton." Shen San gasped for breath and collapsed onto the ground. "It should be there. This is just too heavy and it's hard to exert any force." "It's exhausting," Shen Kun echoed. "Luckily, there was a rock nearby that helped you absorb the pressure. Otherwise, you would have been seriously injured, if not killed." As he spoke, Shen Gang glanced at the cracked rock next to where Shen San had been standing. Shen San nodded with a hint of relief. "That's true. If it weren't for this stone, I would have really gone to heaven this time without any warning." "Someone like you is more suited for hell," Shen Kun joked. Pa, can't you say something auspicious? You're the one going to hell," Shen San retorted, not to be outdone. Suddenly, Shen Gang felt a chill in his chrysanthemum and quickly rolled to the left, barely dodging Lin Yi's deadly sneak attack. The iron nail pierced Shen San's heart in an instant, shattering his heart meridians. In the end, Shen San fulfilled his own words and went to hell. Whoosh, 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 tilde. Several more iron nails flew over. and Shen Gang and Shen Kun dodged them one by one. But unfortunately, Shen Kun made a mistake and failed to dodge, and was killed by an iron nail that pierced his head. Although Shen Gang was not hit in vital areas, he still suffered several serious injuries. At this moment, Lin Yi appeared behind Gangzi and wiped out Gangzi's entire squad with a single kick. They arrived so quickly, how did they find me? Lin Yi looked into the distance in confusion. Lin Yi frowned, his mind filled with doubt. How exactly did these people find him? But at this moment, he had no time to think deeply. His immediate priority was to wipe these people out in one fell swoop. If you dare to hunt me down, then be prepared to be killed. A ruthless glint flashed in Lin Yi's eyes. Before long, Lin Yi swiftly wiped out 2 more 3-person teams and 1 4-person team. Including Gangzi's team from the beginning, Lin Yi killed a total of 13 Transcendent Realm martial artists from the Shen family. 13 Transcendent Realm martial artists are a huge loss, even for a large family like the Shen family. Damn it, damn it. This damned little beast is so vicious. He actually killed 13 Transcendent Realm experts from my Shen family. I will tear him to pieces, to vent my hatred. Grandmaster Shen roared furiously. Brother Shen, calm down, calm down. The Grandmaster, invited by the Shen family, quickly tried to persuade him. Calm down? How can you expect me to calm down? These are 13 Transcendent Realm martial artists. My Shen family only has a little over 20 Transcendent Realm experts in total, and now more than half of them are dead. How can you expect me to calm down? The Shen family Grandmaster roared angrily, his voice deafening, as if it could tear the entire world apart. His eyes revealed boundless rage. These Transcendent Realm martial artists were the elite of the Shen family, the pillars of the clan. To lose so many of them at once was undoubtedly a disaster for the Shen family. The Grandmaster, invited by the Shen family, sighed. He understood the feelings of the Shen family's Grandmaster, but at this moment, they needed to calmly consider what to do next. Brother Shen, what Brother Wang said makes sense. Now that those younger generations are gone, there's no point in us being angry. The best course of action now is to remain calm and find a way to kill that little beast Lin Yi as soon as possible, and use his blood to appease the spirits of these younger generations in heaven. Meanwhile, the Shen family's revered master stepped forward to advise them. Upon hearing the words of the Shen family's Grandmaster, the Grandmaster clearly calmed down and sighed. I know that anger can't solve anything, but the thought of those Shen family members and loyal younger generations dying tragically makes my heart bleed. I have let down the head of the family, I have let down the clan, and most importantly, I have let down the families of those children. As he spoke, the Shen family master deliberately squeezed out 2 crocodile tears. The other 2 Grandmasters, knowing each other's intentions, quickly said a few kind words to comfort the Shen family Grandmaster, and gave each other a way out. With such a huge loss, they all bear some responsibility, especially the Shen family master who led the team. The Shen family sent him out with 16 juniors, and he almost wiped them all out. It would be strange if he didn't get a beating when he got back. Although the responsibility of the Shen family's Grandmaster is not great, so many juniors died under his nose. As an outsider, what do the Shen family members think of him? Even if they don't blame him on the surface, their attitude towards him will definitely plummet. If they don't put on a show of respect at work, they'll be sitting on the sidelines when they get back. The only one who wasn't affected was the foreign aid master who came to repay a favor. He had no vested interests with the Shen family, and after repaying the favor, they were even. Even if the Shen family complained, they couldn't blame him. Chapter 45, Lin Yi loses his right hand. Boy, surrender. The Shen family's Grandmaster blocked Lin Yi's retreat. He looked at Lin Yi coldly, his eyes flashing with icy killing intent, as if he had already secured the victory. Lin Yi calmly stood up slowly, a disdainful smile appearing on his lips. If an ordinary expert in the Transcendent Realm were to encounter a Grandmaster in the early stage, they might truly be doomed. However, for Lin Yi, a mere ordinary Grandmaster in the early stage poses no threat whatsoever. Ghost Gate Reversal of Yang, Lin Yi roared. His aura surged, and in an instant, Lin Yi's true energy solidified, and an incredible Grandmaster-level aura appeared on his body. The next moment, Lin Yi suddenly sprang up and rushed towards the Grandmaster like a cannonball. He was incredibly fast, like lightning streaking across the night sky, making it impossible for anyone to catch a glimpse of him. The Grandmaster was shocked by the change in Lin Yi's aura and was unable to react for a moment. However, the Grandmaster did not choose to back down. Instead, he went forward directly and threw a punch, wanting to fight Lin Yi. A dull, loud thud. Fist to fist. Lin Yi and the Grandmaster retreated simultaneously, with Lin Yi taking 3 steps back and the Grandmaster taking 9 steps back. What? The Grandmaster's face showed shock. He couldn't believe that he had been forced back so many steps by a young man, and that he had even felt the terrifying power in Lin Yi's fist. Grandmaster-level power. Absolute Grandmaster-level power. Ha 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 ha. The Grandmaster suddenly burst into laughter. Boy, hand over the cultivation technique, and I can give you a dignified death, a quick and painless one. The Grandmaster's eyes were filled with greed. A junior at the late stage of the transformation realm could unleash the combat power of a Grandmaster solely through the power of his cultivation technique, demonstrating its immense strength. If he were to obtain this technique, he would undoubtedly become a top-tier Grandmaster. The Grandmaster abandoned his plan to seek help. He didn't want the Shen family to know about the cultivation technique. Ghostly Mystic Fist. The response to the worship of the Grandmaster was Lin Yi's fist. You dare to challenge me, brat? The Grandmaster roared with laughter, instantly unleashing his signature move, Iron Arm Strike. Boom! Lin Yi's fist struck the weak point on the arm of the Shen family's Grandmaster with precision, shattering his protective aura and allowing the Xuan Yang Qi to instantly invade the Grandmaster's body. The Grandmaster spat out a mouthful of blood, his eyes wide with horror as he watched Lin Yi slowly walk towards him. No, don't kill me, I surrender. Just like in the original story, the Grandmaster decisively betrayed his allies. Lin Yi's expression was indifferent, his eyes devoid of any emotion. He swiftly struck out with his palm, shattering the crown of the enshrined master's head. Lin Yi remained tense, his gaze fixed on the factory gate not far away, and said coldly, "Come out." As the voice faded, a figure slowly emerged from the white light. It was none other than the Shen family Grandmaster. The Shen family master looked at Lin Yi with a hint of surprise on his face and said, "Boy, your senses are still very sharp. I didn't expect you could still detect me. If this is all the Shen family is capable of, then you can go down and keep Shen Yefei company today." Lin Yi looked at the Shen family Grandmaster with a mocking expression. Seeing that Lin Yi actually looked down on him, the Shen family Grandmaster roared, "Boy, prepare to die," and then charged straight at Lin Yi. "Fight, fight, fight, fight!" Lin Yi quickly pulled a handful of silver needles from his underwear, channeled his qi into the needles, and instantly inserted them into several special acupoints on his body. In an instant, a powerful aura erupted from Lin Yi, sweeping across the entire area like a surging torrent. What? The Shen family Grandmaster's eyes widened, staring at Lin Yi in disbelief, a sense of unease rising within him. The Shen family Grandmaster originally thought he had the situation completely under control, but the strength Lin Yi was showing made him uneasy. Lin Yi's lips curled into a maniacal smile, revealing a confident and wicked grin. He knew that this battle had only just begun. Shen family fist. The Shen family Grandmaster dared not be careless, and immediately began with the Shen family's ultimate technique. The fist's attack was fierce, like a shooting star smashing hard towards Lin Yi. Lin Yi was startled, but he did not back down. He took a deep breath and quickly unleashed a palm strike, shouting, "Splitting Sun Palm." This palm strike contained powerful internal force, and it met the fist of the Shen family master in midair. In an instant, a powerful force erupted, forming a shockwave that sent dust flying. Bang! Lin Yi took 3 steps back before he could regain his balance, while the Shen family master stood firmly in place, without moving an inch. As expected of a mid-stage Grandmaster, Lin Yi thought to himself. However, even if you are a mid-stage Grandmaster, you can't stop me from taking my revenge. My master's expectations, my master's last wish, and my own life, I must seek justice for myself, Lin Yi roared in his heart. At this moment, intense hatred and the last vestiges of his life manifested in Lin Yi's heart. This is his life. Ah, Lin Yi let out a furious roar. "No one can stop me," Lin Yi roared. At this moment, Lin Yi was like a wild beast that had lost its mind, rushing towards the Shen family master without regard for anything else. "Shen family, prepare to die." Lin Yi's roar echoed in the air, his body radiating a powerful aura that shook the surrounding air. Lin Yi's fists rained down on the Shen family Grandmaster, each punch carrying unparalleled power that was impossible to withstand. Every punch lands hard. Lin Yi completely abandoned defense, using both fists and feet to force the Shen family Grandmaster to retreat repeatedly. For a time, the Shen family elder, who was at the mid-stage of the Grandmaster level, was actually at a disadvantage. However, Lin Yi did not stop attacking. Instead, his offensive became even more fierce as if he was determined to completely defeat the Shen family grandmaster. With a loud bang, a large hole was punched through the factory wall by the body of the Shen family master. Dust flew up and bricks flew everywhere. The commotion drew the attention of the remaining members of the Shen family, and some bounty hunters who had been hiding in the shadows also rushed toward the center of the fight. "Brother Shen, I'm here to help you," the grandmaster who had been invited by the Shen family shouted immediately. A heavy punch landed squarely on Linya's kidneys. "Ah!" Linya cried out in pain and half knelt on the ground. In a moment of carelessness, Linya failed to dodge the sneak attack and took a punch from a mid-stage grandmaster. Fortunately, there were no kidneys in the area where I was hit. The wound was just ruptured, so it wasn't a serious problem. "Brother Shen, are you all right?" The external aid master reached out and helped up the Shen family master. The Shen family master shook his head. "Brother Wang, this kid is quite strange. Let's join forces." "All right," the foreign aid master didn't hesitate at all. With the arrival of the foreign master, Lin Yi was instantly at a disadvantage and could only struggle to maintain his defense. As the fight went on, Lin Yi suddenly unleashed a burst of power, his aura surging. Advancing during battle to the peak of the transcendent realm, and with the help of the profound Yang secret technique, Lin Yi's actual combat power instantly surged, infinitely approaching the peak level of a grandmaster. "Ha!" Lin Yi roared angrily. One kick to death, the unlucky foreign aid master. "He's incredibly strong now. Damn it!" Looking at the gruesome death of the foreign aid grandmaster, the Shen family grandmaster began to tremble, his forehead covered in cold sweat. "Boy, I am the fifth elder of the Shen family. If you dare to kill me, the Shen family will never let you off." The Shen family grandmaster hurriedly threatened loudly, trying to intimidate the suddenly aggressed Lin Yi. "The Shen family? Ha 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 ha!" Lin Yi laughed wildly. "Your Shen family first harmed me, ruining my future, and then sent people to hunt me down. Now you still have the nerve to say you won't let me go. Do you think I'll let you go?" Lin Yi stared bloodshot at the Shen family grandmaster, at his master's dying wish, his master's expectations, his own life, his beautiful fiancées, and countless beauties waiting for him to take care of them. Bang! Lin Yi suddenly dodged to the left, and a specially made drill explosive bullet grazed his right arm, instantly turning his flesh into charcoal and revealing his white bones. "Allah!" In a fit of rage, Lin Yi kicked the head of the Shen family grandmaster, shattering it. Because of the Shen family, he even lost his right hand. "Fuck, you missed even with a flick shot," the blonde foreigner cursed from 100 meters away. In order to hit Lin Yi, the foreign bounty hunter kept observing with binoculars, not daring to aim for fear that Lin Yi would dodge. He finally found an opportunity to snipe, but unexpectedly he ended up grazing Lin Yi's hand. Suddenly, a figure appeared behind the foreigner. Smack! Without a doubt, this sixth brother is dead. Ding, the chosen one of destiny, Lin Yi, has used a secret technique, overdrawing his own potential and permanently losing the opportunity to become a grandmaster, completely losing the possibility of reaching the pinnacle of martial arts. 3,000 luck points have been deducted, and the host has gained 30,000 villain points. Ding, the chosen one's show-off act was interrupted by a minor character, resulting in the loss of his right hand. Enraged and furious, Lin Yi's luck value is reduced by 2,000, and the host gains 20,000 villain points. Lin Yi, the chosen one of destiny, has seen his luck value drop below 1/10 of his total luck, meeting the perfect kill condition. Host, please kill him as soon as possible. Awakening, the hunt begins. Chapter 40, 6 enemies who walk right into our trap must be killed. While Lin Yi was hunting down the Shen family members and overseas bounty hunters who had come to kill him, Zhao Zilong summoned Uncle Fu. "Uncle Fu, take your family and go out to avoid trouble. A guy is coming to seek revenge in the next few days," Zhao Zilong instructed sternly. "But young master," Uncle Fu looked at Zhao Zilong with concern. Although he knew that the young master was a peak martial artist in the transcendent realm, he was still worried about the young master's safety. "Uncle Fu, don't worry, I'll be fine. It's just that guy is a bit tricky to deal with. You should take your family out to avoid being caught in the crossfire," Zhao Zilong explained with a smile. Just then, Chu Kishwang directly revealed her powerful cultivation at the half-step foundation establishment stage and said, "Uncle Fu, don't worry, with me here, no one can hurt Zilong. You should take your family and go out to avoid trouble." "Peak Grandmaster," Uncle Fu stared in shock at Chu Siai's widow. He never expected that his future young mistress would actually be a terrifying powerhouse at the peak of the Grandmaster realm. This world has truly gone mad. Uncle Fu gave his young master a complicated look. Yes, young master, young mistress. Knowing that his future young mistress was powerful, Uncle Fu gladly led his family away from the villa. Uncle Fu knew that with their strength, staying would only cause trouble for Chu Kishwang and Zhao Zilong. After dismissing the others from the villa, Zhao Zilong and Chu Kishwang deliberately acted like a couple deeply in love, quietly waiting for Lin Ye's arrival to lure him in. It was both to cultivate feelings and to lower Lin Ye's guard. Lin Ye's cultivation has now reached a critical point, and he has killed 3 grandmasters and 16 transcendent realm martial artists from the Shen family. Once the news reaches the Shen family, their only grandmaster ancestor will definitely take action personally. The pressure from the Shen family, as well as the drawbacks of the mysterious Yang skill, forced Lin Yi to take a risk. An hour later, Lin Yi secretly arrived near Zhao Zilong's villa. After 2 days of observation, Lin Yi discovered that Zhao Zilong didn't even have a single grandmaster martial artist by his side, showing a complete lack of awareness of danger. I thought you were someone special, but it turns out you're just a spoiled brat. What a waste of your peak transformation realm cultivation. So arrogant, Lin Yi thought to himself, secretly mocking him. After confirming that Zhao Zilong was not protected by any martial artists, Lin Yi swaggered into the villa through the main gate. When he first joined the Yi family, his cultivation level was only at the mid-stage of the transformation realm, and he had some concerns, which is why he did not choose to confront Zhao Zilong head-on. Later, when the Zhang family ambushed Zhao Zilong, he was careless and did not expect that Zhao Zilong had hidden weapons on his body. He was ambushed and knocked down by Zhao Zilong. Then he tragically fell into Shen Yefei's hands, suffering hellish inhuman treatment. His second brother disappeared without a trace, and his kidneys were swallowed by a dog. Now he is fearless, protected by the Grandmaster's Qi, and will not let that bastard Zhao Zilong succeed in his sneak attack again. As soon as Lin Yi stepped into Zhao Zilong's villa, he heard a familiar yet arrogant voice coming from the second floor. "Since you're here, come up." The sudden sound made Lin Yi's body stiffen. He knew in his heart that Zhao Zilong had discovered him. Realizing he had been discovered, Lin Yi stopped pretending and easily jumped to the second-floor balcony, glaring fiercely at Zhao Zilong. "Zhao Zilong, you knew I was coming. You killed so many members of the Shen family, and now the Shen family is hunting you down all over the world. Where else would you go but to settle your final score with me?" "Oh," Lin Yi's face showed a hint of surprise, then he asked, "Given the little grudge between us, how can you be so sure I won't run for my life, but instead risk coming here to take revenge on you?" Zhao Zilong smiled faintly and uttered 3 words, "Mysterious Yang skill." Upon hearing the words, "Mysterious Yang skill," Lin Yi's expression changed drastically. "How did you know I practice the mysterious Yang skill? No, even if you know I cultivate the mysterious Yang technique and know its drawbacks, how can you be so sure I'd risk my life for revenge?" Lin Yi glared at Zhao Zilong with a ferocious expression, a sudden sense of foreboding rising within him. "You mean going into seclusion and cultivating in seclusion?" Zhao Zilong shook his head with a smile, looking at Lin Yi with a half-smile. "Can you still solve the drawbacks of the mysterious Yang skill?" "So it was you." Lin Yi was struck dumbfounded. He understood everything. All the things he had experienced before were not Shen Yefei's doing, but Zhao Zilong's scheme. He fell into the trap, falling for Zhao Zilong's scheme to use someone else to kill him, and even helped Zhao Zilong eliminate 3 grandmasters and the younger generation of the Shen family. No wonder Shen Yefei kept saying she didn't do it. It turns out she really didn't know anything. It's a pity I didn't believe her back then, and I cruelly harmed that innocent girl, one cut after another. By the way, Lin Yi, Shen Yefei seems to be one of your fiancés. You really went too far, dissecting your own fiancé alive. Tusk, tusk, tusk. Zhao Zilong nonchalantly rubbed salt into Lin Yi's wounds. "So it was you who stole my marriage certificate?" Lin Yi looked at Zhao Zilong in horror. Upon hearing Zhao Zilong's words, Lin Yi instantly understood the whole story. It turns out that he had been targeted by this spoiled brat as he was leaving the train station, and had been the subject of the other man's schemes all along. The more he thought about it, the more terrifying it became. It was all part of this man's scheme from the very beginning, so could his arrival also be? Thinking of this, Lin Yi felt a strange fear rise in his heart. Everything was within the other party's calculations, so what about his revenge? No, Zhao Zilong couldn't possibly have calculated that accurately. I am now at the peak of the transformation realm, and my combat power is comparable to that of a peak grandmaster. Even if I were an ordinary early-stage grandmaster, I could still achieve a one-for-one exchange with him. This guy couldn't possibly predict the speed at which my cultivation level is improving. I still have a chance, Linya thought to himself. Linya suppressed his anger. Zhao Zilong, I admit your scheming is unparalleled, but unfortunately you can't fathom my true strength. With that, Lin Yi burned all his vital energy and launched a sudden sneak attack. Smack! With a gentle wave of her hand, Chu Siai's widowed wife conjured a giant hand phantom from the power of mountains, rivers, lakes, and seas. As the giant hand fell, Lin Yi, like a kite with a broken string, was embedded heavily into the grass in the front yard of the villa. Zhao Zilong flashed to Lin Yi's side and crushed Lin Yi's limbs without hesitation, completely shattering Lin Yi's dantian. Lin Yi, how are you now? Do you still think you have a chance? Zhao Zilong's refined and gentle voice reached Lin Yi's ears. To Lin Yi, Zhao Zilong's voice was more terrifying than a demon from hell. Two painful tears involuntarily streamed down Lin Yi's face. His psychological defenses had crumbled. If he had known life would be this miserable, he would have preferred to have died in the womb. Chu Siai, the widow, walked through the air to Zhao Zilong's side. Zilong, may we make our move? Zhao Zilong nodded, and Chu Kishwang unleashed an unknown spell, instantly reducing Lin Yi to ashes and his soul to nothingness. Ding, Lin Yi, the chosen one, was killed by Chu Kishwang at the host's behest. The host has obtained 7,000 remaining luck points of Lin Yi, which have been converted into 70,000 villain points. Since the chosen one Lin Yi was not killed by the host's own hands, there is no additional kill reward. The host has a total of 394,000 remaining villain points. Please use them as soon as possible. Main quest completed. The Destiny villain system is about to be unbound. Remaining time, 3 days. What an extra reward. System, why didn't you tell me sooner? Zhao Zilong was on the verge of tears. Beep, the host didn't ask. /Japanese letter / Zilong, what's wrong? Chu Kishwang hurriedly stepped forward and asked. Zhao Zilong shook his head dejectedly. Because I didn't kill Lin Yi myself, I didn't receive any extra reward. Chu Siai lowered her head like a child who had made a mistake and said hesitantly, I'm sorry. Zhao Zilong gently stroked Chu Siai's hair and said tenderly, It's all right, let's go revive your system. Chu Siai nodded coquettishly like a well-behaved kitten. The two walked hand in hand into the villa, leaving behind a messy front yard. Chapter 47, The Super Genius System Revives. A Grand Wedding. System, I want to revive Chu Siai's widow system. With their joint decision, Zhao Zilong made the request to revive the Super Genius System. Chen Zhou glanced at Zhao Zilong, whose mouth was crooked from being hung up by Chu Siai's widow, and decided to help his cheap host one last time. Ding, host, please make close contact with Chu Siai's widow to establish an energy transfer bridge. Upon hearing the answer from the Destiny villain system, Zhao Zilong turned to Chu Kishwang and hurriedly explained the conditions for reviving the Super Genius System. Kishwang, the Destiny villain system says that reviving the Super Genius System requires the establishment of an energy transfer bridge. Conditions? Chu Siai was still puzzled. The next moment, Zhao Zilong suddenly reached out and wrapped his arms around Chu Kishwang's shoulders, kissing her domineeringly. Chu Siai's mind went completely blank for a moment, as if time had stopped. Her eyes widened, somewhat bewildered, completely unprepared for how things would unfold. However, Chu Siai soon realized what the bridge Zhao Zilong was referring to was. Chu Siai's widow closed her eyes with a hint of resentment, and naturally put her arms around Zhao Zilong. After a long while, their lips parted. Chu Kishwang took deep breaths of the bedroom air, a blush rising on her beautiful face, which made Zhao Zilong's blood boil. While catching her breath, Chu Kishwang didn't forget to call out to the system, System, are you there? The Super Genius System did not respond, and Chu Kishwang guessed that the energy had not been completely transferred. Immediately, Chu Kishwang mustered her courage and lunged directly at Zhao Zilong, who was watching her make a fool of herself. Continue, Chu Siai the widow uttered 2 words with a flushed face. The next moment, Zhao Zilong suddenly felt something soft, and the two continued their passionate kiss. On the other side, in a mysterious space, a small green crocodile and a pale purple orb of light sat facing each other. Your Excellency, the Destiny villain system, I am deeply grateful. If you need anything in the future, please just tell me. As long as it is within my power, I will do my best to help you. Chen Zhou waved his hand. It's nothing, just a small favor, but how did you get yourself into this state? The Super Genius System sighed and recounted. Don't even mention it. When I was traveling through various realms, I encountered a terrifying being. I fought her, but I couldn't win. I desperately rushed into the space-time turbulence, which is how I managed to escape and ascend to heaven. Chen Zhou nodded thoughtfully, thinking to himself, it seems that making a system is not easy. Fortunately, I have connections and can call for support at any time. However, Chen Zhou didn't say much. The order from above was to bring back the Super Genius System, so his task was to deliver the Super Genius System to the nearest branch of the Time and Space Administration Bureau. The rest would naturally be handled by other systems. The two systems discussed their experiences with each other, but it was mostly the Super Genius System talking, while Chen Zhou was just a listener. Outside, Zhao Zilong and Chu Xi, deeply in love, began the next stage of their relationship under Zhao Zilong's persuasive charm. 10,000 words omitted here. When the sun was high in the sky, Chu Kishwang was awakened by Zhao Zilong's movements. She pushed Zhao Zilong's hand away and gave the sleeping Zhao Zilong a light, resentful kick. It's all that bastard's fault. If he hadn't insisted, she wouldn't have lost her mind. From yesterday afternoon until sunrise today, thankfully no one was home. Wait, it seems like they have two systems inside them. Thinking about all this, Chu Xi was so ashamed she didn't know what to do. This was a live sex show. What would her system think of her when it woke up? This is absolutely outrageous. Chu Kishwang quickly shook her head, clearing her mind of all distractions, and picked out a set of Zhao Zilong's pajamas from the wardrobe to change into. System, are you there? Chu Kishwang called out to the Super Genius System in a nervous voice, feeling as guilty as a thief. Upon hearing Chu Xi's widow's cry, the Super Genius System temporarily bid farewell to the Destiny Villain System Chen Zhou and withdrew from the mysterious space. Little widow, I'm here. Upon hearing the familiar voice, Chu Kishwang burst into tears of joy. 7 years, a full 7 years, she had finally heard the voice of the Super Genius System again. It's good that the system that accompanied her as she grew up is all right. Little widow, don't cry, I'm fine. You've grown into a beautiful young woman. Don't cry all the time, it won't look good. Chu Xi nodded in agreement, her voice choked with emotion. She was just too happy. System, from today onwards you won't leave me, right? Chu Xi's voice trembled slightly. All good things must come to an end. Little widow, I'm leaving. I'll be departing this world along with the Destiny Villain System. After thinking it over, the Super Genius System finally decided to be honest with Chu Xi's widow. Leave, Chu Xi's widow repeated these 2 words with a dejected expression. Dear widow, don't be sad about parting. Besides me, you have many partners, friends, and relatives, and there's also that little boy named Zhao Zilong who truly loves you. Little widow, don't let that boy's sincere heart go to waste. However, if this kid dares to bully you, give him a good beating and let him see how powerful the girl I've trained is. The conversation took a turn, and the Super Genius System arrogantly threw out a joke. Partner, family, friend, Zhao Zilong. A smile crept onto Chu Xi's lips. Although Zhao Zilong usually seems a bit frivolous, Chu Kishwang could clearly feel his love for her. Otherwise, she wouldn't have agreed to be with him last night. I understand, system, thank you. Chu Xi smiled and said goodbye to the Super Genius System. With her inner turmoil resolved, Chu Kishwang walked into the bathroom in a cheerful mood. Because of their passionate encounter the day before, she was covered in sweat and felt very uncomfortable. Time remaining for unbinding the Destiny Villain System. 53, 30, 56. After Chu Xi finished washing up, she came out and saw that Zhao Zilong was still fast asleep, so she continued to ask, System, how much time do you have left? A little over 2 days, approximately 53 hours. 53 hours. If we act quickly, we should still have time to get married, Chu Kishwang muttered to herself, making up her mind. Having made up her mind, Chu Xi hurriedly shook Zhao Zilong awake. Zilong? Zilong. Zhao Zilong rubbed his sleepy eyes and looked at Chu Xi's widow so close to him. Zhao Zilong couldn't help but shudder and felt a slight ache in his waist. That's right, he was outmatched in last night's match and lost. Zhao Zilong took a deep breath, trying to remain calm. Ah, widow, is something the matter? Chu Xi's widow made a startling statement. Hurry up and prepare for the wedding. Hurry, get it ready within 50 hours. Huh, Zhao Zilong stared at Chu Kishwang in disbelief. What was wrong with this woman? Why are you in such a hurry to get married? There are still 53 hours until the system and the others leave. If you arrange things quickly, we can still make it, Chu Kishwang explained earnestly. Upon hearing this, Zhao Zilong finally realized that Chu Kishwang wanted the system to witness their wedding. Okay, Zhao Zilong readily agreed. Using the system as a wedding officiant sounds good. Without hesitation, Zhao Zilong sprang into action and meticulously began making phone calls to arrange the venue, then called his family one by one to inform them of his wedding the day after tomorrow. Upon hearing this news, Zhao Zilong's parents, grandparents, and maternal grandparents were shocked. So fast? Is this kid in such a hurry? Could it be that this kid did something outrageous to the young widow? Mistakenly believing that Zhao Zilong had made a mistake, the Zhao family members hurriedly called Chu Kishwang to inquire. But unfortunately, Chu Kishwang was on the phone notifying her family and friends, and the line was busy. In a short while, Zhao Zilong's parents and grandfather arrived at Zhao Zilong's villa, only to find that it was all a misunderstanding. It was actually Chu Siai's widow who had proposed the marriage. Of course, Zhao Zilong deliberately shifted the blame onto Chu Siai's widow. It wasn't that he was afraid to take responsibility, but rather that he was afraid of being beaten by both sets of elders. Chu Siai's widow understood perfectly, but did not expose Zhao Zilong's lie, taking all the blame upon herself. After the misunderstanding was cleared up, Zhao Zilong's grandfather said a few words to Zhao Zilong before returning home with a radiant face to prepare for the wedding of Zhao Zilong and Chu Siai's widow. 47 hours later, the couple's wedding took place as scheduled. The wedding was a traditional Chinese wedding. The wedding dress was exchanged by Zhao Zilong from the Destiny Villain system for a huge sum of 4,000 villain points. It was the kind that could automatically repair itself after being torn. All the guests were beaming with joy, and the smiles on the Zhao family members' faces were even harder to suppress than AK's. The only one who was unhappy was Chu Siai's widow's grandfather. How could he be happy when his granddaughter was kidnapped in less than a week? With the two systems as witnesses, Zhao Zilong and Chu Siai's wedding came to a perfect end. Ding, the Destiny Villain system has been 100% successfully unbound. Chapter 48, The Divine Doctor World Side Story. A brief explanation of Zhao Zilong's story. On the day of Zhao Zilong's wedding, Su Yingsu, still feeling aggrieved, tried to sneak in, but was immediately spotted by the security guards and thrown out. After the wedding, Zhao Zilong left Chengsheng Group to his father and embarked on a 3-year-long trip with Chu Siai, the widow. Time flies, and 3 years have passed in the blink of an eye. Zhao Zilong and Chu Siai have not had any news. Although the two often spar and exchange ideas, they still have not conceived a child. 3 years later, Zhao Zilong took over all of the Zhao family's businesses, and Chu Siai, the widow, moved her research institute to Shanghai. Apart from the occasional subtle urging from both families to have children, their lives were very peaceful. Chu Siai's widow also inquired about childbirth through a group created shortly after the departure of the villain of Destiny. A guy named Wang Heianen gave an explanation. The stronger an individual is, the lower the birth rate. The more you exchange and learn from each other, the more likely you are to succeed. Just as Wang Heianen finished speaking, the super god of learning system provided an explanation. It is extremely difficult for unorthodox cultivators to conceive offspring, which is a problem of the cultivation environment. So Chu Siai and Zhao Zilong don't need to worry. After figuring out the reason, the two gave up and waited for their parents to urge them to have children again. Zhao Zilong bluntly stated that his cultivation method was special, which made him unable to have children. After Zhao's parents found out, they said nothing more to Zhao Zilong and Chu Siai's widow. Zhao's parents were also martial artists, in their 40s and in their prime, but they went off to have a second child. After Lin Ye's death, Zhao Zilong stopped suppressing the Yi family. Without external pressure, the Yi family soon fell apart. Because Yi Yang defended Lin Ye, Yi Zijing's family was targeted by the rest of the Yi family and did not receive any money. After losing his job, Yi Yang could only work on construction sites to make a living. However, due to a lack of safety awareness, he was crushed and broke his leg, leaving him disabled. Fortunately, Yi Zijing's mother had saved some money in her early years, which allowed Yi Zijing to successfully complete her university studies. Without the Yi family, Yi Zikin's friends scattered like leaves in the wind. Classmates who had been bullied by Yi Zikin's spoiled attitude came to take revenge on her, and some of the bad things done by Yi Zikin's friends were also blamed on Yi Zikin. Fortunately, the university is quite strict, so those people didn't dare to go too far in their retaliation. It wasn't until she graduated from university that Yi Zijing finally ended her life of being bullied and went to work for an ordinary small company, where her salary was barely enough to support her family. The Zhang family hasn't changed much. They still live in their own little world, running their private hospital. In the original story, the Zhang family didn't make a move, so Zhao Zilong didn't go after them either. Zhang Yuxin's grandfather, Zhang Zhizhen, remains the president of the Shanghai Traditional Chinese Medicine Association, continuing to explore the mysteries of medicine in a simple and accessible way. Zhang Yuxin hasn't changed much. After obtaining her doctorate, she entered a large hospital. In the original storyline, she didn't have much interaction with Zhao Zilong, and in this life, they are just strangers who know each other. Su Yingsu stubbornly refused to file for bankruptcy, leaving her with a mountain of debt. After the Su family fell from power, the Su family members dared not offend the Zhao family and blamed the Su family's bankruptcy entirely on Su Yingsu offending Zhao Zilong. To pay off their debts, the Su family sold Su Yingsu to a nouveau rich from another region in exchange for a large sum of money. That nouveau rich freak has some peculiar hobbies. He likes to spar with multiple people and record their daily lives. Unable to endure it any longer, but with no chance to resist or retaliate, Su Yingsu ultimately chose to slit her wrists, ending her life in regret. When Su Yingsu went bankrupt, Qin Kexin decisively chose to run away, taking the money she had obtained from Su Yingsu over the years and leaving Shanghai overnight by plane, as if she was afraid of being retaliated against. However, Zhao Zilong did not forget this two-faced woman. In the original story, she was an undercover agent for Lin Yi, and when he lost power, Qin Kexin was the one who was most active. Faced with Lin Yi's lover, Zhao Zilong had someone set a trap for Qin Kexin, causing her to incur a debt of 25 million yuan. Qin Kexin will spend the rest of her life slowly paying off her debts. As for Wen Yuxi, this woman was timid and was the only one in Lin Yi's harem who spoke well of Zhao Zilong. Although it was of little use, Zhao Zilong still remembered it. Zhao Zilong did nothing to Wen Yuxi. On the contrary, he even paid for Wen Yuxi's mother's medical treatment. After years of treatment, Wen Yuxi's mother's cancer was successfully cured. The first thing the mother and daughter did after being discharged from the hospital was to go to the Zhao group to thank Zhao Zilong. Zhao Zilong did not refuse and gladly accepted the brocade banner personally embroidered by Wen Yuxi's mother. After some publicity, Zhao Zilong's Charity and Relief Foundation became the largest and most reputable relief foundation in the Dragon Kingdom. The innovative relief model and the transparency of funding sources have been praised by countless people in China, and the Zhao family has also garnered considerable acclaim as a result. Later, when Wen Yuxi went to develop her career in another province, she still insisted on sending something back to Zhao Zilong every month to express her gratitude. Upon returning to the Shen family, they discovered that due to Lin Yi's lack of martial artists, all the Transcendent Realm martial artists they had sent out had been killed. As a result, the affiliated families had become estranged from the Shen family and demanded compensation from them. The family of the deceased foreign aid master also came to Shanghai demanding an explanation. The Shen family had no choice but to offer a huge compensation to quell the anger of the foreign aid master's family. Zhao Zilong also produced the video of Chu Ci's widow killing Lin Yi and happily went to the Shen family to take away 1 billion yuan in cash. At the same time, he asked the Shen family to give him several big projects in return for the favor. Although the Shen family was speechless, they eventually gave the big projects to Zhao Zilong. Then, Zhao Zilong used the money from the compensation paid by the Shen family to suppress the Shen family's business. The Shen family was so angry that they vomited blood, but the pressure from the Zhao family increased day by day. Later, Yanjing also began to suppress the Shen family, and the Shen family began to decline. After the death of the Shen family's grandmaster, the declining Shen family was directly kicked out of the 5 major families of Shanghai. Thus, the era of the 5 major families in Shanghai came to an end, and the era of the 4 major families began. Although the Shen family was not completely destroyed, it could not last long. Some families that were originally affiliated with the Shen family turned against them and took revenge. Another female lead, Zhou Shiyu, a policewoman from the Shanghai Law Enforcement Bureau, suffers disfigurement as revenge from an innocent person who was wrongly accused during a case. Subsequently, the policewoman Zhou Shiyu's arbitrary handling of cases based on her own ideas to increase the case-solving rate was exposed. The Zhao family, Chu family, and other families stood up to put pressure on the Zhou family, sending this goddess detective of the Zhou family to experience the free meals of the Dragon Kingdom. As for the other Lin Yi's fiancés who were not in Shanghai, Those who had grudges against Zhao Zilong were also retaliated against by Zhao Zilong, and Chu Kishwang won by one. Since they had no connection and no enmity, Zhao Zilong couldn't be bothered with them. 50 years later, Chu Kishwang's cultivation reached the peak of foundation establishment, and Zhao Zilong's cultivation was also successfully brought to the late stage of foundation establishment by Chu Kishwang. Zilong, are you ready? Chu Ci, the widow, looked at Zhao Zilong with deep affection. Zhao Zilong nodded. Let's set off and go to other worlds to see if we can encounter them, referring to the system. Again. Dr. Chu, Professor Zhao, hurry up. The spaceship is about to take off. A beautiful figure ran over. This young woman in her early 20s was Chu Ci's widow's student, and also one of the members of the second interstellar exploration team. 40 years ago, Chu Kishwang switched from computer science to interstellar exploration, and at the time, no one was optimistic about her. But soon, Chu Ci, nurtured by the super genius system, slapped the whole world in the face. In just 10 years, the Dragon Kingdom began mining resources from Red Star. 20 years later, the Dragon Kingdom officially launched a resource mining plan for the 8 planets. After another 20 years of development, the Chu Ci Widow team successively perfected several technological breakthroughs, including light-speed flight technology, subspace jump technology, and perfect ecological cycle technology, officially giving humanity the ability to explore other star systems. You're here, Chu Kishwang replied with a smile. The first fleet of the Dragon Kingdom's great aerospace exploration team set off. Fly to the stars. Some of the wedding gifts given by the villainous system are boundless starry sky, for the cosmos is their new beginning. End of volume. Chapter 49, My host is cannon fodder. After sending the super genius system to the nearest branch of the Time and Space Administration, Chen Zhou returned to the Anchor Space Station with 200 source points. It's worth mentioning that on the way, Chen Zhou spent 10 origin points to build a multiverse chat group, bringing in the super god of learning system, its first host Wang Heianen, its second host Zhao Zilong, and Chu Ci's widow, who was raised by the super god of learning system. Chen Zhou is the group owner, the super genius system is the administrator, and everyone else is an ordinary group member. After posting several group announcements, Chen Zhou began submitting and settling the task. Internship Task 2-3. The Supreme Doctor, the Fierce Dragon, descends the mountain. Quest level, white. Main quest completion, completed. Task rating, excellent. Special mission completion rate, 100%. Total mission income, 282.56 origin points. Main quest settlement, 77.4 origin points. Plus additional assessment reward, 5.16 origin points. Plus special mission settlement, 200 origin points. Remaining origin points, 287 origin points, total earned from the mission, including the difference extracted from the host. Total source points, 337 source points after deducting expenses. Once the source points were confirmed, Chen Zhou decisively absorbed 137 source points, permanently increasing his strength. In an instant, the purple on Chen Zhou's body became even more lustrous, and his body shimmered with a deep purple light. The sphere of light became more solid, and from a distance, it resembled a dazzling star, radiating powerful energy fluctuations. After a moment of adjustment, Chen Zhou glanced at the multiverse chat group. Western Heaven War Emperor Wang Heianen. Hello, everyone. My name is Wang Heianen. Super Genius System. Hello. I charged in and out of Changbampo 7 times. Zhao Zilong. Hello, my name is Zhao Zilong. Please take care of me in the future. Starry Sky Ice Emperor, Chu Ci's widow. Hello, my name is Chu Ci's widow, and I am Zhao Zilong's Taoist partner. Western Heaven War Emperor, Wang Heianen. Western Heaven War Emperor, Wang Heianen. At Destiny Villain System, can the host's partner also be brought in? Super Academic God System. At West Heaven War Emperor, Chu Ci's widow is my host. Western Heaven War Emperor, Wang Heianen. Oh, I see, I understand, thank you. After browsing the chat history, Chen Zhou casually typed, at all members, this group is currently only for communication between group members. Please communicate politely and avoid arguing. After sending it out, Chen Zhou began to check his new internship assignment, Rebirth of the Evil Emperor in the Apocalypse. Apocalyptic world, Chen Zhou's spherical body trembled. The post-apocalyptic world is considered a relatively powerful world among all the worlds. Its combat strength is average and cannot be compared with worlds like those of war gods or divine healers. Chen Zhou opened the mission world details, and sure enough, Su Chen, the chosen one of destiny, was a reborn person with a total of 570,000 luck points. Mutant zombies, superhumans, alien beasts, interesting. Chen Zhou murmured, then skillfully navigated the dimensional portal. Mission world successfully locked. Dimensional anchor point successfully deployed. A spatial passage appeared, and in an instant, Chen Zhou arrived in the world of rebirth of the evil emperor in the apocalypse. Beep, a healthy and suitable candidate has been detected, meeting the system binding requirements. System binding successful. The Destiny villain system has been successfully bound. Host Li Feiyu. System. Li Feiyu's eyes, which had been filled with despair, suddenly brimmed with excitement. System, save me, Li Feiyu cried out in his mind. Just as the zombie was 0.01 centimeters away from Li Feiyu, Chen Zhou spent a huge sum of 1 origin point to generate a newbie gift pack. Ding, new player gift pack has been issued. Congratulations, host, you have received. Special ability, Whisperer LV1. Special ability, Imposter LV1. Mutated lightning type ability, Heavenly Thunder LV1. Common weapon, Tang Dynasty horizontal sword. Common firearms, revolvers. The moment the imposter's ability took effect, the zombies that had been attacking fiercely seemed to be paused, immediately ceasing their offensive. Their cute big eyes stared unblinkingly at their kind beneath them, who were emanating the aura of their own kind. These zombies have lost their brains and are unable to think or understand what is happening in front of them. They can only blankly continue in the same position, at a loss. Without the lure of human scent, the zombies quickly calmed down and began wandering aimlessly again, waiting for the next sound to attract them. Whisperer, a superpower that allows them to control zombies. The strength of this power is directly proportional to the strength of their mental power. The Imposter, a passive disguise type ability that allows the user to disguise themselves as any race. Heavenly Thunder, a mutated lightning type ability with powerful attack capabilities. Hosts are encouraged to develop its effects independently. Knowing there was no danger, Li Feiyu gripped the mop tightly, pushed upwards with his right hand to create a ramp, and then rolled to the right to escape from under the zombie. Hearing the loud noise, the zombies swarmed around again, but finding no scent of living people, they slowly dispersed. With the crisis averted, Li Feiyu found a place to sit down. System, what exactly happened? What are your functions? Beep, original trails, storyline transfer begins. An unimaginably vast flood of memories surged into Li Feiyu's mind, instantly overwhelming his consciousness. Li Feiyu felt as if his head had been hit hard by a heavy hammer. A sharp pain struck him, and he could no longer bear it. Everything went black before his eyes, and he lost consciousness and fainted. Glancing at the sleeping Li Feiyu, Chen Zhou grabbed the intelligence-lowering halo above Li Feiyu's head and refined it in an instant. When I woke up again, it was already evening. I see, Li Feiyu finally understood everything. No wonder Su Chen used reverse psychology to provoke me out to find food. It turns out that Su Chen, that bastard, is a reincarnated person. In his previous life, according to the original plot, Su Chen was a coward who dared not utter a word when bullied. When the apocalypse arrived, 90% of the world's population turned into zombies, and the entire human civilization collapsed. After the disaster, Li Feiyu, with the help of his henchmen and bodyguards, became the team leader and forcefully confiscated food and acted arrogantly. As a villain, bullying the cowardly Su Chen from his previous life was naturally a piece of cake for him. Su Chen is reborn 8 years after the apocalypse. As a cannon fodder villain, Li Feiyu is naturally killed by the ruthless Su Chen. Li Feiyu's family is also wiped out by Su Chen later. Later, Su Chen sang loudly all the way, established the apocalyptic imperial court, and amassed a large harem in the apocalypse, wielding power and influence. Su Chen, you didn't expect this, did you? I'm still alive. And then there's Mu Zir, my fiancée. She knew Su Chen was deliberately framing me, yet she refused to help me. Later, she even helped Su Chen give false testimony, saying that I died from arrogance at the hands of zombies. Just you wait, I'll thank you properly. Li Feiyu glared maliciously out the window. The sunset is infinitely beautiful, but it's nearing dusk. Gurgle tilde Li Feiyu's stomach gave an untimely hunger pang. Li Feiyu quickly opened his backpack, took out a bottle of mineral water, grabbed a few sausages and wolfed them down. System, by the way, what functions do you have? Ding, this system is the Destiny villain system, specifically designed to help villains like the host deal with the Chosen One. The host can gain villain points by sabotaging the opportunities of the Chosen One, robbing them of their wealth, and undermining their mentality. Given that this world is a post-apocalyptic, and therefore quite unique, this system has specifically enabled a crystal core recycling service. One first-order crystal core equals 1 villain value. One second-order crystal core equals 50 villain points. One Tier 3 crystal core equals 500 villain points. One fourth-order crystal core equals 2,000 villain points. One Tier 5 crystal core equals 10,000 villain points. One Tier 6 legendary crystal source equals 60,000 villain points. The host can purchase various system items, cultivation techniques, superpowers, weapons, food, and other items through the system shop, and can also obtain rewards through lucky draws, opening lucky blind boxes, and other methods. Chapter 50, A Frenzied Zombie Hunt. After listening to the system's introduction, Li Feiyu hurriedly asked the question that was on his mind most. System, are there any restrictions on killing Su Chen? Host, the child of Destiny's luck has fallen to less than 1/10 of the total luck, making him a perfect target for elimination. A high luck value simply means the target is difficult to kill. Forcibly killing the target will not cause any backlash, but the luck value will be reduced. The host can choose for themselves. System, will I gain villain points for killing the female lead? Beep, the female protagonist of this apocalyptic world is also a powerful ally of the Chosen One. Defeating her will grant you corresponding villain points. Turning her against you, or orchestrating a conflict between the male and female protagonists will also yield the same result. The amount of villain points gained from defeating different female leads varies. Defeating female leads who are merely decorative will not grant villain points. Nice. Having received the answer, Li Feiyu began to plan his next move. The apocalypse is cruel, and Su Chen is his, Li Feiyu's, mortal enemy who must be eliminated. At the same time, Su Chen's luck is also an important resource that cannot be ignored, and Li Feiyu wants to obtain it all to maximize his benefits. After resting for a while, Li Feiyu, who knew Su Chen's life trajectory, put his backpack into the system space and swaggered out of the teaching building. Li Feiyu's target is the school supermarket, one of only 2 places in the school that has food. The school only has this small supermarket. Li Feiyu, Su Chen, Mu Zir, and others had explored it together before. The zombies inside were dealt with by the group, and there was no danger. Without any zombies to stop him, Li Feiyu easily reached the back door of the school's supermarket. Upon opening the door, he noticed that a small portion of the food on the shelves was missing. It was what the others had taken earlier. On the 3rd day of the apocalypse, not many survivors had the courage to face the zombies, and the supermarket still had a relatively plentiful supply of food. Li Feiyu glanced at it briefly, and then quickly put all the remaining clean items from the supermarket into his system space, leaving not even a single notebook behind. Li Feiyu took out his Tang Hengdao and slashed the remaining items, which were stained with zombie blood. After doing all this, Li Feiyu closed the door again and carefully left through the back door. As for the school cafeteria, there's a level 2 zombie there, and Li Feiyu doesn't want to risk going there for the time being. Instead of returning to the classroom immediately, Li Feiyu took the Tang sword and strolled leisurely toward the nearest girls' dormitory. The apocalypse broke out during class time, and the high school dormitories were basically empty. Tonight, Li Feiyu planned to stay overnight in the girls' dormitory. I need to get plenty of rest, so I can hunt zombies in other school buildings tomorrow. Just as Li Feiyu had expected, there was no one in the dormitory, so Li Feiyu did not wander around to help the mutated dormitory supervisor get rid of her. Unfortunately, there was no crystal core. Disappointed, Li Feiyu randomly picked up a few keys from the 1st floor, found the corresponding dormitory, and chose a relatively clean one. No one objected, and Li Feiyu moved in with just his bags. Since the water supply system was still operational in the early days of the apocalypse, Li Feiyu took a shower. Nothing more was said that night. The next morning, Li Feiyu got up, ate 3 pieces of bread, leisurely drank a bottle of milk, did some warm-up exercises, and then carried the Tang Hengdao to a teaching building. 3 large characters are hung on the building. Star-picking tower. Li Feiyu wasn't too saddened. He picked up his knife and silently walked into the star-picking tower. 1-257. Li Feiyu collapsed to the ground without any regard for his image. Although these zombies did not resist, it was not easy to break open their brains to find the crystal core. Fortunately, when Li Feiyu entered the teaching building, he found a fire axe, which was a little more useful than Tang Hengdao. Looking at the 3 transparent crystal cores in his hand, Li Feiyu was speechless. 2 hours of effort had only yielded 3 pseudo first-tier crystal cores, a truly pitiful drop rate. In the early stages of the apocalypse, zombies weren't too strong, so the drop rate of crystal cores was extremely low. But things would be different after they evolved in a few days. Li Feiyu took out 2 bottles of mineral water from the system's space and rinsed the pseudo-first-order crystal core in his hand clean. Then, holding the crystal core in his palm, he took a deep breath, closed his eyes, calmed his mind, and began to mobilize the supernatural power within his body, feeling this powerful and mysterious force. Through the unseen meridians, supernatural powers converge in the palm, resonating with the energy within the crystal core. Before long, the pseudo-first-order crystal core in his hand disappeared, and Li Feiyu felt his body full of power. Now he could knock down his former self with a single punch. Although he is not yet a first-tier expert, his physical abilities have obviously improved a lot, as if he has been reborn. Is this what it feels like to have power? Li Feiyu stretched his muscles and felt an unprecedented sense of comfort. He never imagined that a tiny pseudo-first-order crystal core could bring about such a huge change for him. The end times are both a disaster and an opportunity. After absorbing the crystal core, Li Feiyu resumed his frenzied zombie hunt. 6 hours later, Li Feiyu successfully wiped out the zombies in the star-picking tower, totaling more than 300 zombies, 46 pseudo-first-tier crystal cores, and 2 first-tier crystal cores. After absorbing the crystal core, Li Feiyu successfully advanced to the mid-stage of the first tier and gained initial self-protection capabilities. After Li Feiyu left, the remaining survivors of the star-picking tower also came out one after another. Looking at the mess and the monsters with their heads blown open everywhere, some timid girls couldn't help but cry. Classmates, now is not the time to cry. Teacher Wang, please bring a few students to block the main entrance on the first floor. The others and I searched every classroom for food while we waited for rescue. A female teacher quickly stepped forward to reassure everyone. Okay, Teacher Wang nodded, called over 5 strong students, grabbed mops and brooms, and quickly and cautiously rushed downstairs. When Teacher Wang and the others went downstairs, they found the glass door closed. A brand new exercise book was left at the door, on which were written, "One being bitten by a zombie will cause it to turn into a zombie. 2 zombies have crystal cores in their brains, and those who awaken superpowers can become stronger by absorbing these crystal cores. 3 crystal cores are classified by attributes, and it is crucial not to absorb crystal cores with conflicting attributes." After reading the brief introduction to basic post-apocalyptic knowledge, a few hundred words, Teacher Wang's worldview was struck dumb. The other male students exchanged bewildered glances, and the same thought spontaneously arose in their minds: to kill zombies. Back in the dormitory, Li Feiyu took a good shower, checked the doors and windows, and then lay down on the bed and fell into a deep sleep. Li Feiyu had previously attracted a group of zombies by making noise outside the dormitory, so there's no need to worry about anyone breaking into the dormitory. He was so tired, not physically but mentally. Meanwhile, Su Chen led his team to successfully clear all the zombies from the corridor and returned to the classroom. "Brother Chen, what exactly was that thing you told us to dig up?" the fat man asked Su Chen in a low voice. Upon hearing this, the others also perked up their ears and crowded forward, their faces showing curiosity and anticipation, clearly wanting to know what the crystal core was for. Su Chen's lips curled up slightly, revealing a mysterious smile. He slowly extended a hand, palm open. "Each of you will receive a crystal core. I will tell you the function of the crystal core." Having fought and stumbled along for 8 years in the apocalypse, Su Chen's personality had long been changed by the apocalypse. He was no longer the cowardly Su Chen of his previous life who couldn't even protect the people he loved. Li Feiyu is the first, but he will never be the last. Reborn, he is determined to sit on the throne of the strong in this life. Not wanting to owe anyone a favor, Muzier promptly handed over a crystal core the size of a small, transparent marble. With one person taking the lead, the others followed suit and handed over their crystal cores. "Is there anything else?" Su Chen asked the others, feigning mystery. Upon hearing this, 2 more people handed over their only crystal cores. Clearly, they were more interested in the function of the crystal cores than in the value of a single crystal core. Seeing this, Li Feiyu's bodyguard also threw out a few crystal cores. "These are the crystal cores of several of us. Hurry up and tell us." Having received the crystal cores from everyone, Su Chen didn't keep them in suspense and directly told them the most basic way to use the crystal cores: swallow them. Chapter 51. Do you think I'd be stupid enough to risk my life to save you? On the 5th day of the apocalypse, as dawn broke, Li Feiyu, who had gotten up early, arrived in front of the teaching building where Su Chen and the others were. The teaching building is named Dream Building, meaning a building for senior high school students to build their dreams, and representing the school's best wishes and expectations for the students' future. Li Feiyu glanced at it casually without much feeling. He cautiously walked into the first floor, his eyes scanning the surroundings warily, and found a safe and secluded spot to sit down. With the ability of the imposter, Li Feiyu is not attacked by low-level zombies at all. In fact, if Li Feiyu were to slap a low-level zombie on the ground, those zombies would not resist. According to the plot trajectory provided by the Destiny villain system, today is the day Su Chen and his group will clear out this building. Clearing out zombies means obtaining crystal cores. Why wouldn't you accept a crystal core offered to you? As noon approached, Li Feiyu faintly heard some noises, and the zombies near the stairs followed the sounds and ran upstairs. Li Feiyu knew that this was a good idea that Su Chen had obtained based on his memories from his previous life, to surround and attack reinforcements. Use varying degrees of noise to gradually lure the zombies upstairs, then take advantage of the perfect terrain of the stairwell to kill them. This method is very practical and can effectively control the number of zombies within a manageable range, preventing an overwhelming number of zombies. A dozen minutes later, the sounds from upstairs became much clearer. Some zombies that were far from the stairwell heard the noise and ran upstairs, baring their teeth and claws. About 20 minutes later, Li Feiyu saw several familiar figures slowly walking down from upstairs, and the one in the lead was Su Chen. Enemies meeting are bound to be furious, and Li Feiyu immediately took out a revolver from the system space. Smack! Su Chen fell to the ground with a thud and tumbled down the stairs. Everyone was stunned in fear, and the zombies in the distance came running at the sound. Awo Tilda drawn by the gunshot. The zombies in the distance swarmed towards Su Chen like dogs seeing food. Brother Chen, Fatty Yang Dawei shouted as he rushed down the stairs. Hearing the fat man's shout, some people were jolted awake and rushed downstairs with their weapons to fight off the zombies. Upon hearing the gunshot, Li Feiyu's bodyguard reacted immediately, quickly retreating to the corner of the stairs, lying down and cautiously searching for the shooter's location. However, Li Feiyu did not fire another shot after firing one. With too few clues, the bodyguards could not pinpoint the exact location of the shooter. Brother Chen, are you all right? The fat man shook Su Chen anxiously, his concern evident in his voice. Stop shaking me, I'm not dead. Go and clear out those zombies. Su Chen, clutching his injured leg, forced back his speechless frustration as he gave the order. Su Chen knew that the biggest crisis right now was not the zombies, but the mysterious person hiding in the shadows and firing shots. This time he was careless. He never expected that firearms would be found in a place like a school. Fortunately, he absorbed a lot of crystal cores yesterday, which greatly improved his physical fitness, allowing him to react in time to dodge. Otherwise, his second brother would have had his head blown off. Damn it, who is it? Su Chen clenched his fists in anger. After thinking for a long time, Su Chen still couldn't recall any such person on the school grounds. In their previous life, when they left the school, they had never heard of any guns on campus. It seems my rebirth has caused a butterfly effect in this world, Su Chen thought with a wry smile. But it doesn't matter, because Su Chen never relied on the memories of his past life, but on the experience he accumulated from the battles of his past life. After a fierce battle, the group finally managed to defeat the last zombie. Su Chen, are your injuries serious? Mu Zier came over and asked with concern. Seeing how much the school beauty cared about him, Su Chen felt a warmth in his heart, and the frustration of being ambushed earlier dissipated. However, Su Chen still pretended to be calm and explained. It's nothing. The other party's gun wasn't very powerful. I couldn't dodge in time and was hit in the thigh. I should be able to recover in about a week. Mu Zier nodded. Get some rest. Tell me if you need anything. My mom is a doctor and I know some nursing knowledge too. Okay, Su Chen nodded, not refusing. Just then a classmate suddenly cried out in alarm. Li Feiyu, weren't you dead? How come you're here? Li Feiyu. Hearing his classmate's exclamation, the other students also looked up and gazed in the direction from which the sound came. A handsome man carrying a Tang-style sword and dressed in dark clothes stood quietly not far away. Li Feiyu. Su Chen stared in shock at the unharmed Li Feiyu not far away. Su Chen clearly remembered that, after Li Feiyu was tackled by 3 zombies, The surrounding zombies surged towards him like a tide. Logically speaking, Li Feiyu had absolutely no chance of survival. But now Li Feiyu was standing in front of him unharmed, which surprised him greatly. But he had no choice but to believe it. "Young Master Li, it's so good to know you're all right," one of Li Feiyu's lackeys shouted excitedly. Su Chen, whom they had previously bullied at will, now stood above them. They felt worse than if they had eaten shit, but because there were too many people supporting Su Chen, they had no choice but to follow him. Now that Li Feiyu has appeared, they have regained their backing and have the confidence to oppose Su Chen again. A middle-aged teacher wearing glasses squeezed through the crowd, his face showing familiar concern. "Li Feiyu, it's so good that you're all right. Everyone was worried about you. Young Master." Hearing the commotion, the bodyguard upstairs immediately rushed to Li Feiyu's side. Li Feiyu nodded slightly, raised the revolver in his hand, and pointed it at Su Chen's head. Instantly, the atmosphere in the entire hall seemed to drop to freezing point. It turns out that the person who fired the shot was actually Li Feiyu. "Li Feiyu, what do you think you're doing? Put down the gun, I'm your teacher." The middle-aged teacher's face turned deathly pale instantly. Upon seeing Li Feiyu's gun, Su Chen couldn't help but feel a sense of apprehension. Although he absorbed 21 pseudo first-tier crystal cores yesterday, he has not yet advanced to a first-tier ability user, and is therefore unable to withstand the damage from the bullets. "Su Chen, I'm now a mid-stage Tier 1 ability user. You'd better not make any rash moves," Li Feiyu threatened coldly. "Li Feiyu, what exactly do you want to do? We're all classmates, what do you mean by this?" Mu Zixi questioned unhappily. "Ha," Li Feiyu sneered. "Muzier, when Su Chen pushed me towards the zombies, why didn't you ask him what he meant?" "Li Feiyu, don't make false accusations. I never pushed you. You were the one who tried to take a shortcut and got surrounded by zombies," Su Chen retorted righteously. Li Feiyu sneered. "There were only the two of us at the time. You led me the way, and we were no more than 2 meters apart. Do you think I would be stupid enough to risk my life to save you?" Su Chen was speechless. He never expected that Li Feiyu would talk about abandoning his teammates and running away so openly, completely disregarding his reputation. Everyone looked at each other in bewilderment. Everyone knows Li Feiyu's personality. If they were really in danger, he would definitely be the one to run away. If Li Feiyu and Su Chen were truly less than 2 meters apart, alerting the zombies would definitely mean Li Feiyu abandoned Su Chen and fled. Li Feiyu would never have covered for Su Chen. Seeing Su Chen speechless, Li Feiyu hurriedly said, "Su Chen, you're making excuses without thinking them through. In pairs, you suggested the distance between two people cannot exceed 2 meters. As someone who values my life, do you think I would actively seek death?" Everyone fell silent. Even if we were to encounter danger while taking a side path, we should either both escape successfully, both be wiped out, or one of us should abandon our teammates. "You keep saying I'm showing off by taking a shortcut, but what shortcuts are there at the school? Can they save me 10 or 20 meters? Even if you really wanted to take a shortcut, why didn't you take one when you first went to the supermarket? If there's a safe route available, why would someone choose an unknown path instead?" Chapter 52, Hand Over the Crystal Cores. After Li Feiyu finished speaking, the entire hall fell into an eerie silence. Just as Li Feiyu said, if two people are no more than 2 meters apart, there are only 3 possibilities when they encounter danger. 1, both of them escape together. 2, both of them are wiped out. 3, one of them abandons his teammates. Perhaps someone would be willing to sacrifice their life to protect their teammates. But that person would never be Li Feiyu, at least not the combination of Li Feiyu and Su Chen. Therefore, there are only 2 possibilities for the truth. 1, Su Chen deliberately plotted to kill Li Feiyu. 2, Su Chen deliberately abandoned his teammates. Either way, it confirms the fact that Su Chen wanted to kill Li Feiyu. After glancing at everyone's reactions, Li Feiyu said, "All right, I don't care what you want to do. Hand over your crystal cores and I might consider letting this matter go." "Li Feiyu, I know nothing about this. It has nothing to do with me." A boy quickly distanced himself from Su Chen, not wanting to get involved in this mess. Li Feiyu nodded and said coldly, "Those who aren't Su Chen's henchmen stand on my right. Those who want to follow me stand on my left. Everyone else hand over all your crystal cores or else." Smack! The small, exquisite bullet danced gracefully and struck Su Chen's other thigh. "Li Feiyu," Su Chen glared at Li Feiyu through gritted teeth. "Brother Chen, don't be impulsive." Fatty Yang Dawei quickly pressed down on Su Chen's shoulder, then turned to look at Li Feiyu. "Young Master Li will pay up. We're willing to compensate you with all the crystal cores." As he spoke, the fat man searched Su Chen's body and found the crystal cores. Combined with the ones he had dug up earlier, there were a total of 36 pseudo-first-order attributeless crystal cores and 3 first-order crystal cores with different attributes. Where are the others? Li Feiyu's gaze swept coldly over the people beside Su Chen, finally settling on Mu Zier. Mu Zier turned her head away, not daring to meet Li Feiyu's eyes. She gave all her crystal cores to the fat man and asked him to pass them on to Li Feiyu. Seeing this, more than 10 people left Su Chen's group, but did not want to join Li Feiyu's team, so they wisely took their places on Li Feiyu's right. Seeing that Su Chen's team was almost falling apart, Li Feiyu coldly threatened, "Hand over all the crystal cores. If I find anyone hiding any, the consequences will be the same as Su Chen's." Upon hearing this, everyone immediately abandoned their idea of hiding the crystal core and obediently handed it over. Mu Zier has a total of 19 pseudo-first-order crystal cores, all of which are the most common attribute-less crystal cores. The others have a total of 13 scattered crystal cores. Good. Li Feiyu casually grabbed a handful of crystal cores, refined them in an instant, and his strength instantly reached the late stage of the first rank. Everyone stared at Li Feiyu in disbelief. Can crystal nuclei be absorbed in this way? It seems you don't know yet. Li Feiyu looked at everyone with feigned surprise, then continued. Fine, for the sake of being classmates, I'll tell you the secret to absorbing crystal cores for free. Everyone immediately perked up their ears, their eyes filled with longing. Li Fei cleared his throat and told everyone. By channeling your supernatural power through the meridians in your body to your palm, and resonating with the energy of the crystal core, you can directly absorb the crystal core. Of course, you can use your powers elsewhere if you like. It's up to you. Thank you so much, young Master Li. 2 of the male students quickly expressed their gratitude. Thank you, young Master Li. Thank you, Li Feiyu. Thanks. Everyone expressed their gratitude to Li Feiyu. Compared to the swallowing method suggested by Su Chen, they preferred to absorb the crystal cores using Li Feiyu's method. Since crystal cores are extracted from the brains of zombies, most people are psychologically resistant to the idea of consuming them. Now that Li Feiyu has told them a way to absorb crystal cores without swallowing them, they are truly grateful. Young Master Li, these are the crystal cores we collected. A blonde-haired man who seemed to know his place from the start presented the crystal cores with both hands. Li Feiyu accepted the crystal core without hesitation, nodded in satisfaction, and asked, "What's your name?" The blonde-haired man grinned slyly. "My name is Chen Dingyang, and people call me Little Wen." Li Feiyu nodded. "That's right, you'll be working for me from now on." "Yes, young Master Li," Chen Dingyang replied with a serious expression. Li Feiyu nodded slightly. Just by looking at the man's intelligent little eyes, Li Feiyu knew that this man was no good. He was perfect for dealing with the chosen one. Li Feiyu walked through the crowd and came to Mu Zier. "Li Feiyu, give up on that idea. I'd rather die than marry you." Slap! Li Feiyu slapped him across the face. A crisp sound echoed throughout the hall, stunning everyone. A clear handprint instantly appeared on Mu Zier's fair cheek. Mu Zier stared wide-eyed at Li Feiyu with disbelief. From birth until now, she had never suffered such humiliation, let alone been beaten. Now, Li Feiyu had actually dealt her such a humiliating blow in front of everyone, causing her self-esteem to be damaged like never before. Mu Zier covered her face in grievance, looked up, and met Li Feiyu's unwavering gaze. Suddenly, an ominous premonition welled up in Mu Zier's heart. "Mu Zier, who do you think you are? If it weren't for my mother taking pity on your mother, do you think you could have become my fiancé?" Fiancé? Mu Zier is actually the fiancé of Li Feiyu, the eldest son of the Li family. What a juicy story. Everyone looked towards the 2 of them with great interest. "Mu Zier, from this moment on, you are no longer my fiancé, Li Feiyu," Li Feiyu said calmly. After saying that, Li Feiyu slapped Mu Zier on the other cheek. Mu Zier lowered her head, her eyes fixed on Li Feiyu's departing figure. An endless anger surged in her heart, but in the end she didn't dare to fight back and could only silently endure it all. "You guys go and search them," Li Feiyu ordered, pointing to Su Chen and the others behind him. "Yes," Li Feiyu's bodyguards and lackeys responded immediately, walking menacingly towards Su Chen and the others. Chen Dingyang looked at Su Chen and the others with an arrogant expression. "Take off all their clothes." After glancing at Li Feiyu not far away and confirming that he had no further instructions, the group decisively began to remove Su Chen and the others' clothes. After stripping them naked and confirming that Su Chen and the others did not have any crystal cores, The group slowly walked towards Mu Zier. What do you want to do? Mu Zier looked at Li Feiyu's men in terror, her body trembling uncontrollably. Young Master Li, this person. Chen Dingyang turned to ask Li Feiyu for instructions. Although young Master Li had just slapped Mu Zier twice and publicly announced that Mu Zier was no longer his fiancée, no one dared to go too far. Li Feiyu glanced at the girls on his right and said, "Take Mu Zier to any classroom for the inspection." "Yes, young Master Li." The girl who was called didn't dare to refuse and pulled her best friend along as they walked towards Mu Zier. "Student Mu Zier?" The woman looked at the disheveled Mu Zier with a friendly expression. Mu Zier didn't object and followed the three girls to the nearest classroom on the first floor. "P.S. I'd appreciate some small gifts and encouragement to update more often, thank you." Chapter 53. Third-tier cultivation in the early stages of the apocalypse. That makes perfect sense, right? Ding, the host has launched a surprise attack on Su Chen, the chosen one of destiny, causing Su Chen to lose face in front of everyone and his prestige to plummet. Recalling the trauma of his past life, Su Chen is filled with fear of the host. 3,000 of Su Chen's destiny points are deducted, and the host gains 30,000 villain points. Ding, the host has exposed the true nature of the chosen one Su Chen in front of everyone, causing Su Chen to lose public support, suffer severe damage to his reputation, and have his image collapse. 3,000 Su Chen's luck points have been deducted, and the host has gained 30,000 villain points. Ding, the host forced everyone to regroup, sowing discord within the chosen one's team and causing Su Chen's team to fall apart, losing a significant amount of early support. Su Chen's luck value is deducted by 5,000, and the host gains 50,000 villain points. Ding, the host publicly stole the resources from the chosen one's team, causing Su Chen to lose all resources, lose face, and become extremely resentful. This directly affected Su Chen's early development, causing him to lose some early opportunities. 10,000 of Su Chen's luck points have been deducted, and the host has gained 100,000 villain points. Ding, the host publicly severed ties with the heroine of destiny, Mu Zier, and slapped her twice. Su Chen, the chosen one of destiny, witnessed this and felt immense pain and anger, yet was helpless. He had no choice but to bow down to the host. 5,000 of Su Chen's destiny points are deducted, and the host gains 50,000 villain points. Ding, the host has instructed his subordinates to publicly humiliate Su Chen, the chosen one of destiny, trampling on his dignity and causing him to lose all face and prestige. His mental state will be severely shaken, leaving him with no choice but to endure in silence, indirectly causing him to lose most of his early opportunities and fall behind others in development. 10,000 of Su Chen's luck points have been deducted, and the host has gained 100,000 villain points. Hearing the system's emotionless announcement, Li Feiyu's villain value rapidly increased to 360,000. Su Chen panel. Name, Su Chen, Apocalyptic Evil Emperor. Gender, male. Age, 18. Level, 0. Can fight ordinary level 1 ability users. Faction, none. Technique, none. Superpower, Infernal Flames, LV1. Weapons, a broken fire axe, a regular fruit knife. Luck value, 534,000, originally 570,000. Luck level, green. After seeing Su Chen's stats, Li Feiyu was shocked. Holy crap, system, Su Chen's luck is so high. Host, don't worry, just kill the chosen one. He won't die so easily. Li Feiyu was still somewhat worried and quickly asked, "System, what should we do if Su Chen's luck suddenly explodes and he disappears without a trace?" Beep, recommending the host purchase the Chosen One tracking pack. Chenzhou immediately launched a casually combined discount package. The Chosen One tracking pack, 30,000 villain points, including real-time holographic location tracking, prediction of the Chosen One's movements, and prediction of the Chosen One's recent opportunities. Li Feiyu's eyes lit up as he excitedly stared at the discount package recommended to him by the system. With the Chosen One tracking pack, he can completely track Su Chen's whereabouts and take countermeasures in advance, without worrying about Su Chen hiding in the shadows and secretly developing. System, hurry up and arrange it for me. Ding, 30,000 villain points deducted from the host. Congratulations, host, you have received the Chosen One tracking gift pack. Nice, Li Feiyu was overjoyed, a smug smile spreading across his face. Just then the three girls who had searched Mu Zier returned. The girl in the lead reported, "Young Master Li, we've finished the search. Mu Zier doesn't have any crystal cores." Her voice trembled slightly, clearly showing she was still somewhat afraid of Li Feiyu. Li Feiyu nodded gently. "All right, you can go back to your teams now." With Li Feiyu's permission, the three girls breathed a sigh of relief and quickly returned to their own group. You guys know what's good for you. The blonde-haired guy arrogantly spat on the fat man. He led everyone back to Li Feiyu's side. Young master, where do we go next? The bodyguard captain, Sang Bio, asked respectfully. Let's go to the nearest girls' dormitory. There are beds there so we can rest properly. After saying that, Li Feiyu turned to look at the people on her right. You can come with us too. The people on the right whispered among themselves. Everyone, I agree with young Master Li's suggestion. Although we've cleared the dream building, it's still littered with zombie remains and we don't have bedding or medicine. Everyone's clothes are thin. It would be troublesome if we got sick. As he spoke, the boy looked at several classmates who had caught a cold. Yes, the teaching building looks safe now, but there's not much we can use. The first floor is all windows, making it difficult to defend. The dormitory building has iron gates and security bars on the windows. I also agree to go to the dormitory building with young Master Li. One of the girls quickly expressed her opinion. But there are zombies everywhere outside. Wouldn't it be too dangerous for so many of us to move? One of the students pointed out the problem. The dormitory building itself is safe, but the road leading to it is not. There are over 2,000 people in the entire school. Based on the survival rate of those who survived from the dream building, at least 90% of the students in the entire school have become zombies. This terrifying number made everyone afraid to go outside. But if we don't leave, even if we aren't bitten to death by zombies, we'll freeze to death or starve to death. Fine, you can stay if you want, but I'm going to the dorm with young Master Li. This was the firm stance of a male student who had killed zombies. I'm going too. I'll follow young Master Li too. Soon, those who dared to fight the zombies joined Li Feiyu's team along with their friends. The remaining 3 or 5 girls exchanged glances and eventually joined Li Feiyu's team. The lobby on the first floor was suddenly left with only 2 teams. One was a large team of more than 20 people led by Li Feiyu, and the other was a small team of 7 people led by Su Chen and others. Li Feiyu calmly surveyed the surroundings, then said to everyone, "Everyone, rest here for a while, and we'll continue our journey in 10 minutes." Then Li Feiyu turned to Sang Bio and said in a serious tone, "Sang Bio, go and find some weapons." Sang Bio immediately straightened up and respectfully replied, "Yes, young master." After finishing these tasks, Li Feiyu casually found a place to sit down and entered the system's marketplace. Peak Tier 1 combat power, 2,000 villain values. Peak Tier 2 combat power, 10,000 villain values. Peak Tier 3 combat power, 100,000 villain values. Peak 4th Tier combat power, 450,000 villain values. Peak 5th Tier combat power, 990,000 villain values. Level 6 Legendary Peak combat power, 5 million villain value. Tang Hengdao, 50 villain values. Revolver, 100 villain points. Standard Rifle, 500 villain points. Barrett Heavy Sniper Rifle, 1,000 villain value. Light Tank, 20,000 villain points. Tier 1 Weapon Short Sword, 1,000 villain points. Tier 2 Weapon Machete, 5,000 villain points. Tier 3 Weapon Tier 3 Watermelon Knife, 50,000 villain points. Common Fire Type Ability, LV1, 1,000 villain value. Common Water-Based Ability, LV1, 1,000 villain value. Common Metal Type Ability, LV1, 1,000 villain value. System, I want to exchange for Peak Tier 3 combat power. Ding, 100,000 villain points deducted from the host. Congratulations, host. You have obtained Peak Tier 3 combat power, and your Heavenly Thunder ability has advanced to LV3. As a surge of powerful special lightning energy flowed into his body, Li Feiyu's aura instantly soared, and in the blink of an eye, he reached the peak of the 3rd rank. Li Feiyu closed his eyes tightly, his heart filled with joy, secretly marveling. This is the peak of the 3rd tier. At this moment, Li Feiyu could clearly feel the miraculous changes taking place in his body. His muscles became stronger and more powerful, his bones became harder and harder, and mysterious lightning energy surged through his meridians. If he wanted, he could unleash a 100,000-volt attack like those in cartoons at any time. Li Feiyu took a deep breath, trying to calm his excitement and remain composed. A 3rd-tier cultivation level is quite reasonable in the early stages of the apocalypse. Those around him also noticed the change in Li Feiyu, and their faces beamed with joy. If nothing unexpected happens, Li Fei has broken through. The stronger the team members are, the greater their chances of safely reaching the girls' dormitory. This is undoubtedly fantastic news for them. He actually hid his strength all along. Su Chen's face showed an extremely ugly expression. Damn it, this guy must have acquired a special ability to conceal his aura. If I had that ability, I could become a peak first-tier expert too. Su Chen looked at Li Feiyu with jealousy and resentment. First-order crystal cores have little effect on second-order powerhouses, so Su Chen didn't think much of it, assuming that Li Feiyu had simply broken through to the peak of the First Order. Seeing his former enemy improve before him, Su Chen felt as if he had eaten shit. In my previous life, Li Feiyu was a rare lightning-type ability user. I never expected that in this life, by some twist of fate, he would awaken other abilities. Damn it, Su Chen fumed angrily. Beep, if the host wishes to increase the strength of other superpowers, please check the corresponding villain value for that superpower strength. Superpower strength? Upon hearing this term, Li Feiyu was stunned and stood frozen in place. Special ability, and it even has intensity. Chapter 54, send some crystal cores to Su Chen. Yes, host. Superpowers are divided into 9 levels based on their strength, representing the 9 ranks that are allowed to exist in this world. The host is currently at the peak of the 3rd level, and there is still a long way to go before reaching the ceiling of this world. 9 realms, Li Feiyu kept repeating this phrase. The original storyline ended with Su Chen surpassing the legendary invincible blue star. Li Feiyu thought that the 6th-tier legendary realm was the limit, but he didn't expect there to be 3 more realms afterward. Su Chen only stepped into the 7th realm at the end. After a moment's consideration, Li Feiyu decided to stop thinking about it and said, "System, exchange for a Tier 3 watermelon knife for me." Ding, 50,000 villain points deducted from the host. Congratulations, host, you have obtained a common Tier 3 weapon, an unremarkable watermelon knife, which has been placed in the system space. About 6 minutes later, Sang Bio came over with a bodyguard carrying a bunch of wooden sticks from mops and plastic brooms. Young master, all the usable weapons are here. Li Feiyu nodded and ordered, Sang Bio, distribute these weapons. Yes, young master. Upon hearing Li Feiyu's order, Sang Bio and his bodyguards distributed the wooden sticks to everyone. It's not very lethal, but it's better than nothing. Once everyone was ready, Li Feiyu led Sang Bio and others to take the lead, while other superhumans and those who had killed zombies were responsible for the security of the left flank, right flank, and rear. Before leaving, Huang Mao also took Su Chen and the others' weapons and sincerely thanked them for their selfless dedication, which angered Su Chen so much that he unleashed 1,000 points of luck. Under the angry gazes of Su Chen and the others, Li Feiyu led more than 20 survivors away from the dream building. Because Li Feiyu had lured the zombies on the road to another place before he came in the morning, there were only a few scattered zombies on the road. Li Feiyu, carrying the Tang Hengdao sword he obtained from the beginner's gift pack, slashed one zombie after another, decapitating them with each strike. The primary objective this time was relocation, so the zombies' crystal cores had to be abandoned. Helpless, Chen Zhou refined all the crystal cores along the way with tears in his eyes. In less than 7 minutes, the group arrived at the girls' dormitory area. There were 2 dormitory buildings in total, surrounded by a wall for protection, but the iron gate at the entrance was locked, which showed that it was very safe. Li Feiyu took out the key, opened the iron gate, and everyone entered the dormitory quickly and orderly, as if they were fish in water. Sang Bio, take the keys and lead the men to check all the rooms. The rest of you collect any useful supplies from the rooms you've checked. I'm going out for a bit, Li Feiyu instructed solemnly. Young master, it's too dangerous for you to go out alone. Let me go with you, Sang Bio said hurriedly. Li Feiyu waved his hand and explained with a smile. Don't worry, Sang Bio. I've awakened a special ability that makes zombies unable to detect me, so those zombies won't attack me. So that's how it is. Sang Bio scratched the back of his head in sudden realization, a hint of envy flashing in his eyes, but more so admiration. Don't worry, young master, I will definitely complete the task you assign me, Sang Bio assured, patting his chest. Li Feiyu nodded and turned to look at everyone. When I'm not here, Sang Bio is your captain. He's a former Special Forces soldier, so you can ask him any questions you have. Yes, young Master Li. Another respected young man immediately took the lead in agreeing. The others quickly echoed, indicating that they would definitely follow Sang Bio's orders. After handing everyone over to Sang Bio, Li Feiyu quickly returned to the dream building and delivered a batch of living crystal cores to Su Chen and the others. Before long, hundreds of lively and adorable zombies appeared around the dream building. Brother Chen, all our weapons have been taken by Li Feiyu's men. What should we do now? The fat man looked at Su Chen with a worried expression, hoping that their leader could give them some guidance. The other four boys who chose to follow Su Chen also turned their attention to him, waiting for his next instructions. Muzir remained seated, staring blankly into space, seemingly indifferent to everything happening around her. Muzir was pale and expressionless, as if she had lost her soul. It seemed that being searched by Li Feiyu had been a great blow to her. Su Chen glanced at the crowd surrounding him and weakly reminded them, "Let's find a small knife first and take the bullet out of my leg." Upon hearing Su Chen's reminder, the fat man realized that the bullet in Su Chen's body had not yet been removed. "Sorry, Brother Chen will be right there." The fat man gave an awkward smile. The other boys quickly left the classroom, intending to go to the teacher's office to find something useful. Awo Tilda, the moving crystal core outside the building, let out a few roars. Hearing the noise, the group went to the classroom window and looked down to find that hundreds of zombies had gathered downstairs at some unknown time. Looking out, Li Feiyu was sitting on the outermost edge, leisurely eating candied hawthorn. Li Feiyu looked up, greeted the group with his eyes, and casually stuck the candied hawthorn stick in his hand into the eye of a zombie that happened to be passing by. The zombie felt no pain and could only continue to gather forward in a daze, not understanding why it had suddenly lost half of its blurred vision. "That's not important. Just keep going forward," even though he didn't know why he should keep going forward. The four were startled by Li Feiyu's actions and retreated hastily. "What do we do? The outside is full of zombies." For a moment, a somber atmosphere filled the classroom, and no one spoke. They knew exactly what the dense horde of zombies outside meant. They had no chance of escape. "Damn it, why did God give this guy the ability to avoid being detected by zombies?" Another boy couldn't help but complain angrily. The other three did not respond to him. They understood that Li Feiyu's actions were entirely intended to use the zombies to eliminate them. They had no way out, no weapons, and faced with hundreds of zombies, there was no way they could break through. After a moment of silence, one of them calmly said, "Don't worry about Li Feiyu and the zombies for now. Let's hurry up and go to the office to see if there are any knives, bandages, alcohol, or similar items. The most important thing right now is to restore Su Chen's mobility. His special ability is fire. As long as Su Chen recovers, we still have hope. This is the only thing we can do now. Hopefully we made the right choice." The boy who had been complaining earlier sighed solemnly. Then the group left the classroom and headed towards the teacher's office at the end of the corridor. Once the zombies had calmed down, Li Feiyu turned and left. As the saying goes, if you borrow and return, it's easy to borrow again. Having taken the crystal cores from Su Chen and the others before, Li Feiyu has now returned them. With over 100 potentially mobile crystal cores, how could Su Chen not be moved? Su Chen, our feud has only just begun, hehe tilde. Chapter 55, a mere second-tier zombie. "Wang Li, are you sure there's only one Tier 2 zombie inside?" A burly male student asked again with a serious expression. Because the food from the school supermarket had been taken by some unknown group, he had no choice but to team up with other survivor groups to search the school cafeteria together. Wang Li frowned, thought for a moment, and replied, "I can't be completely sure either, but based on our previous reconnaissance, there is a Tier 2 zombie in the cafeteria." Zhang Tianlong nodded, believing most of what Wang Li said. In this apocalyptic world, everything was full of uncertainty. It's normal for intelligence to be inaccurate sometimes. They must remain vigilant at all times and be prepared to deal with all kinds of emergencies. "All right, let's go in then. Remember to be careful and try not to disturb that level 2 zombie." After thinking for a few seconds, Zhang Tianlong decided to risk entering the cafeteria. There was no other way. The school's supermarket had been ransacked by some group of scoundrels, and it was even more dangerous outside the school, so they had no choice but to risk going to the cafeteria to find food. The people behind him nodded in agreement. Wang Li cautiously pushed open the door, and a putrid stench hit them, making them feel nauseous. Everyone covered their mouths and noses and slowly walked into the cafeteria. The cafeteria was still brightly lit, but a deathly silence permeated the air. The walls were covered with bloodstains and scratches, and old items were scattered on the floor. The tables lay scattered about, and the hall was eerily quiet. Not a single zombie could be seen. Everyone's hearts were in their throats, fearing that a second-tier zombie might suddenly jump out from somewhere. The canteen has a very simple layout: tables for eating, windows for serving food, and a kitchen. Their goal was to enter the kitchen, Take away the still edible food from the canteen, and then quickly leave. If you unfortunately alert the zombies, you'll have no choice but to bite the bullet and fight to the death to kill the second-tier zombie. This was the worst-case scenario everyone had imagined. Although first-tier ability users were stronger than ordinary people, they were only slightly stronger. Second-tier zombies had no intelligence, so even if they were strong, how much stronger could they be? They had 3 Tier 1 ability users, more than 10 people with abilities, and a large number of handy weapons. Dealing with such a mindless zombie, while not a sure thing, is certainly within our grasp. While the elite team cautiously advanced, Li Feiyu, who intended to thwart Su Chen's opportunity, leisurely arrived at the cafeteria entrance with a lollipop in his mouth. Li Feiyu. One of the boys on guard at the door recognized Li Feiyu, a popular figure at school, at a glance. Li Feiyu, this is our territory now. If you want to find food, go somewhere else, another boy immediately warned. Your territory? That's right, what we occupy is ours. If you don't leave, don't blame us for being impolite. Another boy glared menacingly at Li Feiyu. Li Feiyu immediately brandished his revolver, pointing it directly at Your Polite's forehead, saying, "Why don't you show me how polite you are? I'd like to know whether my gun is faster, or you'll die faster." "Wu, it's a misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding, young Master Li. I admit I was a bit loud just now, and my attitude was rude. Please let me off the hook for the sake of our classmates." Without the gun pointed at him, the impolite guy who had just made those threats decisively backed down. He couldn't be sure if the weapon in Li Feiyu's hand was real, but he also couldn't be sure if it was fake. Given Li Feiyu's family background, it would be easy for him to get a handgun, and he didn't dare to gamble. "Weren't you so arrogant just now? Why aren't you yelling anymore? I really liked your momentum just now. Why don't you get back to normal?" Li Feiyu teased with interest. Li Feiyu knew that the team inside wouldn't succeed, so he wasn't worried at all. In the original storyline, Su Chen and Mu Zier came to the cafeteria to check and happened to encounter Wang Li and others being chased by second-tier zombies. When Zhang Tianlong saw Su Chen, he directly led the second-tier zombies towards Su Chen. After much effort, Su Chen narrowly defeated the second-tier zombie, obtaining the most important second-tier crystal core in the early stages, and also gaining Wang Li as a valuable ally. Now that Su Chen is shot in both legs and cannot move, this opportunity is no longer possible. With Su Chen absent, Wang Li and the others will definitely be wiped out. Li Feiyu came here not only for that second-tier crystal core, but also mainly to find a group of tools. Wang Li, Zhang Tianlong, and their teams lacked food, while Li Feiyu had plenty. Using food to collect crystal cores was a very worthwhile deal. Although Li Feiyu doesn't need pseudo first-tier crystal cores or first-tier crystal cores right now, his subordinates can. Moreover, crystal cores can be exchanged for villain points, so the more the better. With this shift in power, if the crystal core falls into Li Feiyu's hands, the amount that Su Chen and the others can obtain will be greatly reduced. Since the school doesn't have crystal cores, Su Chen has no choice but to go out and hunt zombies in order to develop. It's normal to encounter robbery and ambush when you're out and about. "Young Master Li, you're joking. How could I dare to be arrogant in front of you? It's all a misunderstanding." "All a misunderstanding, haha." "You're welcome," forced a smile that looked more like a grimace. Li Feiyu nodded and smiled at the other party. "Since it's your fault, then compensate with crystal cores. I won't make things difficult for you. How about this? The 3 of you just need to give me 100 first-tier crystal cores. Attributes don't matter." "Young Master Li, 100 is far too many. We really can't afford it." The 3 men looked troubled. These were 100 first-tier crystal cores, not 100 pseudo first-tier crystal cores. "Can't come up with it? That's your own problem." Li Feiyu shook his head, looking coldly at everyone, and continued, "If you can't raise the money, you can borrow it, rob it, kill zombies, sell hooks. There are many ways. I don't care about the process, as long as you can gather enough people." Hearing this, the 3 men's faces grew even uglier, but they dared not refute it and could only silently lower their heads. They knew that if they couldn't meet Li Feiyu's demands, the consequences could be severe. After a moment of silence, someone couldn't help but speak up. "But young Master Li, we can't possibly gather so many crystal cores in such a short time. Could you give us some time?" Li Feiyu nodded mercifully. "Can't raise the money in a short time? Fine, for the sake of our classmate relationship, I can allow you to pay it back slowly, as long as you have 1 Tier 1 crystal core per day, with no restrictions on attributes." The 3 exchanged a grim glance, then finally chose to back down for the time being. "All right. It's the end of the world. Who cares about morality anymore? We'll just deny it when we get back. If they try to renege on their debts, does Li Feiyu think he can wipe out all their teams? Run, run! Wang Li's hysterical shout suddenly rang out from the cafeteria. ZZZ tilde, the Tier 2 zombie licker let out an excited cry. Not good! The people on guard outside immediately realized the situation was dire. But with Li Feiyu's gun still pointed at them, they dared not move. Li Feiyu, there's a Tier 2 zombie in the cafeteria. Let's run! The boy who first called out Li Feiyu's name was almost in tears. Li Feiyu remained silent, calmly observing the three people before him, his attention fixed on the cafeteria entrance. He wanted to put on a show and intimidate everyone with his absolute strength. What are you all standing there for? Run! Wang Li shouted as he ran. Are these three trying to drive him crazy? The zombies are already chasing after him, and these three idiots are still standing at the door in a daze. Just then, Li Feiyu's voice reached everyone's ears. A mere second-tier zombie is nothing to worry about. The moment the words left his mouth, the head of the second-tier zombie licker, who had just chased out of the cafeteria, fell to the ground. Li Feiyu turned around and looked at everyone with an air of nonchalance.